This is a PSA, or public sock announcement. Experts have declared Bombas socks as the best way to warm up chilly feet. These pairs are super cushy, soft, and designed for maximum coziness. Plus, for every pair purchased, another pair will be donated, so someone in need of essential clothing can stay warm this winter. Go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
There's one thing that will forever change the way you sleep, and it's the softest 100% organic cotton sheets from Boll & Branch. You'll fall asleep faster, wrapped in the most luxurious comfort. You'll never sleep hot again with sheets that feel breathable to sleep in. You'll experience the purest softness on night one and feel your sheets get even softer with every wash. Discover the difference with 15% off your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com with code CUMULUS. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Hey, hi, it's Tom. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We're here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Shaun Souers is over there. He's been helping us out with these interviews, along with actor Drew Powell, who knows a bunch of these guys. And Drew, of course, secretly wants to get into an Indy car. That's going to require a lot of surgery. But this is really cool. We had some great conversations with some of these men that are driving some of these cars. Really, really fun stuff. Not the kind of stuff you're going to see anywhere else. Trust me. Thanks for joining us. We are talking to the great Helio Castroneves.
Wow.
Great.
The
quad father.
Can you say that again? The great.
He said great. He said great.
The four-time winner, Helio Castroneves.
Let me call my wife. Hey,
Wait,
she can actually,
has anyone ever called you the quad father?
No, that's actually impressive.
Can Drew Powell trademark right now the quad father, four-time winner?
Wow. Interview's over. I got nothing. I have nothing. Interview's over.
All right, thanks, everybody.
That's right. Interview's over.
But we started the interview in Portuguese, so Helio was probably saying, I got another interview with these clowns.
These clowns.
I have no idea what's going on. Thank you for your time, Helio. It's great seeing you. I did watch you with our friend Dave Calabro scaring the bejesus out of him on a racetrack in Florida.
How was it? I didn't see it.
Oh,
it's cool.
It's great.
It was really
you can
cool,
actually, that you can't see him poop his pants. But you can tell.
I did smell that, but I didn't know.
And Helio is laughing.
Oh, God.
And going, this is what I do. And Calabro's like,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Brilliant.
You don't want to. I guess some of the locals there, Helio, like beat him by 12 seconds per lap, some insane amount. The man knows what he's doing. It's great seeing you back in Indianapolis.
Yes, sir.
It's great to be here, guys. I'm telling you, it is a lot of fun. Actually, especially when you guys, you see, that's what I like to do interview with you guys. You guys bring the positive. You guys having fun and straight to the point as well. But at the same time, you want to have a good time.
The big point is number 5.
Yeah.
And
I drive for 5. You're right.
Drive for 5, baby.
That would be unprecedented. You got a plan. How's it going to work?
I can't tell you.
Okay, good. Makes sense. Tell us in Portuguese.
Yes,
exactly.
The rest of the guys in the Four Timers Club, are they less friendly or more friendly now? Are they don't want the exclusive 5?
You know, it's funny. Rick Mears, which is my hero, my mentor. I obviously worked with him so many years with Tim Penske, and we talk about it. But he doesn't want me to go to the exclusive club because he's like, you're going to be lonely. I was like, I'm okay lonely.
I think you'll be all right.
Well.
I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, no, it's always great to see AJ, and unfortunately, Alan Sassin is not here with us anymore. But I can't believe it I still see them like the gods of race, which they are. But and I don't see myself, compared to them.
But think about that. The young drivers think about you the way you think about them. Think about that. I mean,
wait. What do you mean by young drivers? Shut up.
Sorry.
No, but he's right. But I thinking that.
Yeah.
Wow, that is actually
right.
Yeah. Well,
congratulations.
Thank you.
No, the crowd went nuts.
Oh my gosh.
Can you hear them at all, even after you won it and you're doing your?
No,
can't hear anything?
You can't hear it with the engine and obviously with the earplugs that you have communicate with the team. You don't. But you're right. I have some other things that I did during the month of May, and some of the fans are like, you couldn't possibly. For the fans on our side, it was so incredible. And I actually said to NBC, so why don't you guys get some of those fans and interview them?
Yes.
And describe that emotion, because that's something that nobody can describe on TV, right?
You think the crowd went nuts? You went nuts. There was, and the most beautiful thing of it was the TV just let it play out for whatever it was, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like nobody. Yeah, it was awesome.
And
it was awesome.
Fact, the producer said, I bumped into her in one of the planes, and she said, "Hey, I'm the producer, and I was about to press the button to go to commercial." And when I saw you running, I stopped. And I was like, you did the best thing because everybody saw it. Yeah. The pure emotion. Yeah. I didn't plan. I didn't want to do that. It was just the crowd really I felt the crowd was calling for me. And that's why I want to just give the love back.
I happened to be there. I was friends with your teammate, Simon Pagenaud, so I was consoling him. But then we walked down from his car where his pit was, and you were there, and you like all the drivers came up.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like
really
everybody was so happy for you. You know, it was a real pleasure.
Beautiful day. Same car, by the way. I'm ready.
Nice.
Oh, that's
nice.
Again. Yes.
Nice.
So everything is the same. I understand, the other teams over the winter, they really step up their game on speed. We saw it, 235s, right?
Sheesh.
Which is crazy. However, that does not intimidate me. I know what we need to do. We start further back last year, finishing the top 10. I feel that we have the same capability, and hopefully now we'll be fighting for the win.
All right. Last question of the great Helio Castroneves. Your story is so dramatic. It's obviously going to be a movie at some point. As you know, Drew Powell here is an actor.
Yes.
He's been working on his accent with the Portuguese. There's going to be some weight cutting.
Yes, there's going to be some weight cutting. I would like to play you in the movie.
He can be Maya Shank.
Shank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I've been mistaken for him a lot.
That guy is hilarious. I mean, he's authentic, a passion like me, authentic person like from Ohio, and a great guy.
Yeah, that's great.
You got to drink Busch Light, though.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember how to do that from college. But who plays you in the movie? I mean, you're Hollywood as it is. Let's be honest.
There's so many young actors now that I don't know. I think if you're talking about with Antonio Banderas and things like that, I think they're already past them,
right? No, they're
but
too
I
old.
don't know. You tell me. What do you guys think?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think who's the Brazilian actor that was in Narcos? He played Pablo Escobar in Narcos. He's an incredible actor.
Really good.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's a little bit big. He might have to cut weight.
The one that Rodrigo Santoro.
Oh yeah.
He could be a good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I actually a good friend of him. When he did that movie with Will Smith, and he came to one of the races. I think it's in NOLA, the only race that we had there. And he stayed with me for just a day, and it was really cool.
That's
really
cool.
Nice. He was really intense, and he enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to work on my Portuguese just in case.
Okay, very good.
Just in case.
One last thing. Do you eat any Brazilian food before you do anything? Are you thoroughly Americanized with your diet now?
Well, yeah. Now it's. I do enjoy it. Rice and beans, which is Brazilian typical food.
What are those little Brazilian balls? The balls of.
No, wait. This is a very family show, man.
Yeah.
What is this guy?
Let me just say, this Brazilian has the biggest balls.
He does.
What is he talking about?
He's going
Talking about
230
Brazilian balls. The quad
cheese.
father has Brazilian balls.
That's cheese, breaded cheese.
That's it.
Right?
Yes, that's the one. That's the
There
one.
we
Yeah.
go.
I was talking about a food stuff.
I hope so. Pão de queijo. That's what we're talking.
Thank you.
Another interview we've ruined with the great Helio Castroneves.
Yes, sir.
Helio.
The quad father.
Alexander Rossi is our guest, and we are going to make this as
Yay.
possible. Okay, now first we do
It's a radio thing.
First we do the eye check.
Yes.
We have noticed that so far the majority of the drivers have blue eyes,
Vast majority.
more so than the general population.
Do they?
Yeah.
I feel like they're paying for that. I don't know that that's a
They have a big contact bill.
I don't think that's a prerequisite driver. Mine are green or hazelish, actually.
Hazelish.
Yeah.
So I think you and Pato, similar eyes.
That's why we get along so well.
Yeah, totally.
We bond over eye color.
Bond of eye color.
Who do you get along with the best of all these guys?
Well,
You and Conor are good buddies, obviously.
Conor and I are great. I mean, he lived on my couch for years.
That's true. I forgot about that part.
Honestly, everyone, man. It's probably easier to say who I don't get along with, but I'm not going to do that. But it's such a tight-knit community. Everyone has a lot of respect for each other. I know that's probably a boring answer, but it's
It's
true.
true. I've seen it on the inside. What's interesting to me, though, are the there are a certain of you that have been around each other for a long time and have all these inside jokes.
Yeah.
So when I see you and Hinch and Conor and that crew together, it's always been fun for me. Kind of new to the group of not to the group but to the area. Like, oh, these guys they got their own fraternity basically.
For sure. Like Marco was a part of that as well.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
So yeah, there was definitely this unspoken kind of language that we all had, and it's cool, man. Like we all trust each other to go wheel to wheel at 230 miles an hour for 500 miles, and you got to have that kind of community aspect of it. But at the same time, you as soon as the green flag drops, you want to beat them all.
Let's go.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. Those guys even more so.
Exactly. You don't want to lose your buddy. I can tell you one thing for free.
Absolutely. You'll never hear the end of that.
Exactly.
I got to tell you, I was here, and so I grew up here, so I would come to the race as a kid, a couple times, get sunburned out there in the snake pit. But the first time I came and where I really got access was 2016.
Nice. Good year.
Yeah, it was a really good year.
Yeah.
And I remember
great vintage.
Distinctly seeing you come in, because I had a great spot overlooking, Victory Lane, and seeing you come in there, and it was still pretty early for you, right?
Were you as surprised as I was?
I didn't know enough to be surprised.
Yeah.
I was there with my buddy Simon, and so I was pulling for him.
Yeah.
And but I didn't, I hadn't really understood the sport.
Sure.
But I do remember thinking,
Same.
like, this guy. Yeah, exactly. I mean, what number was that for you?
1.
That was 1.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was like this dude comes out and wins his first race. Like that must have been a mind word that. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. It was wild, man, and it's like it's part of the motivation that I want as to why I wanted to win it again so bad. Like I don't want to say it was lost on me because that's not fair, but like certainly I understood now entering my 8th, right?
Yep.
I understood people's like subconscious opposition to me winning.
Right.
I had been in Europe. I had been in Europe. Maybe it wasn't subconscious. Maybe it was also very conscious as well. Yeah. I had been in Europe for 7 years. My goal as a kid was to race in Formula One.
Sure.
I achieved that in 2015. The team that I was driving for, it all changed.
Yep.
Got the opportunity to come back in 2016 with Andretti Autosport. It was kind of a lifeline was extended. It was a 1-year deal. My car was blank. It had no sponsors.
Wow.
And no one, including me, expected that we could win that race, right? And we were good throughout the month. We qualified 11th. It's not like we were lost, but I didn't go. I went into it just trying to finish my first 500. It was my second race I'd ever done on an oval.
That's insane. Wow.
And so, like when I won, a lot of people took my shock and surprise as like an unappreciation, and it wasn't that. It was I truly didn't really understand like how we had just accomplished what we did, and then like for sure the significance. So now coming back, it's like you want to win again because you understand why this race is so important. You understand what it means to motorsports, to the American public, to Indianapolis, to the people that come here. It's such a special race, and I'd love to win it again, knowing all of that.
That's awesome. And I think that's such an interesting answer because I do feel like people don't understand. They don't understand what it takes, what it takes to win this race. I mean, it's insane. Yeah. And so the sheer shock of that,
for sure. And it's funny because like I can pick out 2 or even 3 years where I feel like I had the car to win this race and didn't. Yeah. And then in 2016, like I said, it was an okay car. Shouldn't have won the race, and we did. So it's a very special event from that standpoint. I truly believe that the track chooses its winner. Yeah. When it's your time, it's your time, and you just got to put yourself in the position.
Well, when you and Simon were going toe to toe, was that 2019? I mean,
it was a wild one, huh?
That was. I'm in a hotel room in Chicago because I had to be up there, and we're my whole family. None of them watched racing, but they were all in. 50 people in a hotel room screaming, and like it was. That's what the sport's all about.
100%. And I think
either of you could have won that, no question. It's funny, you just mentioned Marco, and then he shows up.
I give him a shout out, and he continues to.
I love it.
But yeah, 2019 was an amazing year for the show. I think that all fans want to see like 2 cars fighting for it to the last lap, coming down for the win. Simon got the better of me. He won, and he's been a great champion.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You got a great starting place this time?
Yeah, I mean, it's my second best. Bless you. That was
everything all right in there?
Aggressive. It was the second best starting position I've had since 2017. And yeah, the team's been awesome all month. Having 4 cars in the top 9, unbelievable. So I think that we've got as good of a shot as anyone. But like I've said, 33 people are eligible to win this one. So we'll see.
All right. Now we've asked everybody the same question. When they make the story about your life, who's going to play you?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Great. Best answer all day.
Copy.
Best answer all day.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, you're both equally hot.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just want you to know that.
She's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Alexander.
Chris Spangle here with Drew Powell for the Bob and Tom Show, and we are talking to the pole sitter, Alex Palou. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You've had a monster month. You won the Grand Prix. You won the pole. You have to feel confident about your chances on race day.
Yeah, sure. It's been a great start of the month of May, obviously. It's been a great warm-up with a win at the GMR. And obviously the pole that obviously didn't really expect. We knew that we had a really fast car, but we felt like we were not the fastest cars until the Fast 6. So super happy to be here.
Yeah.
Was this year different than years past for you? Did it feel different?
Yeah, I mean, last year I finished second on the qualifying.
Yeah.
But I didn't really feel that I left everything on track. I thought after qualifying that I had more, and I was like, man, why? You didn't go. Because you never know if maybe next year our car is not fast enough, and then we are not fighting for pole anymore. So this year I was like, man, this is not happening again. I'm going to go for it if I can, and we'll go aggressive, and glad everything worked out.
Heck yeah.
Now, Scott Dixon is a veteran. He's won the race. He's won a record number of races almost. When you came to the series, you were fairly new to it. How helpful has Scott Dixon been to you in your development as an IndyCar driver?
Oh, huge. I mean, it's an honor to be able to share notes and comments about the race car with him. I used to look up to him when I was looking at IndyCar races. He was already leading.
He must have been like, 40 when you were born? I mean, I'm thinking.
No, but he was already winning when I started watching IndyCar. So for me, it's just a privilege to be able to share everything with him. And obviously, I learned a ton with him, with Taku, with Marcus, and last year with Jimmy Johnson. So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I just wondered if you could understand him with that Kiwi accent. It's very...
It's tough. It's tough.
That's an interesting... you're all talking English, but in different accents.
That's right.
Everybody's with different accents, and TK last year as well. If you put that in top of us, it gets worse. So, yeah.
Did you grow up speaking English? Did you know that as a secondary language?
Well, I used to... They used to teach us in school, but honestly, it was...
Well,
it's like when we learned Spanish.
Probably very similar to my Spanish. Aló, Mariana. ¿Qué planes tienes en este fin de semana?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Thank you. Mis zapatos son muy queso.
Me llamo Cristobal. That's all I got. Alex Palou is from Spain. You have or had a coffee shop? I was listening to a podcast called Dinner with Racers.
I used to own a coffee shop together with my wife. Yeah.
You started it as a backup plan, but you sold it now. You're here full time. Do you live here in Austin or Indy?
In Indy.
In Indy?
Yeah, I used to live in Austin, but only for the first year, and then I moved here.
Oh, that's great.
So you sold the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Is it just simply because the logistics didn't work out well?
Yeah, I mean...
He's too busy winning.
Yeah.
You ain't got no time to sling coffee.
Yeah, I mean, it was really busy, man. It was... You had to put so much effort, and we really loved having everything perfect. Like, as we have the mindset, as I have the mindset for the motorsport, we wanted to have the same for the coffee. It's like, we need to put the coffee like that, the toast like that, not too much avocado, but not too little,
I'm sorry I missed this. Where was it?
And near Barcelona, like 30 minutes from Barcelona.
Oh, my gosh, amazing.
So it was an amazing thing that we started together from scratch. And we had it for 3 years, but we had to solve it because otherwise my wife had to fly in and out too much, and it was a lot of work, but it was fun.
Well, let me ask you this. As an actor, I'm amazed at how often acting and sports, my friends that are in professional sports, there's so many similarities. And one of them is, you're doing a job that everybody wants to do, but not many people get to do it. And also, you're doing a job that is like, it sounds like if it was a backup plan, like we're always thinking like having a backup plan, like how long is this racing thing going to work? How long is this acting thing going to work? You never know. Did you have it's also a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
Certainly for me, you're working all the time, then you're not working for a while.
Yeah.
How did you cope with all that? And now on top of the mountain.
I would say when I started racing, I don't come from a really wealthy family or a family that was in motorsport before. So I always knew that race could be my last race.
Right.
Not even that year. It could be that
Literally
race.
that race.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
So it's always been like that. It was tough as a kid to know that, hey, Alex, you only have this race, and if we don't get a sponsor for next race, we're not going to be able. So it was tough as a kid, but then nowadays it's easy for me to think that I have a full year to go for it. And now obviously I don't have to worry about it. So it's tough, but I mean, you get used to. I think it makes you work harder each day to try and secure the job and do the best you can.
And does it make it feel sweeter now that you're like it? Do you appreciate it? Do you think more?
Yeah, but I don't really think about it too often. I still have the same mentality of like, man, it might be my last Indy 500 with a winning car, whatever. Like, I need to get the most of it each day and try and win.
That's smart.
Yeah, especially at Ganassi where everything is in its place, perfect. Does that mentality of this could be my last race? Is that why you're one of the reasons you're so successful at Ganassi? Is that you're always prepared, you're always appreciative of where you're at, and you're just in equipment that has kind of the same mentality. The team has that same mentality.
Yeah, I mean, the team is outstanding. Like, we've been on pole here for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That shows.
And Marcus Ericsson won last year.
Marcus won last year. So that shows the effort that this group puts in this place and the series in general. So that helps me look better. But honestly, I try and take that mentality. I think that helps. I try and work every day as much as I can on myself, physically, mentally, and especially preparing myself. But
It shows.
So this is the Bob and Tom show, so we can't ask you all serious race questions. We've got to ask you some silly, stupid questions.
Let's go. I'm ready.
What is the last thing you Googled?
It was actually we're launching my shop now, so it was my shop that I was Googling to see if everything
race gear. What kind of shop?
Yeah, some race gear and coffee. We're actually
Okay.
launching.
You got coffee?
Yeah.
All right, now we're talking.
So
it's bringing the coffee and greens idea to Indianapolis, or where?
No, it's just coffee beans. So we did a special edition for the Indy 500. So
do you have some in your bus right now? Like,
I do. Yeah.
Okay,
I do.
I'm coming over
you trying
later.
to get
I'm coming over
free
after the race. Absolutely. Are you kidding? I got one. Being the actor. Okay, if you could choose an actor, I'll take myself out of the running, although we do look a lot alike. An actor to play you in the movie about your life and when you won the Indy 500 in 2023, who would you choose?
Dwayne Johnson. I think that would be really accurate on like terms of physically and all that
Good
stuff.
choice.
So
Good choice. I think he's up for that.
Yeah. I think that would
Talk
look
about
good.
Fast and Furious. Let's go.
Is there a little quirk that you have that drives your team crazy?
A little quirk? What does it mean?
Like a funny thing or a thing that you do that they're always like on you. Stop doing this.
I don't think I do. No, I don't think I do.
He's perfect.
Yeah, he's
I'm
very
not perfect,
easygoing.
but I don't think I do.
Yeah.
That's great.
Alex Palou, number 10, American Legion car. We'll see you tomorrow for Carb Day. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Good luck. Go get him.
You ever make a Rolls Royce SUV?
I mean,
Man, it's like that thing looks like a yacht.
it does too.
It's like driving a yacht.
It sure does.
I'm driving over by my house, and I see this thing. I said, what kind of car is that? I put, it's a Rolls Royce SUV, and the guy had it all flat black.
Oh yeah.
Real gangsta.
Yeah.
What gangsta
Just
has
hearing you say gangsta is
a Rolls
comedy.
Royce? And they call that, I was asking the guy at the detail, so what do they call it when you paint a car flat black?
Yeah.
It's called being murdered out.
Have you heard that? I never heard that. You've heard that?
Yeah, murdered out.
Murdered out.
That's what's all black.
Wow.
I couldn't pull that off.
No.
I'm far too pretentious to be driving a murdered out anything.
Murdered out.
I'm murdering out
I have to murder out my F-150.
My Suburban. Okay, girls, pick it up.
All right, girls.
Pick it up my little.
I'm taking you to school in the pimp
murdered up-
mobile.
Okay, are we rolling over here?
Hey, roll.
Okay, let's go.
Dirty. Sorry,
He's been
Tom's
singing.
favorite
He's
song.
been singing national anthems. Do you have Mexico?
You have Mexico, bro?
Do you know the Mexican national anthem?
Mexicanos, grito de guerra.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
No. Taco
That
Bell's
was
not
good.
his fake
I know.
Mexican, bro. Come on.
I had to go with
I
Taco
did.
Bell.
That was lame. It was
30 years
low-hanging
ago, it
fruit.
would have been Chi-Chi's.
Oh, and you know what Chi-Chi's means? That's a
Titties?
slang. Yes. Did they know what they were doing?
There was a Mexican restaurant chain
Yes.
in the United States. It was the only one really.
Have you
there.
heard of this?
It was
Chi-Chi's?
it was
Yeah,
called
it was called
Chi-Chi's.
Chi-Chi's, a celebration of food.
And it was owned by a football guy, right?
Really?
Some
Joanne,
NFL
you
guy.
like the chichis?
See, they had fried ice cream.
Yeah, but we're actually going to start an actual real interview.
No, why start now?
Yeah, Pato Award is our guest, and these interviews are completely derailing all day.
Love it.
Let's start at the end. First of all, brown eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that we've been noticing almost all of the IndyCar drivers have blue eyes? So this gives you an advantage.
So that means
unique.
he's an outlier. That means he's going to win.
The sun's not going to get in your eyes.
Yeah.
So what's going on? You're having a great time. You did terrific. You're way up front.
We're flowing, bro. We're middle of the second row. Best ever qualifying I've ever had here. So, well, at the 500. So, yeah, we're
pretty good
stoked.
spot.
We're ready to go.
Now, have anyone told you the exact number of folks that have won from that starting position? I'm sure it's
No, don't tell me.
Yeah, quite a few. I'm not going to do that. You kidding me? I'm not going to make them mad.
You can tell me when I join the club.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Now, the first club we're asking you to join is the Actors Club because we've asked everybody this. In the event that they make a movie about your life,
When they do.
okay, when
I
they
mean,
make a
look at
movie
this
about
guy.
your life, who's going to play you?
I'm available.
Who's gonna play me? Well, by the time that they do a movie about my life, I gotta choose somebody that's fairly young.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Who's a good... Do you think it has to be a Mexican actor? Like,
it would have
It
to
would have
be
to be.
probably.
there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll find a good
We'll
one.
figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll get back to you.
Someone very handsome. Come on, get him.
Yeah, me? I mean, you can see that I'm well versed in Spanish. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca?
Where is the
Where
is the library?
Like you've been to a library. Come on. I know you're an actor.
Now I got to tell you, here's the real answer, Pato. The person that's going to play you is you, because I saw you. I was in Long Beach for the premiere of the 100 Days to Indy, right? And you were on stage. Tom, trust me when I tell you, this dude crushed it. Like all those other dudes on the stage were just like watching him work. It was awesome. You crushed, bro.
Man, you gotta have fun with all that stuff.
Exactly.
You know?
But it was natural. It wasn't forced. It wasn't like I got some bits that I'm going to do. Like it was just who you were. It was fantastic, man. Really.
Yeah.
So
Did you like
that's
the
answer.
episode?
I did.
Have you been watching?
I have. I've missed the last couple, but yeah.
Yeah, I stopped at 2.
You've been busy. You've been busy.
I've been busy.
But as we were saying before, the good thing was they didn't like spend a year editing it and get the storyline they wanted. So there's a real element of reality because they did it that way, which I think makes it better.
Well, you guys are characters. That's what I love. Like the F1 series felt like they were like manipulating storylines. All they have to do is run cameras, and you guys are entertaining, right?
Yeah. What I think is really nice of what Vice is doing is that they are putting it as it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I think there's always very easy ways to spin something up that is like not there.
Yeah.
So I think that gives them credibility.
Exactly.
Of just how they're showing of like it is what it is kind of
Right.
thing, right? Like if something dramatic happens, well, there's gonna be drama.
Exactly.
If there's not, then it is what it is kind of thing. Yeah.
And it makes for the folks that are authentic like you. But like there's that shot of you, and is that a Corvette convertible when you're on it looks like you're on a runway and you do that. Was in the
It's a
What is that?
A Shelby Cobra.
Shelby Cobra. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, Corvette. Jesus. Man, sorry about that. But I'm a Ford guy too. But like that shot is so cinematic of you, like, freaking doing a full donut in the thing and the slow-mo. It's like, that dude's a movie star already. Gee, many Christmas.
If you're a Ford guy here, you'll be in the museum. Pato O'Rourke is our guest. How many guys are talking to you during the race? In your head?
One. Oh, sorry, no, 3. Only for ovals. So I've got my engineer, Will, and I've got my 2 spotters, turn 1 and turn 3.
You speak English really, really well.
I appreciate it.
Do you ever think in Spanish when you're out there? Or are you actually thinking in language, or is it just going so fast?
I guess it's in English because all the information I'm getting is in English. So I guess I'm programmed in English inside of the car.
Yeah.
But my native language, what I speak with my family and everything, is Spanish.
Yeah. Do you dream in Spanish?
I do, because I've been told that I sleep talk. That I sleep talk, and I sleep talk in Spanish. So yes, Spanish.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
He did it again. He doubles
That's
down.
Spanish.
Barely.
Now, Romain told us that because his engineer speaks French, that sometimes they speak in French so that people can't hear understand what they're saying. You think that's an advantage?
It's a strategic thing?
No, because Montoya
yeah.
and Tony, they both speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So as soon as he had joined the team a couple of years ago, the first thing Craig said, "No Spanish." It's like, okay,
That's great.
fair enough.
We're not having it.
It's got to be. It's hairy enough. You're driving toward a concrete wall.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to think in a foreign language. What the hell? How do they say
I know,
this?
it's incredible.
How do they say I can't stop?
Incredible.
Now, are you a tattoo guy? It doesn't look like it.
No tattoo. I'm
Me neither, bro.
just
Keep it clean. We're now the exception to the rule. Everybody.
Yeah.
Tom's probably got.
I don't
Where's
have,
yours?
No, I have none.
Oh, 3.
No, this is just me ramming the door of my new house by mistake.
no. I mean,
Would you get like a
Borg Warner?
like the
No,
Indy
no.
500 logo if you want it?
No. If I had to get one, it would probably be maybe like on the forearm here, like a very special date or
that's
something.
good. Yeah. I like that.
But it would be
by date you mean like a date of the year, not a person you're dating.
yes, a date of the year.
Hey,
yes.
look, Zelda, got you.
Yeah,
right.
there you are, baby.
So yeah, that's interesting. No tattoos. We should have asked some of the other guys. I'm sure a few of them have them.
I mean, yeah, but who's got time for tattoos when you're freaking living this lifestyle?
They got some downtime.
I,
I would think you
driving
Man,
Lambos and
Tony's got
Lundgaard.
sleeves, bro.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
he's tatted up.
whole
He's
thing?
got Borg Warner there,
That's
bricks.
right.
Yeah, he's
There you
got
go.
some art.
He
You're
showed
right.
us those. He
Yeah, I
showed
love
us
it.
those.
Are you? Is this how many Indy 500s for you?
This is my 4th.
4th.
Yes.
Now, does it feel like at what point? Like, is it the first one and then everything after it, or do you still feel like you have to kind of get used to it?
No, you feel butterflies every single one.
Every single time.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what's your favorite part of the race day?
It's just driving, racing.
Once you get in the car,
Yeah, like
all the other
racing,
stuff, yeah.
like racing.
I was talking about one of the things that I love. I've had the experience of kind of being in that room where you all are before the introductions, and like that's one of the most unique things I've ever experienced, because the energy in that room of all the nerves and people, you got some family there, and last time you see them before you get in the car, like that to me is such. There's no other place in sports I feel like where you have this thing before you go out.
Who do you talk to?
Yeah.
There's usually like groups of drivers, like
Yes.
when in school,
Yes.
when you go
That's
to
what
like the
I-
cafeteria,
absolutely.
there's always like the groups.
Yes, exactly right.
So sometimes you just you poke into one
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
which
go into
group?
another one.
That's 100% right.
Is there a Spanish/Portuguese speaking group?
Sometimes not.
Yeah.
So
That'd be funny.
yeah, I mean, and
You
then
point
I
at
mean,
the guy and say something in Spanish. What the
they'll have like the wives and the kids there.
yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah,
Some people have the headphones in.
Yeah.
Some people are like just. It seems like it's a Tuesday. Like it's amazing.
How about do you like to eat nothing or next?
I know you gotta eat before, because then if not, when you get out of the car, man, your stomach is like it's like wanting food. So you try and get something in you.
Well, here's the other thing: is it you've got your list? Is it you that has the list of all the
Yeah,
restaurants?
that's me, bro.
That is amazing. He's got a list of all of his favorite restaurants in all over the world. How many cities? I mean, is it? Do you even know? But like this is like a hot item. Like you understand. Like folks in IndyCar all know about this, and they want to hit him up when they're in a
1, 2,
city.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13,
What are these now? The
These are all
restaurants?
cities, and then his favorite places to eat in the city. And he's a foodie. He knows his stuff.
27, 28, 29.
You gonna airdrop that old bad boy over here like a whoopee? I'm just saying, I would love to get that list. I would also love
36?
36 cities. 36 cities. And by the way, there's like multiple restaurants.
What
in
is your
these
favorite
cities.
restaurant in Indy? Certainly fair to ask. He's thinking.
I go to Verde a lot.
That's a good spot.
Yeah, in Keystone.
Yeah.
I ate there 2 nights ago.
That's a good spot. Good.
Yeah.
Well, that always makes me feel better. I want to know
They make
where
me these shrimp
authentic-
tacos with mozzarella. Really good.
mozzarella. All right. I'm going to go ask for the Pato special then.
All right.
Absolutely. Hi, guys.
Ciao, Bella.
Hi, guys.
There we go.
Love it.
All right. Pato and Roy, thank you very much. Have a great race.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Appreciate your time.
Boy Wonder, ladies and gentlemen.
Enjoy the show.
We are joined by one of the still driving IndyCar legends, TK Tony Kanaan.
Let's go.
It's great seeing you again.
I see you, my friend.
And this is it, right? This is the last time.
I guess. Yes.
No, you don't.
I mean,
Kidding.
Never say never.
Never
It
say
is,
never.
It is the last time, and I'm convinced it will be. I mean, obviously, last year was tough when I finished third, and I get a call from such a good team I couldn't pass, but this is the last time.
Okay. Now
It's okay if you go back on that. No one's going to care.
We've determined from talking to other drivers that you can't hear the crowd going berserk when you drive by and when you take the lead. Can you? I know. Obviously, you're focused.
Right.
Can you see anything?
I can see the gestures, yes.
Yeah.
So that's something that over the years I didn't pay attention to it. And when people kept saying and telling me how the crowd reacted, and also watching videos how the crowd reacted when I made a pass, by nature now I just if I take the lead going into one, I go into turn 3, I'm kind of looking up.
Yeah.
So if I ever crash, it would be extremely stupid because I'm watching these people. But yes.
Would it be harder?
so true.
So last one, would it be harder to walk away winning it or finishing like second or third where you were like right on the cusp?
I don't think it makes a difference. I think the decision that I made, I know I'm still capable of
Yeah.
winning, and I know I can still decide to come back next year if that was the case, that I was still going to be capable of winning. I think that the biggest thing for me is I'm going to enjoy, and then I think I wanted to enjoy with you guys, with my fans. All my 4 kids are here this time, and for them to witness what this place, the way this place treats me, it's more important than finishing second, winning, or whatever.
Yeah.
How old are they now?
15, 8, 6, and 4.
Oh, wow. So 4, like just old enough to really
My
remember
youngest
this.
is my daughter. She will probably remember last, but now she already knows race cars. I mean, it's an awesome, when you try to show your kids you did something good in life. I think this place is going to show them
Absolutely.
that they're that.
That letter that you wrote, and you put it on the bricks, that was really a cool touch. And I mean, have you kept the emotions in check this week?
So I haven't. I mean, I cried when I wrote it. Yeah. I cried when I have to write, because obviously it wasn't the first time. Yeah. So I cried when I wrote it. I cried when I wrote it again shooting it. And this week has just been, depends, right? I mean, although you're really happy and somebody will say something that it will trigger and you get emotional, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, driver's interest is going to be a mess. The parade's going to be a mess.
Oh, man.
I had people coming up to me qualifying day, and I had this kid. He walked up to me. He had a 7-Eleven hat, all beat up. He says, "Do you remember this hat?" I said, "Well, I know it was my hat because us drivers, like you just talk about my hoodie.
Yeah.
This hoodie, drivers only have it. So if I'll give it to you, it's because somebody on the team, like
it wouldn't
a
fit.
driver in the team, right? Well, right. And anyway, this kid said to me, "You remember this hat?" I said, "Well, I know it was my hat." He says, "Well, you gave it to me," and he showed me a picture. But they were talking about 15 years ago. He is 20, and he was 5. and then you cry.
Of course, yeah. How could you not?
So yeah, it's been
brilliant.
been up and down. It's been up
Yeah,
and down.
I love that story.
Now, am I correct in saying that you have a sleeve with some significant
I have a
tattoos?
tattoo. Yes.
Yeah, and is it? Do you have the Borg Warner on there?
So you want to see it?
sure, I'd love to see it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, look at all this
Oh
stuff.
man.
Basically,
amazing.
Tom, when I did it was, I made a tattoo when I won, with the biggest accomplishments of my life. So it's the bricks, the Borg Warner. Then I have the hand imprints in the foot of my kids when they were born.
Oh, wow.
My wedding date with my wife, the car number that I won. And I won the 24 Hours of Daytona, and you win a Rolex. That's the crown of the watch. So, yep.
Who designed that? You designed it, but who did it?
It was a guy in Sweden, actually.
Sweden?
Yeah. No, he was in Brazil at the time, but he's
Oh, okay.
from Sweden. So yeah.
See, that's a
That
great
is-
story.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
You know, most people these days, they've got, Daffy Duck. They got it at the mall.
My brother-in-law has a Pink Panther holding a beer that's like it used to be pink and now it's just gross.
They don't go, is it Sweden? Well, wait a minute. Australia?
Yeah, I think I was in Sheboygan.
It was Lake Castleton.
Castleton.
Tony Kanaan is our guest. TK, he is a fan favorite.
Oh, isn't he?
He could do it.
Heck yeah.
He
Can
could
you
do
imagine
it.
that story? Then we make a movie. We're going to make a movie anyway, but that's a
Right.
good way
Now,
to
okay,
end.
you got to ask him the question.
So, when they make a movie about you,
Yeah.
who plays you?
Come on. Vin Diesel. There's no doubt.
Great call.
I don't know.
There's not
I
going to be an audition. That's
Yeah.
It's either
Yeah.
him or we're not making the movie.
I mean, I feel like you're maybe a better actor than Vin Diesel. I'm just saying. You're really good. I mean, think
I'm
about
not
playing
going to
yourself.
discuss that, but but
That's great. I love it. Fast and Furious indeed.
Okay. Last question. Do you have any weird things you eat or don't eat before the race?
Brazilian balls? Cheese
Tom,
balls?
we're all weird. Come on.
Yeah.
You know me for a long time.
Anything unusual?
No, I try not to eat, which I love, like sushi or raw fish, just because. But that's so stupid because you can eat bad food regardless, right?
Yeah.
The food could just be bad. So what we try to do is, which is funny, but whatever I eat on Friday night, the same food that was cooked from there, I'll eat Saturday night.
Oh, so
We'll
you
save
know.
it. You know you're eating
That's
something.
good. That's interesting.
go.
Now, that is an interesting quirk.
So finally, we have a question that's almost real.
And, and it's really boring because then, the race is actually, we get a report to the green room at 11. We kind of have lunch at 10:30 in the morning, and that's the same food. So it's the same food for 3 days.
Oh, wow.
And it's 2 dinners, and you call breakfast, but it's lunch.
Do you think you'll live in Indiana forever? Will you go back to Brazil? What do you?
I will never go back to Brazil. I think my family is all here. My wife,
Yeah,
went
sure,
to
of
school with
course.
your wife.
Yes, exactly.
The kids love here. Forever is a tough call.
Yeah.
But I think, with the smaller kids that we have,
Yeah.
we have 18 years.
Yeah, you'll be here
on
for a
us
minute.
easy.
pretty cool.
I have 18 years to hate the winter. Do the theater show that me and Tom do, that we play ridiculous roles.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Do your kids speak Portuguese?
That we're bilingual. I only speak Portuguese to them at home, and my wife is American, so they speak both languages.
Does she speak much?
She does. She had to learn with 5 people talking. Yes, but she does. Yeah.
Mostly the swear words directed at you.
That's how she learned how to speak Portuguese, swearing at me, and now we had to stop since the kids are not
Okay.
old enough to swear yet.
Yeah.
Tony Kanaan, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
it. TK. Look.
Am I correct in saying Romain? Am I getting that? Does that sound good?
No.
Okay, how do you Because I'm about to give him a really nice
Romain.
Romain.
Romain Grosjean.
Yeah. Say like
Romain
Grosjean.
Grosjean.
Well, here in Indiana, buddy.
Romain Grosjean.
You're Romain.
Romain Grosjean.
Romain Grosjean. son.
Romain Grosjean, get over here, man.
At least it's not Grosjean. Grosjean. I got that.
Now, we
Like
usually-
Romain like the lettuce. they put an E as a remove, just like the lettuce, we remove the E at the end. That's fine. Good enough.
We typically end these interviews by our actor friend Drew Powell asking, go ahead.
Okay, so who plays you in the movie? There's a movie about your life. Who's the actor?
Oh man,
Yeah.
good question.
I think
Thank
the
you.
answer is obvious. The late Paul Newman. Now, it's going to be tough.
Oh, yeah.
Look at those blue eyes.
Yeah. I can see Paul Newman. That's a big compliment.
Okay.
I would say I was gonna say Gerard Depardieu, but I don't think he could fit in the car.
They'll be cutting some weight.
Amazing actor, though.
He is amazing.
No smoking in the car.
Yeah, that's right.
I like Paul Newman. I'd go with
that's
that.
a good choice. Yeah.
And Mr. Newman used to be at the track all the time.
Yeah. Did you ever see him out here?
I did.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest moments of my life, I was talking with a friend of mine who was a friend of his, and he used to love listening to our silly race songs about the Indy 500, all those dumb songs we do.
Yeah, sure.
He thought they were hilarious. So,
brilliant.
And Paul and I are both from Shaker Heights. That's where everything ends. No other comparison. Welcome to Indianapolis. Welcome to the Indianapolis 500. Great to see you. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Where do you stand with respect to your size with the other guys? Are you like right in the middle, average size?
I'm actually quite tall. 5'11", 180 centimeters. So I'm quite tall, but I'm just better than them.
Yeah. So you can see over the dash.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get
Exactly.
that. I'm quite tall, but the good thing with the IndyCar, the cars are designed in a way that you've got quite a bit of room. So they're comfy enough for 500 miles.
Yeah.
And what is your first language?
French.
Does someone talk to you during the race in French, or is everybody speaking English?
98% of the time we speak English, but my engineer is French. So when we want to talk strategy and have the other team not to understand what we're saying, we go to French.
Yep. So does he begin every phrase by going, ha, ha, ha?
Voilà. So the situation is very much now that we need to save fuel on tire. And after we see where we are.
Wow.
I think you're playing yourself in the movie. That's pretty darn good.
Do you dream in French?
I dream in both languages, English and French.
When you dream about ladies, English or French?
I'm married for like 11 years, brother.
English.
I only dream about one. One girl.
Good answer.
Nice save.
Can we get that on a loop so he can play that back?
Send it to me.
Exactly.
I can save your life right here. Watch this. In the movie, who plays your wife?
Oh man. Oh, sleeper subject.
Yep.
So when I met my wife, she's a small brunette. I told her that one of the most beautiful girl I knew was a tall blonde girl, an actress. And just like, that could be my phantasm. Whatever, fantastic. And we go to that restaurant where you sit at a counter, and I'm sitting, and the seat next to me is free. And who comes and show up and sit next to me?
No way.
That actress. And then my wife get the elbow in and say, "Hey, you can tell her now." I was like, "You know what? In real life, not as good as you. Not as good as you."
Nice play.
When you tell people you're a race car driver that don't know you, they go, right. Do they believe it?
Well, he's famous now.
Everybody knows it from the Phoenix. Everybody knows it now.
Yeah, but sometimes my kids were like, "Yeah, my dad drives Formula One," and the other kids were like, "No." And then after show up, it was like, "Oh my God!"
Do your kids think you're like super? I mean, I know my experience. My kids think I'm very normal and not that cool. Like they can see you on TV and the things you do, climbing out of the fire, all that. How cool do your kids think you are?
It's hard to say. I think they grew up in that environment where people want to picture with you in the street and they kind of ask questions and they're like, no, I just think that is cool because they race cars. I don't really know what they understand or not. We're trying to keep them working hard and explain to them that life that we live is not the normal life, that dads normally don't, cannot spend like 4 months in the winter at home and that you have a job and yes, sometimes I'm away for a long time, but also sometimes I'm home for a long time. So we're just trying to tell them that they need to work hard.
Once again, that sounds exactly like the number of times acting in pro sports, like my friends that are pro sports, it's exactly what you just said. And it's weird. And like my son he would come to see me at work and he was in the bat cave, but all he cared about was going to get the snacks at the craft service. That's kids, they get free soda.
Do you ski?
I do.
All right.
Ooh, from Switzerland?
My grandfather was vice world champion of skiing.
Whoa.
1950. So
that's a big deal.
I was born on ski. That was actually my first sport.
Wow. Whoa. What's your favorite place to ski?
I love the Alps in Europe, France and Switzerland and Italy. But my grandfather was vice world champion in Aspen, 1950. So I've always dreamed of going skiing in Aspen.
Have you ever been there?
No, 2020 I could not because I got the accident. 2021 I got the surgery. 2022 we moved to Miami. So I'm hoping that by 2023, this year at the end of the year, I'm going skiing in Aspen.
All right,
nice.
We'll hope to see you in the slopes.
The newer hobby though is flying, right?
Yes.
Does that translate? Is that an outlet, or does that any translation between the flying and the driving, or is it just I get to get home faster because I can fly my own plane?
You can go home faster because you can fly your own plane. You go home whenever you want, and you go wherever you want.
That's brilliant.
The beauty of it. It's very similar. So I did everything very very quickly, but honestly, it wasn't such. The flying the plane was the easy part because it's like driving a car. You feel how it moves and multitasking and the dash and the yoke was kind of the easy part. Communication was tougher. There's a lot that you need to learn in terms of memorizing thing, but
You can't speak to the tower in French. That doesn't work like with your engineer.
Sometimes the waypoint is hard because they're weird names and you pronounce it the thing you should pronounce it and then what do you do? Like the golf club, start playing golf. So I say, hey, can I have some Titleist? Look at me and say, what? Oh, Titleist. I say, yeah, Titleist.
Titleist.
Wow, Titleist.
Titleist.
I met her in college. Wow, that was
that
awful.
one, yeah, I remember.
Wow, so sorry.
It's
what a
great.
great pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, man.
Do you ever get to drive for DHL in one of their trucks?
You know what? It's something I asked to do because I think it would be quite cool to do a day.
When you do a pit stop where you pull in and that'd be cool.
Change
for
the
race
tires.
fans and you bring them the delivery, the package.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
As long as speeding ticket okay that day. I want to
We
go
got a
fast.
budget for that. Yeah.
Okay, real quick, how are you going to win the race?
By finishing first.
Good.
Boom.
We're done.
Set it up.
Romain,
Knock it down.
So nice to meet you, sir. Thank you.
Great to meet you, man. Harrogate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then Edinburgh, and then back down to Braintree, and then
she's
Brighton.
covered like the whole
She's
UK.
covered. I know. And then after sixth form, she went up to school in York. University
York's
of Leeds in
beautiful.
York. It is. It's a cool
York's
town.
beautiful. I gotta say, Lincoln's fun for sure.
Yeah.
York's one of them towns where it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever we're watching, I'm buddies with Simon and Conor, some of these cats. Whenever we're watching, though, she's definitely holding out the English flag for you.
Oh, thank you.
Big time.
That's cool.
Big time,
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that is Drew Powell. I am Chris Spangle here with the Bob and Tom Show, and we are talking to Jack Harvey, who drives the number 30 for Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. First off, you have to be excited for Graham Rahal to be back in the race at this point.
Well, yeah, totally. Obviously, this has come up a lot today in the last few days, but I think from the start of Fast Friday, which is when I think we all realised that we were kind of in the wrong part of where we want to be.
Right.
To Tuesday at 10 a.m. when we saw that he was going to be Stefan's replacement, which, first thing I will add, I hated what happened for Steph.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic guy. Wish him the speediest of recoveries because he and his team showed that they deserved and earned their place in the 107th run in the Indy 500. I wish him a speedy recovery, and I hope that he gets in next year for the 108th. He deserves it.
Yeah, sure.
I was relieved in a lot of ways to see Graham get the call, and I do want to say thanks to, always to Honda, because I've only ever driven a Honda, but also in this moment to Chevy.
Yeah.
The race fan in me loves that they were able to overcome whatever the hurdles are. I have no idea, but I'm grateful they were able to overcome it. And I want to say thanks to everyone on the 24 for embracing Graham the way they have, because from the Rahal Letterman Lanigan side, it's been peak stress, and people think, it's just qualifying day, but really it's not. It's from Fast Friday.
Yeah.
And then to bump out a teammate is awful. People don't realise Graham's actually a very good friend of mine.
Sure.
So that added another layer of it. So I know what it means for him. I know Bobby's had every emotion at this place from winning it to being bumped himself.
Yeah.
So I know what the Indianapolis Motor Speedway means to the Rahal family.
Yep.
I know what it means to this team. I know the difficult questions that then get asked when one of our cars, whoever it is, doesn't make it.
Yep.
So you're balancing these very heavy negative feelings on one shoulder.
Yep.
The other shoulder, I felt so grateful,
of course,
to be in the race, and I felt grateful for myself. For all the sponsors on the 30 car. For people ready, for custom entertainment, for all my mechanics. For the engineers, for everybody in marketing, and I think other people as well should just give them a thought throughout all this, trying to balance some of these positive, negative in equal doses. I will say though, everything that's happened, I'm proud of the people of RLL. We clearly haven't had the performance, but in terms of just how they are as people, I thought we all handled bump day with a huge amount of class.
Absolutely.
I think that universally, I mean, Graham has, I think, in the IndyCar fandom online, sometimes been unfairly criticized, but I've seen that completely switch since qualifying.
Without
I think
doubt.
For you too, I think the way that the team handled it, and also, I mean, Honda and Chevy, I don't think anybody really thought that would be possible to see a Honda driver go to a Chevy car. It does make a big difference in the race, for those of you who don't know. But it really, I think, speaks to where IndyCar's at right now, where it seems like a big club where everybody's rooting for each other, as opposed to maybe 30 years ago where it's don't tell anybody anything or I'll knife you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and not for nothing, your qualifying was the equivalent of a freaking game-winning shot in basketball. That's worth celebrating.
The car was hot, and you weren't supposed to. Were you on the fourth lap going, no effing way?
I saw the third lap, and I was just like, a bit like everyone else, like, there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance.
Yeah.
And I think I've watched the broadcast back, and I think we were pretty much getting written off, and probably rightly so, until that third lap.
Yeah.
Hang
on a second.
I still can't quite understand everything that happened there.
Did you make any change of the car?
I mean, we did in pit lane. Maybe I was a bit more Johnny on the spot with the tools that we have inside the car. It's a wild day, man. It's so wild, and I love sports. I love this place, and it felt like one of them moments, whether it's basketball and you've thrown and the buzzer's gone, or you're throwing a Hail Mary to win a football game or something. Like that was the equivalent.
Penalty goal in football.
Soccer. that was our final effort.
Yeah.
That was all we had left. There was nothing else to give. I truthfully didn't even know how much time was left. That's how just present I was, which is why I asked on the way in, how much time is there left?
Right.
And they're like, 0, you're in. And honestly, I cried like a little girl for pretty much the middle of the back straight to coming in and composing myself again.
That is great.
And again,
I love that.
But you're wrestling with it because I knew that it would have been Graham. It is a weird.
That's a weird
moment.
spot.
It is a weird spot, and then you throw in the other dynamic of it, where obviously Bobby's my team boss. That's how I see him.
Sure.
That's how Graham sees him, but then that's also his dad. They have another layer to that relationship that's way deeper than anything that we do at the racetrack.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I do think that we all handled it with a nice amount of class, and I really was proud to be a part of that organization on that day for the people that they are. And now we're in the 107th running, and we have a year to try and figure out what the heck went wrong last weekend. But
and which number is this for you? How many 500s?
7.
Wow.
Yeah, right. I know.
Lucky number 7.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Let's make it happen. It'll make a great movie.
I mean,
Jack.
honestly, if someone from our team wins,
I'll forget it. Forget it.
I don't even know what I'd do. Honestly, I hope it's me. If it's one of the others, I'll celebrate with them. Maybe we don't go to Detroit. Who knows?
Still celebrating.
Yeah, we'll still be celebrating. But no, it's
you guys over here going no.
Jacob's like, in all fairness, Jacob's like, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
So,
it's always the PR people. You got to watch out.
So we've been asking all the drivers. My day job is I'm an actor. So in that movie, when you win and we cast the movie, who plays Jack Harvey?
Only because I get this a lot.
I know who you're going to say.
Zac Efron.
I knew it.
Yeah,
but here's
a
the
lot
thing.
of people say.
Oh my gosh, forget it. I mean, you guys could be brothers, but
Yeah.
I'm getting serious Danny Radcliffe vibes, man. And I could see
That went from feeling like an ultra positive to kind of a negative.
Come on, he's Harry Potter. He's Harry Potter.
I'm living this Jekyll and Hyde all the time. I
want to see that. Yeah, he is Zac Efron and Danny
I
Radcliffe.
do see that.
Somebody make that. Somebody give me some art of that on Jack's shoulders.
He does kind of have like the Harry Potter was a nerd in middle school. And now look how hot he is.
When Harry Potter got hot, there you go.
I still am a nerd, in all fairness. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan.
Nice.
One time when I got drunk, I did permanent marker the lightning bolt on my forehead. Get me some little specs on. I'll be Harry. Hey, if we win the race, I will dress up like Harry Potter sometime on Monday.
That's great. Listen, you heard it here first.
Now, are you a traveler?
Well, I mean, inherently, yes, because obviously I'm from the UK and I'm living in America. I'm actually a homebody.
Okay.
Like, I don't love traveling, which is hilarious for how many race weekends I travel to.
You spend a lot of time away.
But like my apartment is my little sanctuary.
Yeah.
And I just love it.
What do you do? Where do you live at, by the way?
North side of Indy.
Okay, so what have you done to the apartment that makes it feel like a sanctuary?
It's really more about the feeling that I get every time I come home. It's peaceful. It's been decorated, albeit mostly not by me. It's a calm place to be. It is, and I get there and I just find it easy to leave my stress, negativity at the door. And I walk in and I'm just like, okay, I'm home. And it's almost like I'm safe again. And everyone has them, home comforts, creature comforts, like obviously being from the UK, the bits that I miss about it, some food. So I make sure that I always have something.
You got baked beans, you got curly whirlies, you got, you have, I mean,
You're blowing my mind.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, I told you, my wife is English. Absolutely.
Let's get a crunchy in there.
Absolutely. Let's go. Come on. Are you a Marmite guy?
No,
me neither. Come on. Nobody wants that.
Get on board with that.
I liked, what's the rings when you put them on your finger?
Haribo? Haribo.
No, the
party
like
rings.
The chips, like hula hoops.
Oh, hula. Yeah,
give me hula hoops all day.
Yeah, Monster Munch. You ever
Come
had
on,
them?
heck yeah. Let's go. We haven't even got to the lager yet. Let's go.
Yeah.
So what do you keep stocked in the cabinet from? Do you like have it shipped over? Or is there a store here that you can get it?
Yes, a little bit yes to both. I will say my mum is as much of a mum as you could ever
love it.
And she keeps me very well stocked.
Oh, that's
my dad travels to a lot of the races too, so he's always bringing my favourite biscuits, chocolate digestive, hobnob.
Arnott's Australia.
Hobnob.
Oh my God,
yeah, I know.
Hobnob, the chocolate covered hobnob.
Yeah, that's the way.
Let's go.
When I heard chocolate digestive the first time, I was like, "There's no way that's a candy. That's the worst."
No, it's not. It's a cookie. It's like a graham cracker kind of, but better.
This is where there's an immediate language barrier.
Okay. Right.
Because a cookie here, if I think about a cookie, I think pretty much exclusively chocolate chip.
Right.
Yes. Right.
That's it's a chocolate chip cookie, period. Everything else has its own subcategory. Yeah. And in the UK, that's called a biscuit.
Yes.
Right.
Where in America, a biscuit is like a weird cross between like a scone and a bread bun. I'm like, am I putting jam and clotted cream on that, or how am I eating
gravy?
this? Or gravy.
Yeah, I asked for biscuits and gravy one time, and I got a scone with and they really worked hard.
I got to tell this story. So me and my sister, when I first moved to America, she comes over with me. She's here 10 days, helped me get settled into my first apartment. We go to a brunch spot, and like brunch is a new concept, I think, for a lot of people. Normally we just bypass that and go straight to lunch, but we're brunching. We're having a great time. We're looking down the menu and it says biscuits and gravy. And at this point, we have not immersed ourselves in American culture. We have no idea. Nothing about that made sense because in our mind, to give you a reference, that pretty much is like someone going, there's two like graham crackers covered with like beef gravy or turkey gravy, and that didn't make sense. I'm not here for it.
No, absolutely not.
And then I did one day like try biscuits and gravy. It's hearty. That's a hearty
That's
meal.
a guy that eats baked beans for breakfast.
That is a great way to say it, though. It is hearty.
American beans are dense.
Really?
Don't you think?
Yeah, totally different.
Baked beans in the UK are lighter.
Yes. Okay.
Like quite a lot lighter.
Yes.
Less sugary, less syrupy.
Yes,
Definitely
for
more
sure.
like a savory thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the thing is, like, it has to be toast. It can't be bread. because then it's going to be like dripping through, soggy mess.
No,
I'm not here. I don't like that.
No.
But like proper toast, beans.
That's full English, baby.
Yeah,
except
good
the blood
bacon.
pudding. I can't get the blood pudding.
I don't dabble with that either. No mushrooms, no tomatoes.
You and I are going to go to Cracker Barrel and ask for a full English and see what happens.
I love it. It's one of my favorite places to go. You got garden table, Pagenaud. I'm like, let's go Cracker Barrel. Yeah, let's go. Eggs over medium. Don't fry my bacon.
That's it. All right, we're gonna next time my wife joins me, I'm gonna call you up because we're on the north side too with my folks. We're gonna find a good a pub that will serve us some breakfast.
I make pretty good sausage rolls.
Done. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll come over.
How do you feel like even just a little bit confused at like what's going on here?
I feel like I just came from
a language and no one else is.
I feel like I just came from England. I'm in a Waffle House right now. I don't know. It's a smothered covered in what?
That's all I am right now. Jeez.
Actually, it's one of the first. When I went to, it was new in my American adventure. We were in New Orleans and I went to a Waffle House.
Oh, boy.
That is the last time I ever went into a Waffle House. And I think what made it worse, I saw them prepping.
Oh, no. Never look behind the curtain.
Just throw up a screen.
No.
Ignorance is bliss.
God.
Yeah.
I saw that thing go in the waffle maker. I couldn't bring myself to eat it. That should not be served by people.
No.
Is there an American fast food restaurant that you're really into? You're like, I know I shouldn't be.
So many.
So you're like me, except you work out and you probably can resist temptation. So you just like drive by what? And you just go, I got to have BK today. I got to have Burger King.
That's not on my list.
Okay, what's your list?
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
maybe number one.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, outside, I'm class. It is me, like, kind of saying I'm not a BK guy. I do like Burger King.
Sure.
Yep.
I like McDonald's.
Have you had In-N-Out when you're in California?
Love In-N-Out.
Yeah, baby.
I like Five Guys.
Yeah, also good.
I like all of them. And people are like, what do you? I like Shake Shack. See, now we're flowing. Big pizza guy.
Now we're flowing. Baby.
Basbo's great pizza.
I was just gonna say
Napoli's good pizza. Greeks good pizza. Monocles. I mean,
we had a Greek's pizza on the square in Lebanon, Indiana. It was like living. You got to go
the
there.
best.
Controversial. I like Arby's curly fries.
Oh, all right.
No.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
And then I've never been to Wendy's.
What?
I don't even know why. Like, I've got no problem with Wendy.
We're gonna need a Wendy sponsorship here. I think you got a great opportunity.
I actually love their social media account. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know why. I've never been there. I've never been to Culver's.
Oh man.
Come on.
And I hear that's
top
good
two for
too.
me, yeah.
Do like Grater's ice cream though. That's pretty clutch.
Oh yeah.
And the only thing about McDonald's that annoys me, the milkshake / ice cream maker. Never works.
It never works. And by the way, they're just lying.
Sometimes I just want a cone. Just give me a cone.
Nope.
Little bit of a 99 whip.
It's too hard to clean. A 99 whip with the freaking flake in there. Give me the 99 flake. I love
Someone
it.
get me a Cadbury flake.
All right, Jack.
I think we're gonna have to start a podcast. American and Englishmen and
people are gonna listen to this back and be like, "What were they even on
What
about?
are they taking?"
How many times a week do you eat fast food?
Truthfully, not many. Man. I gotta say,
you don't
look at
you
him,
don't
right?
get in a race car eating fast food.
I like actually just Social Cantina. That's kind of close to us. We like that.
Nice.
Big Chipotle guy.
Yeah, sure.
Like Wahlburgers. That's another one never mentioned.
That's great.
So
We need to just edit this of him like wistfully talking.
All of them down.
Here's me saying I don't eat a lot, but there I am. Rattling them off left and right.
42 minutes later.
Yeah, he's still going. I've never dabbled on White Castle because someone said give it a wide berth. Jacob's mad. He's what? But I don't know.
It's one of those 2 a.m. and you've made some bad decisions and you're like, well, let's just add one more to the thing. Yeah.
Not to just keep having another one.
Yeah.
But my next one at 2 a.m. You talk about bad decisions at 2 a.m. Skyline Chili.
Let's go. Come on, Chili Mac.
That's a good decision.
What's wrong with that?
That's a good decision at 3 p.m.
It doesn't feel as good the next morning, but
I will never forget smelling my breath with booze infused Skyline Chili,
onions,
and I was like, I think I'm gonna die. Like, this thing, I'm gonna breathe in my own breath, and I'm just gonna keel over right
Good night,
now.
everybody, and we're out. That's great. I love it, man.
All right, Jack Harvey, the number 30 for Ray Hall Letterman.
Oh yeah, racing. Yeah.
Best of luck to you.
Racing,
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Best interview of the day.
Hey, hi. It's Josef Newgarden is our guest. And we continue this streak.
Hey.
I am positive that there are more drivers with blue eyes.
Yep.
It's amazing.
At least the ones that we talk to.
Yeah,
Maybe keeping count of that.
Well, it just,
He's very interested in
I
it.
noticed like 10 drivers in, only one of them didn't have blue eyes.
Yeah.
And that actually kind of leads to a sort of serious thing. Didn't you do a lot of talking about the importance of sunscreen and?
Oh yes, for Outrun the Sun. Yeah. Great charity organization. It's true. I mean, look, I think skin cancer is the most prevalent cancer that is out there.
Yeah.
And you can see why. I mean, we're exposed every day. It's hard though. Not a lot of people think of it. And you got to be careful. I mean, enjoy yourself. Come out here, but just lather up, protect.
You're looking at a guy who did that thing where he did his face, and he did his ears, and he did the back of his neck, and he did his arms. Playing golf in Florida this weekend, but he didn't put anything on his legs. As if the sun would somehow magically not touch the legs. They are burnt to a crisp. And I need to pay a little bit more attention to my buddy Josef over here.
Well, one of the important things about being a race car driver, you're not going to get much sun.
That's true.
Helmet.
Outrun the sun.
Yeah. How do you like the setup now that you guys? It was really kind of an open thing, but it was almost a convertible. Now you guys are sort of in there.
I don't know how we were doing it before without the screen.
Right.
I really don't. And it's funny because when this was coming up, it's really the last safety innovation the major innovation for an Indy car. And historically, there's never been anything there. And I was not for it. I was like, hey, that's not the DNA of IndyCar racing. We don't need to be putting that on the race car. And so I was the opposition. Yeah. I was on that side. I couldn't believe it. And now I look back and I go, what was I thinking? What were any of us thinking? Yeah. It's nuts, But, you could also go back 50, 60 years and look at some of the cars that were driven then and say, what were these guys thinking? They'd have fuel cells wrapped around their bodies. I mean, it was like they were sitting on a bomb, basically. Wow. Yeah. So I think you only know what you know. And for us, that was normal to not have the screen. Now that the new normal is having the screen, I couldn't imagine taking that thing off. I mean, it's crazy we didn't have more incidents.
It's impossible for us to put ourselves in the car, but is there a difference sonically? I mean, can you hear better, or does it affect the way you can look at things because of the glass?
It is different, because before your head was completely exposed and you're getting all the turbulence.
Right.
When you were in the pack, it's 33 cars here in Indy. When you were deep in the pack, the amount of buffeting and turbulence that you get directly to your face was unreal. Like It was hard. It was like you were in a wind tunnel. It was crazy to describe. Whereas now with the screen, the car is still moving, but you're not getting that directly, on your helmet. So it is a very different feel.
How about sonically? You guys have to wear the earpieces.
That's right. Yeah, that didn't change much. I think that actually you hear the engine a bit more because you're not having the frontal impact. So the engine is bolted directly behind us. So you're getting a lot more engine feedback now. But I think the total sound is kind of similar.
And is it really easy to hear the people that are talking to you, the 2 or 3 people that are?
For the most part, I mean, we've got everything molded into our ears, which is great. You would probably go deaf if you weren't wearing those things throughout the whole race. But we have really nice molded earbuds, and it's not challenging. You can hear pretty well.
Does that ever go out? Where someone's talking and they're gone?
It's happened. It's really bad when that happens.
Then how do you tell them you can't hear them?
At some point, they figure out, okay, he's not responsive. What's going on?
He's either pissed,
do they send the guy to the wall with a little sign?
It used to be, right?
Newgarden pit?
No, literally, yeah. So before we had radios in the cars, that's how we would communicate, was with pit boards, right? Pit signs.
Right.
And we don't do that anymore. And it's actually... It's a rule now that if your radio goes out or you lose communication, you will get black flagged.
Oh,
so you don't, even if it does happen, you don't want anybody to know about it because they're going to DQ you essentially.
Wow. Holy smokes.
It's a safety hazard now on the track, which is it's different times.
It sure is.
Wow.
What number is this for you, Indy?
12th.
12th.
Yeah, I can't believe that too. I've done 11 of these. It's going to be my 12th attempt.
Wow.
It's gone by super fast, and it never gets easier.
Yeah. Well, I have this distinct memory in 2016. I'm from here, so I would come as a kid, get sunburned in the snake pit, put on sunscreen. But there was 2016, I was a guest of Simon's, and so I got to be up in the pagoda and the whole thing. And your mom and dad and sister, I believe, Would have been 216. Was that pre
Yeah,
Ashley?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Ashley might not have been here, but that sounds right.
And you had a good race in 2016, as I
Yeah.
recall. And it was so cool because I was just kind of there with my wife, and we were sitting there and we were talking, and they're like, "Oh, that's your son," and it was like, "Oh yeah, Nashville. Oh, that's good." And how excited they were, and how nervous your poor mom was, and stuff. It was my first real look at watching a family watch their son drive 230 miles an hour around for 2.5 hours.
It's really bizarre because when I was young, my parents were very safety conscious. They didn't want me to have a go-kart. Getting a bicycle was difficult when I was a kid. So it's ironic that I now drive race cars professionally for a living, especially Indy cars. But I can only imagine how nerve-wracking it is. We had our first son, me and Ashley, about a year ago, and now being a parent, I can only fathom, just the scariness.
Yeah, it's a different perspective, isn't it?
I mean, for me, I didn't really care. I was like, just let me do my thing. I love racing cars. But
turns out pretty good, by the way. Like, you're good at it.
Thankfully. But yeah, if my son wants to race, it's going to be bizarre.
I feel the same way about acting, by the way. Like, Leo, go be a scientist.
Yeah.
Anything with a regular paycheck, go do that thing.
Yes,
please.
Yeah. But again, you're not going to hit the wall going 230. You might get a bad review. Not that that's ever happened, I'm sure.
Good point. Good point.
Are you tattoo free?
I am. Not that I'm against tattoos. I like tattoos.
I just noticed it seems that there are fewer and fewer.
Their body is their temple, man.
TK has the sleeve. Right?
Yeah. Well, he's an old man.
Yeah,
He's an old man.
TK's got some sweet tats.
Yeah.
No, I actually think tattoos can look beautiful. There's some really I like a nice sleeve on somebody, and even some women look fantastic with tattoos. But I'm not a tattoo person.
I don't know that I could come up with something. I'm too ADD that I would want for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Or like when I'm 80 and it's sagging down here. Like,
I'm OCD. Whereas I'm very particular about stuff, so I don't think I could get a tattoo. But look, to each their own. I think they're beautiful in their own way.
Does the OCD help you when you're in the car?
That's interesting.
It's a good question.
You got to have the steering wheel has to be just like this, even when you're parked.
I'll tell you what it is. The difficulty of having it is that if you are fortunate enough to find success in racing, the OCD in me has made it to where the only thing that's really acceptable is winning. And you've got to look. It's just impossible for that to always happen. So you've got to kind of control the. You got to control the intensity that you have in your mind that everything has to go perfectly, and you win a race or two here or there, you win more races, you just think like, well, that's the only thing that's acceptable, and it's hard to do. It's hard to sustain that, especially in IndyCar. You try and pick a winner here this weekend. Yeah, there's favorites, but you go up and down the grid. Literally any driver could win this race, and that's not a marketing line. It's the reality.
It's true.
So
and this is coming from a guy who's won more in the last several years than anybody else. I mean, you've got a lot of wins.
And it's tough. I mean, just to put 4 or 5 wins on the board is near impossible these days out of 17 races. It's tough. It's challenging, but it makes it exciting, I think, for the fans and the community that watch IndyCar racing, and it makes it challenging for us. Back in the day, people would win races by multiple laps. I mean, literally, you'd come here and you'd have a winner and he won by 3 laps. Yeah. Not that is, it's just a different era, it's a different type of racing. Now you're going to have 25 cars in the lead lap, and they're all going to be within 5 seconds at the finish, and you just don't know who's going to,
I know that Mr. Penske has done a great job of kind of stepping away from his team so that everything is fair. Do you guys at least get better parking?
There's small little things, like the bus lot, for instance. There's maybe 60, 70 buses in there. And I didn't like the side I was on last year. So I said, hey, is there any way can I please get put to the other side? And I'm going to tell you what, it happened. I got moved.
Did you get to talk to Mr. Penske much?
Oh, yeah, all the time. He's great. One of the most amazing humans I've ever met. Genuinely. He's just a loving, caring person. He's all business, as you would imagine, Mr. Penske. I mean, he runs a billion-dollar corporation, multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Yeah, I hear there's some controversy about the scooters.
There was some scooter controversy. They got taken away. Well, they didn't get taken away. They got the access to the scooters got reduced. No more scooters in pit lane is basically what happened. You can still have your scooters, but don't bring them out.
Don't bring them out there.
Yeah. So stuff happens, but no, he's amazing. We get to see him all the time. He's here today, and I've never met someone that takes care of people like Roger does, and Roger doesn't take care of just a couple people. I mean, these are hundreds of thousands of people that Roger takes care of. I mean, it's amazing. He's a great guy,
and he's done great stuff here.
No question.
The physical plant, if you will, it's
a freaking soda machine over here. I heard from the other media, like they never got sodas back in the day.
It's not a small place.
No, it's not.
It takes time. It takes time, but he cares about this. Is the legacy of if you know Roger's history, everything in that man's life started at the Speedway. So for him to own it, I think, is really a beautiful thing, and he has done an amazing job here.
Yeah.
Last question. You want to take it? This is your question.
This is it. Okay, so if you could have anyone play you in the movie about your life, why would it be me?
That's definitely Drew. Definitely Drew.
I'm sorry. No, who would it? Well, it's funny because we were having this conversation, kind of the conversation before. Who is your? Because he's become, as some of you listening may know, a bit of a sensation on this 100 Days to Indy. I mean, he is a heartthrob now. He's a TV star, and I would kill for the tape that he's got. But if it's not you, which it could be you, and maybe it will be you because he can do everything. He's OCD. But who do you choose as your?
This is a tough question coming from you.
Yeah.
Tough question.
I'm going to be critiquing your answer.
I will just tell you, I would say this person because I like him as an actor. I would say Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I totally buy it.
Yeah, back in the day, I would say Paul Newman.
Yeah, he's got a Paul Newman thing.
Handsome, blue eyes.
Sure.
And Paul, actually, the charity that's very close to me, Serious Fun Children's Network, that was Paul's charity that he started in the 80s.
Amazing.
It's a bunch of camps for children that mostly are sick children that don't have the means to go to camp and just be kids. But Paul was a huge I mean, he was a big IndyCar guy, and he had a lot of success. I would have killed to have met Paul. It would have been great.
Paul used to Paul said that he loved the Bob and Tom songs about the race. You ever heard them? They got. You should go back.
No,
they're very silly.
They would do these silly parody songs they have an album for Indy 500 every year for
yeah. We did a whole bunch.
How many years?
Over time? I don't know. 10.
But to get the Paul Newman seal of approval, that's pretty great. So you have to go check it out.
Made my day.
Yeah.
But Josef Newgarden, it's amazing.
My guy.
This is going to be great. Give
Thank
our
you,
best
guys.
to Mr. Penske.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Enjoy
for
the race.
Yes. Thanks for the parking.
Thanks for the parking. Yeah, go get him, kid. Appreciate you, man.
Quick photograph.
Listed off every fast food restaurant.
Is he into
How much into
what? You're into it?
Which is your favorite fast food restaurant?
Oh man, we just did a whole segment about Chick-fil-A probably.
Oh, that's Chick-fil-A for dinner, I think, 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A's it's solid.
You too.
But he never had Wendy's.
Yeah, I'm from Columbus, Ohio, so I've definitely had Wendy's.
Yeah. Wendy's great, this guy.
Yeah, I'll take you to Wendy's. You want a Frosty?
This is Drew Powell.
Actor. How you doing?
That's how I'm making up to you. I'll buy you a Frosty.
Huh?
That's how I'm making up to you. I'll buy you a Frosty.
For kicking me out of the field? That's not a very good trade.
I went as fast as I could.
Oh, I love it.
Just needed you to sneeze or something. You must have had McDonald's the night before.
That was it. It was White Castle. He got the Crave case from White Castle. That stuff will make you go. America runs on White Castle. It's not Dunkin'. Man, oh man, that's right, Ohio boy though.
Saying White Castle's Ohio too.
Yeah. We had I'm from Lebanon originally, from Lebanon, Indiana. We had a meat processing plant for White Castle, which always made me very curious what actually was in that.
Yeah.
It was definitely a question.
Yeah. For sure.
All right.
We got our first full race suit here.
I know.
He's been working today.
I was working. I got 15 minutes of work
Let's
today.
Let's go.
This is Chris Spangle here for the Bob and Tom Show, here with actor Drew Powell, and we are joined by Graham Ray Hall. Graham, first race suit today. You're fresh out of the car. You had a golf tournament, and then you had 15 minutes in the car to loosen up.
I did, yeah. Yeah, it was quick. Didn't get through the golf tournament either. Ran out of time.
Oh, really?
The play was too slow.
Christian Lundgaard was here, and he had a good time.
And it's my golf tournament, so it's my fault, I guess. we weren't quick enough. But yeah, it was. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah,
few days for me. But we're here, and it was good to get out there. Even for 15 minutes, just to see how different things are. Because clearly, car to car, it's different.
How big is the jump from your Ray Hall car to the Cusick car?
Well, it's more just like the steering wheel's clearly a lot different. To get used to it, where the buttons are, the way the buttons feel. In gloves, it's even just the feel of things is so critical.
Yeah.
The RLL car, the buttons are they protrude out a long way. The dry Reinbold Cusick Motorsports car, they're kind of flat with the wheel, so you've got to actually push in, so it feels quite different. But look, those are all things we'll adjust to. We got a couple hours tomorrow to figure it out and go from there. It definitely is a blur to jump in and just go.
We're not going to rehash what every single other person in the media day has asked you, but I do want to ask about the difference maybe between 20 years ago versus now. You're a Honda driver driving for a Chevy car. They allowed you to do that. The teams work together. Has the sport become a lot more collegial and a lot? Maybe it's competitive, but not as intense.
No, I think it still is. I was very surprised to be here. In many ways, particularly, I think that people have seen this. I feel that, the Chevy motor has been very, very strong, right? And if you look at the cars that are up front, aside from the Ganassi team, that most have been the Chevy. And so for them to allow me to drive that, I think is a little surprising. I think for Honda, there was a big surprise that they allowed me just simply because I've spent my whole career there. But for the Chevy side, certainly they've got information that they probably don't want me to know anything about. So that's been a surprise.
Did you have to sign an NDA? Or?
Somebody said that to me.
Yeah.
So it was like, you must have signed an NDA. I said,
I got to sign an NDA to audition for a Marvel movie. You would have thought.
I haven't signed anything. Nothing at all.
Here we go.
So
they trust you. You're a trustworthy guy.
But they also don't tell me anything.
Yeah,
so you don't need to sign an NDA if you don't get told a single thing.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a whirlwind, man. The last few days, holy smokes, it's hard to process what all has actually taken shape.
Did you go home?
No.
No?
Just been living in the motorhome, man.
Yeah.
Living in the motorhome.
See what happens.
Got two little girls in there, two dogs, and my wife Courtney is somehow keeping it all together.
That's
I'm not
awesome,
really
dude.
sure how.
Awesome.
So,
I loved it.
I've got a 4.5-year-old. I've got a baby due next month. Things for me have changed radically since having kids. How has having children, young kids, watching your daughter walk up and hug you on the race car, I might tear up thinking about it now. How has that changed things for you?
That's when it got hard for me. I was kind of feeling okay. Not okay, but I was keeping it together.
Yeah.
And then I looked over and I saw, my wife with the two girls, and I was like,
uh-oh.
That's when, you feel so much.
Kryptonite.
Yeah, it's just so hard.
Yeah.
But here we are. We're back in it.
Yes, sir.
We just needed a chance. We got a chance now. So let's see what happens.
How did the car feel today?
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
But and it's windy. Super windy today. I hope
really
it's not
is.
like this on race day, just more out of principle. This is a tough, no fun being out there like this. But, it's different. It's going to be different. It's going to handle different. It's going to feel different tomorrow. But I'm excited to get out there and get a sense of it. We'll see.
Yeah. So we've been asking everybody all day long from the Hollywood world. So they make a movie, and this sounds like they might be making a movie about this. There's been a lot of great drama. Who plays you in the movie?
Oh, man. You tell me.
Well, I'm available, and I think we're the same height. So I'm going to hit the gym for the next 3 years, and then we'll be fine. No, okay. Let's think about this.
Because I don't know.
What do people say you look like an actor?
No. Only person I'm ever told that I look like is Luke Bryan.
I see that. You know who just hit me from last year, actually, and we met last year for the first time here, is Miles Teller. I could see some Miles Teller
think so?
action. Yeah. I'm not saying you guys look exactly alike, but I think he could do a good job with
that
you.
movie was sweet.
Oh, man.
Top Gun.
Wasn't it?
It was awesome.
It brought people back to the theater. I was so thankful for that movie. But I could see that. And, man, what a story. This is what number for you? 500?
16.
16.
16. Oh yeah,
Christmas.
Yeah, a lot.
The person that was
This has
born
been the
the year
toughest,
of your first is 16 years old right now, learning to drive.
I know, and well, I feel like most of the drivers I compete against weren't born on my first one. My first first race,
especially these days.
It's kind of strange. There's a lot of youth in the sport right now, a lot. And
RC Emerson was like, "Yeah, my first, came to my first one when Tony Kanaan started." It's like, I was a senior in high school. You're about the same age. Like,
exactly.
Are you getting to a point in your career where you talk to some of these younger guys and you're like,
"Oh, dude, they're so out of touch." A lot of these young kids, I'm like. I was laughing today. I'm not going to name names, but like one of the drivers in his contract got something for free in exchange for money. And I was like, he had to be like 20 years old because money is gold, right?
Yeah,
you need to make a living.
Yes.
But as a kid, who cared,
Right.
Hey, I got a new toy. It's
Yeah.
like, no, not anymore. Not anymore.
Exchange for money.
But
you've I listened to a podcast today called Dinner with the Racers with your dad.
Yeah.
Bob or Bobby. He said you call him Bob.
I call him Bob.
Why do you call your dad Bob and not?
Don't know.
You call him Dad in some of the
Bobby
interviews.
sounds weird.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like.
But what about
maybe
Dad?
it was cool 40 years ago, but I think Bob is better suited nowadays.
Yeah, I get that.
I call him Dad all the time, but I think like if we're around. Well, I guess sometimes when he calls me, I say Bob. I guess now that I think about it.
Yeah.
We've always called him that. My little sister calls him Bob, and everybody calls him Bob.
He said he thought it was a little bit to tweak him. Is there a little bit of that?
Probably a little, sometimes. But at least we don't call him Robert or something. We're really upset if that's what we call
Robert.
him. But
well, the one thing I got to say is I've always admired your first of all, your ability to, you got definitely a future in the booth after. You can really explain this very well to lay folk like myself. But also, just like the class act, like, you've had it, it's hard in this business, I think, when they stick a microphone in your face after you've been doing what you've been doing. To not just go crazy.
Dude, that was the hardest part of Sunday. You're down, you're out. You've just been kicked in every area you can imagine, and you just don't have time. And I knew it. It hadn't even ended, and I could see the crowd swarming my car. I hadn't even gotten out yet.
Jeez.
And to to get out and try to keep yourself composed for like 10 minutes is not easy. But I do think that that's something that's super unique about our sport.
Yes.
Even in football, right? Like if a player, if Tom Brady goes out and throws 5 interceptions and wants to walk off the field and not do an interview, he can do that. But in our world, you can't. They are on you. The mic is in your face. You're not going to get out of there. And so that access is a great thing, but it's also tough at times.
It makes for great TV too, man. That 100 Days to Indy is freaking fascinating to watch.
The story that they're going to get now is.
Oh man, you turned into the A storyline. I'll tell you that.
Probably more of a story than they.
You hear that, boys?
Yeah, they're listening.
There's always been a little bit. I don't know if polarizing is the right word, but I just feel like the shift in IndyCar fans. In your favor, have you noticed anything like cruising social media?
Not really. I don't really look at it very much because here's the reality for me. Like, people just love to hate me, and I'm okay with that. Being my last name, I know that. I've lived that for 20 years. People, yes, you have those that are genuine fans and care. But people say the dumbest stuff, and they don't have a clue who I am as a person. They never met me, and they would never say it to my face.
Never.
I can guarantee you that.
Never.
But they just love to hate. That's the world, unfortunately, I feel like that we live in today.
Right.
It's just, everything needs to be controversial. I just don't get why.
Yep.
But that's
bro.
the reality. And so for me, I don't really look at it, that much. It's tough because, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who get affected by that stuff. Look, I tried to handle it as best I could. I tried to handle it like a pro, a guy who's been in the sport for a hell of a long time.
Yep.
And that's all I can do. I try to make my family proud, make our sponsors proud. And that's the extent of what I can control. If a fan wants to like it or love it, then great. If they want to hate me, then, then they say, I would just say, if they want to, then they actually don't know me as a person. But that's
absolutely.
That's their choice.
Well, I will say I was standing kind of next to the gaggle as you got out of the car right there at the end of Gasoline Alley. You go through, you do all the interviews, you don't refuse any interviews, you get in your golf cart with your wife to head back to the garage after one of the worst moments in your career. You see a dad holding a little boy, and they're both wearing your jersey.
He had a 15 shirt on.
And you stop and sign autographs for him. I thought that was amazing.
Because, the thing is, like, I was there once, and I know that people think, oh, yeah, you're Bobby's son, so you were there in a different group. No, I literally, all the time, I would stand by the by the fence, and I remember being here as a little kid, and I was so excited to get Stefan Johansson's autograph. Like, I remember like it was yesterday. And that affects you, I don't care who you are. But it also affects you if you don't do it. If you don't sign that autograph, the great Robb Yount, who happens to be a very close family friend of ours. Classic. But if you're a baseball fan, he did this thing, and it's gone viral a couple of times. But where he talked about the reason in his era that you played baseball and you played every single night and you gave it everything that you had was because there are how many people in the stands every night that's their one game a year they've saved up to go and watch you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, not to talk bad about something, but I've seen it here. I came here once when LeBron was with the Miami Heat and they were playing and he had a rest night.
Yeah.
And you know how many
load management.
You know how many LeBron jerseys were in the stands?
Yeah.
And there he is in a sport coat sipping a Pepsi on the sideline.
Yeah.
That's hard for people to accept.
Yeah.
And you certainly, for me, I want to be the guy that when you get out of the car, whether it's good or bad, you got to carry yourself with class. You've got to be good to these kids because they will remember.
One of my
Absolutely.
most prized possessions to this day is a ticket that your dad signed for me. I was the biggest Bobby Ray Hall fan as a kid. And he brought it home to me, and I still have it. It meant the world to me as a 6-year-old.
That's awesome.
That's the thing. You don't forget.
Yeah.
Never.
Absolutely
particularly the bad experiences.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Well, I can tell you, I'm the newest member of the Ray Hall fan club. So if any of these fans have trouble, send them to Solomon.
And Drew's huge.
We'll take care of them. Yeah.
All right, Graham Ray Hall, thanks so much for joining us, and best of luck Sunday.
Thank you.
Go get them.
Colton Herta joins us. It's great to see you. We're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Look at that fresh face.
Yeah.
And he's talking to these 3 old guys.
Wait a minute.
Well,
yeah, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay, it's great seeing you.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
What do you think about the race this year? How are you going to win it?
I'm going to have to pass a lot of cars, that's for sure. It's kind of starting a little deep in the pack, but it's going to be a tough one. They added downforce compared to last year, so that'll add a little bit of a different dynamic. I would imagine the leaders will get a little bit less fuel mileage because of that, which could make it tougher for them and actually easier for me coming from the back, but we'll have to wait and see.
How much of the technical stuff do you have to take in? Is there a lot of stuff you can just tell the engineer, say, hey, do this, or do you have to know everything now?
I think it depends. It depends on what you're really talking about. Obviously, setup wise, the engineer kind of leads that front. But during the race, there is constant communication of both ways, giving suggestions on what we think the right thing to do is. They obviously see a lot more than I see inside the car, but my job is I can tell them the fuel numbers I'm getting. I can tell them if I can go faster, if I can slow it down a little bit, what I'm feeling from the car to make adjustments, and then we'll kind of make our best guess at what we should do.
Can you talk at all times, or are there times where it's so hairy you've got to shut up for a while?
Like in the corners, it's difficult to hold the wheel, right? Just because you're very comfortable holding it in that position, and then once you have to move your fingers around in the corner, it's a little too difficult. But yeah, down the straights, as long as somebody else isn't talking, you're good.
Yeah. How many people are allowed to talk to you?
Probably 3, the 2 spotters, and then 1 person on the stand.
Your dad doesn't have override if he's not. Can he can't get in there?
He doesn't have a.
He doesn't have
the red button.
Speaking of your dad, though, he moved off of your pit box over to Kyle's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't seem to be your choice or your dad's. It may have come from somewhere else. How's that transition been?
It's been smoother than what I thought. Obviously, we race car drivers talk very differently, between ourselves and how we act on the radio and how we explain things. We'll use different vocabulary. So it's it's sometimes hard for people to just jump right in and understand what we're actually trying to say or what we mean. But Scott's done a great job at that and understands it fully. So that was the one worry about switching that I had, but it's been seamless.
Was it for the benefit of Kyle and getting the experience from your dad, or was it maybe the freshness between you and your dad that they were trying to calm down a little bit?
It's not question for me.
Okay.
Well, I just, from an actor's point of view, I mean, I do think, I hope you get back together for that scene where it's like, you're down and it's the last lap and he's like, son, remember when you were 12 and we were on that, and then bully or whatever the secret word is, and then you go and then you win and it's great.
And I wasn't home. Now, didn't you do some special present? I've been told to ask you about this one.
I did. I was fortunate enough. His birthday was 23rd, so 2 days ago. I was fortunate enough to find his 1998 car that he got his first win in, an Indy car.
Where'd you find it?
Online. A guy in Houston had it. So I got it and I gave it to him for his birthday.
Yeah, that is a present. Cool. How are we supposed to compete with that?
Yeah, no kidding.
Sorry, Dad. I will never get you a present that cool. Ever.
Father's Day. Lucky my dad's dead.
Holy smokes. Wow.
Oh, well, Colton, it's always a great pleasure. You're looking great.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Feeling good?
I feel good. Feel ready to go.
Night before the race, you sleeping here?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to, unless you want to get up at 3 in the morning to drive in and miss all the crazies.
Any kind of food rituals?
I don't have like anything that I do that's particularly the same every time, or I have to do. I don't have any special socks or underwear.
Do you drink coffee or not? Or do you?
I don't drink coffee.
Do you have to be careful about caffeine before you?
I've never really.
Yeah, it makes you pee.
I don't think it's too bad. I stopped drinking it because I couldn't wake up without it.
Yeah.
So I got to the point where I was like, okay, I don't want to not be able to have coffee. And
I think as a Cali boy, you need to do the double-double. Eat a double-double right before you get in.
Right?
Yeah, I think that would be perfect.
They're coming to Nashville.
Oh, is that true?
That's
big news. You don't understand. It's a California thing.
Yeah, what? Everyone's moving to Nashville?
That's also a California thing.
I thought they were moving to Austin.
Not anymore. It's Nashville now.
Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, thanks so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Always appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for your time. We are joined by Conor Daly, another guy who's a central Indiana guy, Noblesville, USA.
Noble Tucky.
And where do you technically live now?
I live right downtown Indy, so I'm. It's close to the airport, close to the racetrack. So those are the only two places that matter to me in my life right now.
Now we like to end with this question, but I want to start with it. I think it's a good one. It comes from Mr. Drew Powell. Drew is a distinguished actor in some ways.
Yes.
And right now he's acting employed.
Exactly. I'll be cutting Tom's grass later as well.
Ask Mr. Daly what.
Okay, if you could have anyone play you in a movie, why would it be me?
Man,
that's not the question.
Oh wait, no, sorry. Sorry. Who would it be?
Say you got some girth on me. I don't know if that really fits well.
Squeeze it in.
I got asked this question earlier today, actually.
Damn it! I thought it was the only one.
Since I heard that this is a rumor, but that old Vinny Diesel might come to the race this weekend.
Oh.
And let me tell you, I'm a big Fast and the Furious fan, so if I'm not bald, but if Vin Diesel can play me, that'd be pretty sweet. But I had someone one time say that I look like Matt Damon, so. Matt Damon seems to be he needs to be rescued a lot.
I feel like that.
But I maybe Matt Damon.
Yeah, that's actually fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. Absolutely.
There are stats on everything about you guys.
Uh-oh.
I wonder, is there a stat about blue eyes versus brown eyes?
Oh,
because so far today it's mostly blue eyes.
That's absolutely right.
Someone should get
Except
that research
Takuma.
done.
Because I mean, they research everything else. And this is so irrelevant, it might be fun.
It may not be irrelevant, though. I mean, blue eyes, you traditionally see better, but light affects you differently.
Oh, now we're talking.
So there could be something to it.
Do we all have blue eyes on this table?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say blue eyes are superior species.
I mean,
elite
based on this table.
Athletes, exactly.
Now, as an actor, Drew,
yes, sir.
Do you have a resume that says height, weight, eye color, is all that stuff?
You're not allowed to talk about weight, Tom. No, you really aren't. That was the thing. Like that's a big deal.
Did Orson Welles put that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Somebody said I should play Orson Welles. Wait a minute. But I will tell you that I lost a role in what's the movie with Tom Hanks when but Captain Phillips, because they wanted me for the role, and then they decided I was too tall because the guy needed to be shorter than Tom Hanks. So I know. It still hurts me.
So why can't you put your weight down?
I think it's offensive? Offensive, yeah. Look at Tom asking me, why would that be offensive?
So offensive, yeah.
I mean, grow up. They're making a movie.
I know. Look, I don't care, but I'm just saying, like, that is the one thing that you can, when you do a slate on a self-tape, which is what all auditions are now, you say your name and your height and where you're based, and that's it.
That's it? Okay. Now,
Connor Daly, 110, Noblesville, Indiana.
110 centimeters or what? I thought we weren't putting weight.
We're not putting that.
Are you Are you in the group that has to add weight to the car, or are you? Where do you fall?
I'm one of the bigger drivers. Yeah, I've never been trying to put on weight, I'll say. So I've struggled with that for years. But there's still no one heavier than Graham Rahal in this series, so that's all that matters.
Do you have to? I know a lot of guys work out at a specific place.
Pit Fit.
Yeah, I'm not a pit fit guy, but I'm up on the north side in Carmel at Dugan Sports Performance. I have a trainer there, Jeff Richter, who I've worked with literally for the last 8-9 years or so.
You work out with Ed?
Yeah, Ed and I train together every morning. Ed Carpenter, my boss. Jack Harvey's there as well. Pato, Felix. A lot of guys there. So it's kind of like basically you're either at one or the other.
Does your trainer count like mine? One.
No.
One.
Evil.
Hey, come on. 2.
Evil.
Hey, let's get to 8. Come on.
Evil.
Yeah. Connor Daly is our guest, and this is, kind of a home track for you. Does that matter?
Couldn't get more home track than this. Honestly, this is where I grew up. This is where I spent the most time every year in May. You obviously know my family here. Sure. Everyone's been here for forever. My dad, my mom, my stepdad now too. Obviously has a pretty important role here as well. So I just love this place, and if I could, every day I get to spend here. It doesn't matter if we're playing golf or during the winter. You just happen to be out here for an event. It's just the greatest place ever.
Yeah. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway. When you walk, if you've never been here, it's overwhelming.
Oh, man.
It's so much bigger than you can imagine.
Yeah.
What do they say? 6 stadiums would fit in here or something?
I saw a stat. Tell me if this is true. Did you see the thing that was going around yesterday that said this weekend or this Sunday, 1 in every 1,000 people in the United States will be in, and it's a picture of the track.
Yeah. It's a complete assault on the senses.
Yes.
Like every one of them. Visually, the smell, the trough.
The
in
sound.
the men's room, everything. You're at a third world country one moment, and then the lap of luxury the next. It's amazing.
Connor, obviously, Mr. Penske has taken over the track. It's done an amazing job. Is there any effect on the drivers that all this new stuff has on you, or are you still doing the same thing?
Well, honestly, the only thing that all the drivers got really upset about was not being able to use scooters. There was a big row, almost a fist fight.
Oh my gosh.
Over the fact that they, I guess the Penske group told us that we can't use scooters anymore.
Man.
So that was one thing. But honestly, everything else has been really, really cool here. Roger's done a great job. The place looks immaculate. It's such a high-level facility, if not the highest level facility in the world. And you can tell because, we're on the verge of selling this thing out. I think it will sell out by Sunday. So, that's huge. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's literally it's just it literally makes every other event look like a one of those 8 a.m. pregame shows. Like it's nothing comparable. Even the Super Bowl.
And how many people is that? If it sells out, it's.
I think it's over like 263,000 permanent seats.
They're always kind of.
I think your stepdad said 350 was the 16
Well,
number. It was like, what was it, 260 or 80,000
the
permanents?
The sellout is technically the seats, right? So sell out all the permanent seats, but then there's also like 100,000 GA. So that's how they get past the 350 number and get up in that region.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Wow.
How many laps have you led here?
40 last year.
Do you know the total number?
It's I don't know. I think it's like 50-ish.
Okay.
Or like around there.
And
maybe like 49.
I would, even the year, Kanaan always gets a big ovation, whatever.
Yeah.
But, the last couple of years as you leading, like I'm sure you can't audibly hear it, but it's an eruption like Peyton Manning threw a touchdown.
Absolutely. It really is.
Bonkers in every corner.
You can't hear it at all?
No, I wish, but
it's unbelievable.
We're focused on a few other things at the moment, but it's.
How many people are talking to you?
Well, we got 2 spotters, and then our the guy who's calling our race in the pit lane. So it's either way. Looking back at the videos, because obviously the TV broadcast tweets out videos during the race, so I see them afterwards, many hours afterwards. And it's brought a tear to my eye many times, because it does mean a lot. It's cool to see. Even the IMS radio broadcast, I heard it this morning because I did an interview, and they played what they were saying when I took the lead last year, and it's just, or 2 years ago, and it's awesome. This place means the most to me, and just having success, like doing it's awesome, but when you start to feel success here, and when you start to feel that you're getting closer and closer to winning, that's what makes you want to do it even more.
I was in the pagoda when you were in the middle of that 40 laps.
How the hell did you get in there?
Well, I'm an actor. I pretend to be important. Yeah, exactly. And Doug was there, and I ran into him, and he was about as nervous of a fella as I've ever seen. Like,
Doug Bowles,
stepdad, and then it was just, but it really was like the whole place was so behind you, and it's because you're a good dude. It's, not just being a local guy. You're a good dude, as far as I know, anyway. And I think you need to win this thing.
That's the goal. That is why we show up on Sundays.
Okay. Last question: any particular day of show, if you will, prep? Anything you don't do? No coffee? What you light breakfast? No breakfast? What?
Well, the race is too early to have lunch, so you just have a bit of a breakfast and maybe a little snack before the race. But there's no real crazy tradition. I like going over the snake pit every morning. That's something that I've done.
Awesome.
As a bit of a tradition to see what's going on over there. The Schroeder production group, Chris Schroeder and Ashley Brown over there, who put the stage up and do all the production over there, they're great friends of mine, and they're awesome people, and they do a great job putting that on every year. So I like going over there. And it's like about a 15, 20-minute window, 25 minutes. I want to meet Shaq. That would be cool.
Oh, is he performing?
He's performing.
Is he
over
legit?
there.
Is he like
DJ Diesel, baby?
Have you seen him before? Is he legit at all? Or is it the name?
I assume it's awesome.
Yeah.
I assume he puts on a great show because after many years of being an elite athlete, I'm sure he knows how to party. So it's that's kind of what I like to do, and I enjoy it, and just enjoying it with my family and friends.
Yeah, all right. Conor Daly, thanks,
All right.
Conor.
Thank you guys.
Give my best to your dad. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
My name is Chris Spangle. We are here with Drew Powell, and we are talking to David Malukas, who is the driver of the number 18 Dale Coyne racing car. Tell us about your month of May so far.
It's been unexpected, exciting. Kind of what we expected, but not really. We were expecting to come in to unload with a bit of a quicker car. Looking at Dale Coyne's history, the car we had last year. And unfortunately, this season it's been a bit of a struggle. We unloaded and we're like, oh, we got work to do, and we managed to find somewhat of a race car. Qualifying came, very tough day, probably the most stressful day in my racing career. We were struggling to, not get bumped, not struggling to try to make it out of the last chance. But thankfully, towards the end of the day, perseverance, a little bit of hope, we managed to put everything together and actually qualify 23rd, which we were just jumping. We were like, if you see that our team, we looked like we won pole. Like we were more excited than the McLaren team actually getting pole. We were like, yeah, like jumping through the roof. So
small victories.
Yeah, when you're sitting there watching those cars go out and you say it's stressful, like what could you, for those of us who've never been in that position, what would you liken that to, like that feeling of just watching other cars and you're just sitting there just waiting on your future?
Yeah, I mean, the way qualifying day works, we have the one run. So, you come in with that run, and we were right on the precipice of being in the last chance, which was from 30th onwards. And so we were always in that bubble zone is what they call it. And you always have to wait on the other people that are in last chance to go and do their laps. And because they are in last chance, they can go in lane 1. And lane 1 obviously deletes your time, but since they're in last chance anyways, it doesn't matter. You might as well just delete it and just keep going. So you're just kind of watching the board, and then as soon as they hit it, now you go in lane 1 and try to go again. And because you're trying to push the limit of the car so much, everything's on edge. So as a driver, you're out there, and it's not an easy 4 laps. You are playing with the car at 240 miles an hour going sideways, and it is the most stressful 4 laps you can possibly do. And obviously from Honda's side, you're pushing the engine as much as you can, so you have to be on top of engine maps, on top of changes. So there's a lot going on for those 4 laps, and although it's only 4 laps, it is probably the longest 4 laps I've ever done. It feels like forever, but yeah, it's that's there's so much going on, and that's kind of why it's very stressful.
You know, Drew, he has blue eyes too.
Hey,
And
this is going on Tom's theory.
You look, so Tom, the host of the show, we've realized today, talking to the drivers, that 80% of you guys, the 3 that you missed, all had blue eyes too. So what do you think? There's some sort of working theory? Maybe there's a driving gene that's...
Maybe you have blue eyes. It equals good drive. I mean, Jody, what color eyes? You have blue eyes? Green? Oh,
No,
okay.
she can never, not going to be a driver, I don't think.
That's crazy. So, wow.
It's one of those things where I thought Tom was being Tom, and like, okay, bro. But then everybody kept coming.
Yeah.
With the exception of like the Brazilians and the Mexican guys and the Japanese, like everybody else has blue eyes. So like now I'm like, wait a minute, we're gonna have to call Bill Nye the science guy. Figure it out.
Bill Nye, that was my childhood, man. That's awesome. No, I'm actually gonna use that. If I ever see like a baby or something, I'll be, oh, blue eyes, he's gonna be a racer.
Yes, indeed.
Grab that other mic for me. There's something wrong with your
Chickity check, microphone checker.
There we go.
Yep.
All right. I knew if you weren't popping through that other mic that it wasn't working.
You probably catch me on your mic with this voice.
Exactly. Now, I hope this isn't an offensive question, but were you homeschooled?
I was, yes.
Okay. How did that help your racing career? Because I would imagine with that freedom, you got to do all kinds of fun things while still being educated.
Of course. I did homeschooling when I went to Europe. So I was still in go-karting at the time, but I was doing many European series. So I actually lived in England at the time.
Wow.
So it was easier to count the days I was out than in school. And so I was going to get like kicked out of the school anyways. They're like, you're never here.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, it's time to go to homeschooling. I need to be on the go all the time. And it helped a lot. Of course, it also helped with discipline, with the homeschooling that I did. It was kind of just like, here's a whole semester, do when you want.
Yeah.
It's your own consequences. Obviously, for me, I was like, sweet, not going to do that. Let's go race.
Do you know any math at all?
I mean, well, now I'm not in school anymore. So it's like, now that's kind of faded away. If you would ask me a few years ago, yeah, probably.
Yeah. Where did you live in England?
I lived in Leeds most of my time, in Grimsby, which I heard doesn't have the greatest reputation. I thought it was very beautiful.
Nice.
But Leeds and, of course, a little bit in London as well.
That's great, yeah.
But no, I had a great time. I actually came back with a bit of an accent from England.
That's great.
My mom's like, what? What did you just
happened?
say?
Yeah.
It's like when you watch Bluey too long.
Yeah.
Well,
Showsize.
my wife is English, and so it's funny. Early on, my son would start like he was so confused. Like some things he would say like her, and some things like me. It does get in you.
Yeah.
That's fun,
But,
though, man.
No, it was really good. And homeschooling, it definitely helped me disciplinary-wise to make sure I'm independent and not having a teacher tell me when things are due. But then again, also getting educated on the go. So
we interviewed
a
lot of other drivers and asked them if they went to the principal, and all of them said yes, and it was for missing school.
Oh yeah,
right.
I had one. It was me and every teacher that I had in my grade, and the principal and the vice principal, and they put me in a room. And immediately, for a kid, I was in middle school. I opened that door. I just busted out crying. I was like, oh! And I was like, no. And they're just like, yeah, you're never here and everything. I'm like, okay, please. I
just want to race.
yeah, exactly. So, but no, and then we went to homeschooling and everything.
It worked out for you.
It worked out. It's amazing, and I love the homeschooling.
Which number is this for you, Indy 500?
This is my second. It's only my second one. I'm 21.
How does it feel the second? Like the first time, I got to imagine it's so overwhelming. We were talking to Rossi, who won it his first time, and he's like, I still can't quite compute that. But is it now the second time? Does it feel a little bit more like, okay, I kind of understand what's going on?
Leading up to the race, yeah. I mean, now I kind of know how the schedule is, what to expect, how qualifying, everything works. But I do think on race day I'm still going to be absolutely mind blown. I think I talked to Newgarden last season. When we were doing the driver intros, we walked down Gasoline Alley and all got on the stage. Steve Aoki just and so I talked to Newgarden. I'm like, does this feeling ever get old? Like, do you get used to it? And he just told me, he's like, never. The feeling that you get for this race, it's always special.
Yeah.
And whatever you're feeling right now, you're going to feel all the time. And I was like, well, I'm pooping my pants. So I guess I'm going to feel it every single time.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I guess Sunday we'll wait and see, and most likely we'll probably be pooping my pants.
I'm gonna have a little Febreze in my pocket if I see it. We'll hit you up. It's all good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's always like a famous question. Have you ever pooped in the race car?
I've not pooped. Got very close to peeing, but the thing is, if you have to really pee, it's only when it's like a long yellow flag. So obviously, when you're driving, you're racing. That is not in your mind. You are so just focused on
shut down.
But as soon as you go yellow and you're relaxing, and now you're like, and then you hit a bump and it's like, oh, you get close. But I did one time. It was so bad. I was like, I can't. I got to do it. And I let go, but I couldn't let go. I couldn't. I couldn't do it. So I was like, okay, I will. Actually, it just sucks, but I can't let go, so I'm just going to sit there.
Yeah,
and then the race went green, and again, you forget about it.
Have you ever finished and you're just like, I've got to do a million interviews, but I really have to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, no, because I immediately just tell Jody, I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom ASAP, like right now.
Good PR person's worth $1 million in racing.
Oh, amazing! She knows, like she already has all the locations ready, closest bathroom. We got this one.
Skills.
If you want to go another minute longer, you could get a really nice bathroom over there. Like she's got it all planned out for me.
That's great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
She's like the Yelp of bathrooms at race courses all over the world.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
That's great.
Is there something that you do that kind of drives your team crazy, where they're just like, please stop doing this? Is it tweeting?
I mean, the team doesn't really get affected by any social media stuff. I don't know if there's anything that they
There's
kind
not
of
like you get out of the car and you always leave something, and they're
there
like,
is. So like, let's say for month of May, it's a perfect example because there's so much practicing. There's a lot of downtime when the team's making changes, and I actually always wear my mouthpiece in, like the little for the drinking of the water.
Yeah.
Because I like to put it's in a perfect position. If I take it out and put it back in, it's gonna be all messed up. So I always just leave it in, and if I like scratch it, it makes this funny noise, and on the radio, like on the intercom, it's like just so everybody's working on the car. Engineers are talking to each other like, so I think we should go on the spring and lift this up, and I'm just over here just like and they found it funny at first, but I do it all the time, and now I'm pretty sure it's driving them nuts. And one of the times they actually told me, they're like, okay, David, can you stop that? So then I just said like yes, but in the noise. So if anything, it'd probably be that noise.
I love
so
that.
You are a fairly prolific tweeter. You're very connected on social media, and that seems to be kind of a new thing with the younger generation of drivers. Sort of the generation, maybe Helio, Scott Dixon's. Let's just stay off of this and let the PR people handle it. Why do you feel that's a valuable tool, and what do you get out of really engaging with the fans on social media?
I personally, from my side, I just love it. I love communicating with the fans. A lot of good memes. I just find it funny, and when you communicate with the memes, you kind of, it's like being a part of a different community, and then I can leech off of them. We can share memes and stuff, and I'm active on everything: Discord, Reddit, Twitter. I'm in group chats, of like fans, and then I join it, and they're like, "Oh, it's David and Lucas, no way!" And I'm just like, "What's up?" Like, and I just message them, and actually all the like drama and rumors, everything, I actually learned from them.
Really?
Like, they are so on it. Like, they're everything. So I go
Is it true, or are they just sort of...
No, it's like a lot of it is true. Like, they're on it. They're on top of things. So for me, it's great. Like, my knowledge of IndyCar and behind the scenes goes through the roof because of them. They're like, well, I saw in this picture, I zoomed in, and then I saw in this document that, this guy's going here. And I'm like, whoa,
only
that's
in
insane.
The building going on over
yeah, it's like, it's crazy.
Do you ever go the next weekend and like take those rumors to other drivers to find out if it's true?
Oh, yeah, I go straight to them. I'm like, I have from a very reliable source
at IndyCar fan 123.
Yeah,
said.
And they're like, "How do you know that?" And I'm just like, "Oh, so it's true." But no, it's great. And
Rick Beers 32 told me that you're
Rick Beers.
But I think it's really important to communicate and connect with the fans. I mean, they're the ones that make all this racing, everything's so special here. And when they come to the track, we can communicate. Hey, I was part of this group chat. We share this, and it just gives really great connections. And I feel like I'm making a bunch of friends and families. It's very cool, and I love it. So yeah, I mean, we're just gonna leave it at that.
Keep it going. I'm gonna follow you now, bro. I'm gonna hit you up on the socials, bro.
Yeah, if you want some Gen Z memes,
let's go from Gen X to Gen Z. We got this thing covered.
You can find me.
Now, as an actor, we've been asking this to all of the drivers so far today. Who plays you in a movie, if you get to choose?
Oh, Cillian Murphy. I love him. He's what a good actor.
Answer.
Peaky Blinders, incredible. He's playing in the new Oppenheimer as well.
Yeah.
That's going to be really good. He was also in Inception, another just classic film.
Yeah, he was a
Christopher
Scarecrow.
Nolan. I can't believe I was always wanting Cillian to get like a main role for a movie, like him to be the main actor. He's finally going to get it in Oppenheimer with Christopher Nolan, my favorite director.
Yep.
I love films, I love movies, and I love him, and it's going to be so
That's
good.
great. Could you also do that for me? Because clearly it worked for him. I'd really appreciate if you could give me a lead in a Chris Nolan film. He's top of my list. So if you could work on that, that'd be
Okay,
great.
yeah.
Just tweet him.
Well,
It'll
these
be fine.
kids, he'll be hack it into his Twitter account. And
I know.
he'll
You
get
just
you
figure it
covered.
out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, Lil Dave Malukas, the number 18. You're doing great this month, and we're very excited for you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Go get him, kid.
Thank you.
Gosh, it's unbelievable.
It is.
Wait till he hears what I'm going to say. Are we going here?
Here we go.
Okay, this is unbelievable. I've noticed the weirdest thing. Felix Rosenqvist is our guest. He's so fast, I'm surprised I can see him.
Yeah.
We've noticed something really weird. There's all kinds of statistics about IndyCar, and who knows. But I've just noticed almost all you guys have blue eyes.
Really?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Vast majority.
The vast majority.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge, and so do you.
Yeah.
And when we ask you the question about what actor is going to play you, this eliminates 90% of Hollywood.
But I luckily have blue eyes, so I'm available. I feel like you and I, yeah, we got the beard.
You should talk to some of the team owners about that.
Yeah, we should.
I got the eyes.
Yeah.
What else do you
Well,
want?
we got to ask that question then. We'll lead off with it. Then, so who plays you in the movie? Maybe my buddy Alexander Skarsgård. He's got that kind of,
He'll be good. Bradley
Cooper. Yeah.
No, I was thinking Brad Pitt.
Oh, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Of course. That's a good choice too.
He's a really good driver. Don't say anything weird.
Okay. Too late.
Great month so far. It's unbelievable. You got to be thrilled.
Yeah, try not to be too thrilled yet.
Smart,
dude. It's an endurance game, and I feel like qualifying tricks you a little bit. Like, it's so different from the race that you don't want to. I don't think the qualifying result is really relevant. It gives you a better opportunity, and I think my starting position specifically is great. Like, being in third is pretty much where you want to hang. But you never know what happens in the race. There will be different strategies. There will be, some cars going off, some cars rockets. You don't truly know what it's going to be like to race day. But I feel like we've done everything we can, what we can control to be in that position. And you just got to be ready for anything, man.
Yeah. No, you speak English really well.
Thank you.
Do you dream in English or Swedish?
Dude, actually, I do sometimes. It's kind of weird because I've been gone for pretty much my whole life. Like, I've been traveling outside of Sweden since I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And I moved from Sweden when I was like early 20s. So actually, yeah, sometimes I do, which is crazy.
No, I don't know how much thinking you can do while you're driving that fast. Is a lot of it, I assume, is just instinct. Do you think in English because you have to communicate to your guys?
Yeah, I feel like racing has always been in English for me. Like, because the racing language is all, the setup terms, the track terms, like pit lane, ride heights, arrow. Like, I don't even know what those words are in Swedish. Like, it all comes from English.
I'm not suggesting that there are any times in your career you've had to curse. Do you ever curse out anybody in Swedish so they don't know what you're doing?
You should. If
Me
you
and my
haven't.
girlfriend definitely talk a bit of extra.
Yeah, that's good.
Behind
I love that.
people's
I love that.
backs, I think.
I
So when you're
love
like in
that.
airport, you exit a plane and someone is just like dragging in that little corridor.
Yeah.
And they're like
Yes.
walking right in the middle. You're like,
What do we say? Say it to me in Swedish.
Like, kom igen nu för helvete, öka lite.
I'm not sure what that was, but if the FCC is listening in Swedish,
apologies.
Felix Rosenqvist is our guest, and he is
That's Felix, baby.
Where do you live most of the time now?
Carmel, Indy.
Hey, local boy.
Yeah,
Carmel guy.
I think I passed you in a roundabout.
Yeah, very likely.
He's a greyhound now.
I feel like I spend most of my days in roundabouts.
I had to live up there for a few months recently. It's a long story. I came to love the roundabout.
Yeah,
I love the roundabout.
You can get anywhere.
Yeah.
You can. And if you really feel sporty one day, you can just send it.
And I have learned something about the roundabout. If you see someone that gets on the roundabout and you think, oh, they're going to have to get off here because they started over there. No. There are people sometimes that go all the way around.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I almost crashed doing that.
Oh, yeah.
So in Sweden, you actually have to blink when you leave. And so when you enter and you want to go left, like you have to blink left. And then
You're
you have to blink.
supposed to in Carmel. There is
you are?
they really. I don't live in Carmel, but I did see there was a how-to that they put out.
Okay.
And as you exit the roundabout, you are supposed to use your
Blink out of
right
it.
hand blink on the way out of the roundabout. Yeah,
That's
and
how they
that's
do it in
supposed to be a
England.
guessing game of like, am I
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
turn?
whoa,
It would be very helpful. Because so many times you're like, oh, this guy's definitely exiting, and you go out and you're like, ooh, it's a close one.
Okay, what's your favorite restaurant? I'll let
Good
you
question.
talk next.
No, that's fine.
What's your favorite
It's your
restaurant
show.
in Carmel?
Roma. Have you been there? Italian.
Wait, where is that?
Downtown.
Downtown
They
Roma.
moved. They had another location that was like on Range Line, and now it's downtown. It's
How about in
incredible.
Carmel? You
Yeah,
ever get Bob's Burgers?
I've been there.
They're very good.
Yeah,
They're
they're
very
That's a
good.
good spot.
They're very good. Any other suggestions for quality food? For those
Been to
watching?
Monterey.
Can you get some?
Monterey is good.
I love Monterey.
Yeah,
That
it's
might be
always
my-
packed.
It's
though.
always packed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
can
Savor
you-
and Monterey are kind of my.
Where can you get
Saber's
lutefisk?
I think you can buy it on IKEA.
Do you guys know what this is?
All
This
I
is
heard-
rotting fish. Okay.
All I heard was fisting. I think it's a bus. It's a bus station thing.
It's gross.
God bless him.
Felix Rosenqvist having a great month, and wow, this has got to be incredibly exciting. And
Do
you got a great team.
Do you still communicate with Kenny Brock?
So actually, I've only met Kenny once.
Okay.
So Marcus and him used to work together back in the day. I think he was Marcus' manager.
Okay.
But I've only met him once. My first 500, I met him here. But he was my childhood hero.
Yeah, maybe that's the story I'd heard. You stayed
Yeah.
up with your dad watching kart races and IndyCar races.
Yeah, I was like 8 years old,
yeah.
and it would be like way too late for my bedtime, and we would watch Kenny on some bumpy track and somewhere in the Midwest.
Yeah.
It's like, that was my introduction to racing, and it would be kind of a full circle moment getting the 500 at some point, but like being, that was kind of the thing that attracted me to it. So
Did he have a band?
He was in
He
a band.
did,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was in a band. Yeah.
Do you play anything?
I used to play the drums. It's a long time ago.
Nice.
I can still kind of jam a little bit.
So do you think we could get a driver band together?
Well,
You
Colton,
got drums?
no, everybody plays the drums though.
Oh, that's right.
that's
Too
the
many
problem.
drummers.
Will plays the
It's a
drums.
drum line.
I mean, I don't know. They
The
could do,
Indy 500 drum
Could
line.
you get like Stomp or something?
Yeah, exactly.
But Will Power and
If you want
and
people
Colton.
to leave
Yeah.
the track for quickly.
Yeah,
The
with
drivers
the drum
are not
line.
playing drums.
So who do you think would sing the best?
Ooh, that's
I mean,
a
Will
good
Power was
question.
that he did an okay job. He was singing the national anthems. Will Power.
I mean, he knew the words. I don't know. I don't know. His singing was that great. I mean, let's not go too far. I don't know. I got to believe one of the Brazilians would be a good singer. You know,
Not Marcus for sure. He's terrible.
Is he?
Dude, his voice can break walls.
I bet you Elio can carry a tune.
He can sing.
Yeah, that's
Probably.
great.
He's got great confidence.
I love it. What number is this for you? 8500?
Fifth. Yeah.
Does it feel different anyway?
Yes.
Yes.
Very different.
Yeah.
Dude, when I came in the first time, I had no idea what I was doing. I crashed the second day of practice, and
Oh
it was
my
just an
gosh.
uphill battle from there. But now I feel like I'm getting the hang of this.
I
man.
guess so.
Yeah.
Can you feel
P3?
the difference? Like what? I guess what's the incremental speed where you know you're going crazy fast? Like at 220, it's one thing. 25 is one thing. 30, when you're hitting the the speed trap and going into 3 at 240. Like where are you feeling that speed? And at what speed is it that's kind of mind blowing?
I think at 240 is kind of the magic number you're looking for. When you're going that fast, it's just you can just feel it, like in the tires,
In your
the
butt,
car,
I
in your
imagine.
butt, like,
'Cause I would be clenched. I would be
Yeah.
clenched, Tom.
but you don't really think about it too much, I guess, when you're driving. It's more when you crash.
Yeah.
Then you know the speed very well.
Do you have any tattoos?
I do not.
Yeah, I've discovered today also.
Blue-eyed,
besides the blue eyes,
no tattoos.
Very
That's-
few.
that's the typical
TK
Indy
has
driver.
the big
Yep.
sleeve.
I mean, I could, but my dad would probably kill me.
If you were to win the Indianapolis 500, the 107th running, would you get like a Borg
Borg
Warner?
Warner right on the inside of the
Borg
forearm.
Warner.
Yeah, there you go.
No.
Checkered flag?
That's okay. Definitive.
That's all right.
It's not happening.
Okay. No,
He's going to get it's the Swedish chef right above his heart.
Oh,
Think about that.
That would be way cooler.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
You know,
Thank you.
speaking of the sweet, like, are you and Marcus paying the Swedish mafia that's at every track with their flags and dancing around?
Yeah, they're
like
just
those guys
employees.
are crazy. They're just
They're just
employees of you guys.
employees, yeah.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
They do that in every sport, though. Swedes travel, man. Swedes travel.
Yeah, they
No,
do.
I've asked a couple guys this. Are you a skier?
I am.
Oh no, I'm really rooting for you. Have you skied in the States yet?
I've only been to Whistler.
That's in Canada.
Yeah.
But no, nothing in the States.
Paley
I really want to
Peaks.
go to. I want to go to Jackson Hole.
Oh,
That's serious.
Yeah. I used to compete. I was actually skiing and racing at the same time for quite a long time.
Now,
Really?
Do you know the name of a Indy 500 winner that was a really, really good skier?
No.
You must know this. From Vail, Colorado.
Oh, Buddy
Lazier.
They own a resort.
Yes, a very nice one. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I think that's. I bet you they can get you a room there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we can get you hooked up.
I know Mr. Penske skis in
Does he?
in Utah.
God bless him.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I'm not
Looks
sure.
beautiful.
I don't know if Roger is anymore. But yeah, his family skis in Utah.
Oh, man.
Which is great snow, nice and dry.
I like the skiing. I hate the falling.
Yeah, Felix appreciates the fact that this is the worst interview he's ever had.
He's loving it. He's loving it.
They've asked him nothing interesting. Asked him if he speaks his own language and can he sing the national anthem of Sweden.
You're the only ones who ask me stuff that I don't talk about the whole
Good.
month.
See, good. That's the best thing you could tell us. Absolutely. How fast can you drive?
How does it feel?
How does it feel?
Do you have a dog?
No dogs, man.
I was hoping to say I have a dog named Kenny Breck.
Kenny Bark.
Kenny Bark's even better. That is great. Have we asked him the key question yet?
We did, because we started off with that one. I was saying Skarsgård. He went with Brad Pitt.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, everybody wants to be. I mean, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, pretty good.
It's easy.
It's an easy one.
Make you look good.
Pretty good. I want one of these drivers to say Larry David. That would be funny. That would be funny.
Now, do you get to pick your helmet design?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's on yours?
This year, I actually have a ski resort on it.
What?
Yeah, where I grew up skiing.
Really?
Yeah, it's on the helmet, man.
You knew what to ask.
Is my Vail pass good there?
No, it's
My Epic pass?
So that ski resort, I think the altitude is like 600 feet.
600?
Yeah, it's not very.
I was going to say, because I'm.
That's like Paoli Peaks.
Anything above 11,000, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm too old. I can't sleep or breathe.
There's probably a higher hill here in Indy than where I
now
grew up
that's saying
skiing.
something.
But it's
Now,
a
are
hill.
you? This is a stupid question, as they all have been.
Yep.
With your particular contract, are you allowed to ski or drive a motorcycle, or do you have to?
I'm allowed everything except skydiving.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No kidding.
I don't know why,
Wow.
but that's.
I
the
know
only
why.
thing in there.
Gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta believe that's probably safer than
I
skiing.
mean, by the numbers, I got to think skydiving's safer.
Yeah.
I think too.
I mean,
Yeah.
And my
you
life,
only hear about it once.
My
or twice
life
a year.
insurance, I can't do anything anymore. I can't scuba dive. I'm allowed to ski.
He can't drive
I probably
over
shouldn't
55.
say that out loud.
Yeah.
Like riding a bike on the Monon is for sure more dangerous than skydiving.
That's
I love
true.
the local knowledge from my Swedish friend. Let's go.
All right.
I love it.
Awesome.
When you first came over here, did people ask you about your name? Felix, the only Felixes around this country are Felix Unger from The Odd Couple and Felix the Cat.
Yeah, true.
Felix the cat,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot.
Yes.
So
They never give you Felix Unger?
No,
rather?
no.
Oh, the genius, the play, The Odd Couple, the movie. You should watch it. Remember Felix?
Oh, yeah. I do. That's Tony Randall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great name. You don't hear it
Just
much.
watched his eyes just glaze over.
No, I think it's. I'm trying to insult him, and
And I've succeeded.
I have succeeded. Hey, Felix, what a great pleasure. Thanks for talking.
Oh, thank
to
you.
us.
Thank
Go
you.
win it, buddy.
Oh yeah,
Go win it. Then we party with the Swedes after.
I'll be the guy with two white dogs walking on the Monon.
This is interesting. So this one we never
Yeah.
do back home. Like we don't
No?
do that part.
No.
So I always miss out
So
on
give me
it.
the Swedish
So
version.
just like that.
That's better. That's
Yeah.
better.
I do kind of a
That's my
low
fault.
5. I have a bad arm. Okay, thank you.
Do it.
Oh, then you get
There
that. I
you
like the good
up.
clap.
Our guest, technically a Kiwi,
Technically.
Scott McLaughlin is
Yep.
here with us from Team Penske.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it having me on.
Now, I was asking this of one of your fellow drivers. Mr. Penske's done an amazing job, obviously, at the Speedway, taking a great thing and made it just even greater. And he's also, I guess, that he's become kind of a disinterested third party when it comes to his own team.
Yeah.
He can't give you guys any favoritism, and so he's not uninterested, but he's disinterested.
Oh, he's interested. Don't worry. He's get dragged to the show a few times.
He may have a good lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is, do you guys get any perks? And my particular one is parking. Does Team Penske get we're like 40 feet over from everybody else?
No. One thing that's really handy now, knowing the owner of the Speedway, is we kind of get to pick where our driver lot is a little bit each year. So
there you go.
I've actually moved to the other side of the driver lot because there used to be like these trees, or there is some of these trees on the other side. You get all the sap over your motorhome, and I was like, nah, I don't want to borrow that. So I went across the other side, and I got a nice little backyard and everything out of the back. So I'm learning the ropes.
Nice.
We were talking about some of the drivers being a little OCD.
Oh yeah.
Do you have that a little bit? Because I mean, you've got to be so focused.
Yeah.
And have everything in its place.
No, I'm not that crazy. I know there's a lot of people out there that are OCD. I'm probably the furthest one from it. I'm not messy by any chance, but I'm also just a little bit more. I'm organised in terms of my schedule and stuff. I like having that sorted, but from a bottles and the logos have got to be right. I'm nowhere near that.
Now we're doing an independent survey.
Mm-hmm.
We have no basis for this, but
Love that.
I can say definitively.
Yeah.
More than half the drivers have blue eyes.
Oh, more than 3/4.
I think everyone except for I think 2 we've had today.
Yep.
This is, of course, totally insignificant, which is why I noticed it.
And you're be fast.
Yeah, well, there's something to it, I think.
Isn't that weird?
It totally is.
It is
I never
weird.
would have noticed it until you brought it up.
I don't look into my competitors' eyes enough.
Brown eyes.
Maybe it's time to start.
You take them right down.
Now, so do all of you guys get to, and lady, get to pick your helmet? Is that part of the typical deal? Or?
Yeah, so are you talking about the brand or the paint?
No, the paint.
Yeah, the paint is up to us. I mean, the one that I run for this race is actually a throwback to Rick Mears's yellow submarine helmet. So it's a very simple design, but it's historic, and I love this helmet. But then my other designs throughout the year, like that's the only thing that we don't get to pick at Penske is the color. The color is actually color coded to our car. So our sponsor, and it looks good normally. Like you have a blue car, you have a blue helmet. You have a red car, you have a red helmet. But ultimately you have the same base design, which is that's your DNA.
Do you get to speak with Mr. Penske much?
Yeah, I do. Yep. Yeah. Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Are you allowed to call him Roger? I'm afraid to.
I do, and I started calling him Mr. Penske when I very first met him. When I signed my contract, I actually came here in 2016 and signed my contract for Australia, and I said Mr. Penske, and he said no, it's Roger now. He just
nice.
So
you're like, I've arrived.
Yeah. So he's a super person. Like I know he's my boss, but he's just incredible. Like what he's done in business and then in motorsport itself, and then to have a guy like that as a mentor is pretty awesome. But he can definitely. You don't want to be on the bad side of him either. You can get into trouble pretty easily.
How about the great Rick Mears?
I love Rick. He's a guy that I lean on a ton. He's always in the garage, especially here at the Speedway. He's been a huge help with me in the last 3 years, learning the ropes of the Indianapolis 500, and we banter back and forth about bits and pieces. I mean, before qualifying the other day, I was really, really anxious and nervous, and he was one guy sort of calmed me down. He's like, well, you're nervous, but imagine what everyone else is like who's not in a Penske car or whatever, So, and I was like, that probably makes sense.
Yeah. Tell me about the Thirsty Threes. I know Ben Bretzman, he's a buddy of mine, and seems like you guys got a pretty good thing going.
It's crazy. The fans have really caught on to it too, because they're like, they yell out Thirsty Threes to the guys when they roll down the car down Gasoline Alley. It's awesome. It's something that we, everyone gets around.
Do you ever bring in an Aussie beer?
Yeah.
Or Steinlager.
I've got this nice beer. It's called Stone and Wood. That's my favourite beer. It's Pacific Ale. It's an Australian beer.
Yeah.
But very popular in Australia. But I have that in my bus.
Is it better than Cooper's? Because that's my favorite.
Oh, you like Cooper's?
Yeah,
no, I don't know.
Not so much.
No, I don't like Cooper's.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
You'd make a lot of people in Australia happy, but I don't like them. I don't like it too much.
All right. So we've determined what? No tattoos?
No tats for me. No.
So
my wife has a sleeve though. Wow. But I don't have it. I don't have a tat. No.
If you win the Indianapolis 500 on this, the 107th running, is there going to be maybe a Borg Warner tattoo?
I don't know. Maybe.
Does anybody do that? TK has Borg Warner, right?
Does he?
Yeah.
I probably have something where no one could see if I got a tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah. Tattoo.
Maybe on my butt.
You beat me to it. Damn it.
Is there a Penske rule against visible tattoos?
No, I've just never been one for.
I guess Paul Tracy had them.
Yeah.
So, we got the flyby.
Oh yeah.
Are they rehearsing the flyby?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's cool.
It's over here. Yeah. You missed it.
Australians, all let us rejoice.
Hey, wrong anthem.
Sorry.
I'm a Kiwi.
I don't know that one. Can you give me a little key?
God of nations at the feet. Yeah, there we go.
That was good.
Yeah, that's the beginning.
So it has no melody.
Yeah. It has a melody, but I have no idea.
Yeah,
what it is.
that's great. I love it.
But,
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
New Zealand is one of the most beautiful places in the world. It truly is. It's Middle Earth. If you haven't been,
it is.
Are you? If you go there, are you well known?
Yeah.
How many famous Kiwis are there? I mean,
There's
Scott Dixon.
Scott Dixon.
Between you and Scott Dixon, I mean, obviously you had the supercar championships and all that. That was a huge deal on that part of the country.
Yeah.
But between you and Dixon, like, who would get recognized first?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, egotistical me would say me, but no. I think the difference between me and Dixie is he's a legend, but I did a lot of my racing down under, and I grew up down under with with my racing. So people sort of saw me on TV screens over there a lot more. But he's well recognised within the motorsport ranks for sure. I reckon if you went to a track, Dixon would get recognised straight away, really quickly. But probably walking around, maybe a little bit more just from people seeing me on TV from supercars and stuff.
Well, Dixie is in the Air New Zealand preamble before you sit down. So now we got to get you now in the Air New Zealand. You said they have these famous people from New Zealand, and Dixon's one. Welcome to New Zealand, and please fashion just the belt.
Yeah. That was not bad.
Thank you.
Thank you. Not bad, yeah.
I'm an actor.
Yeah.
What is the best accent you do, Drew?
American.
From Lebanon, Indiana. Hey, get over here, and we're going to get some beers and sit in the creek, all right?
And dip a little bit.
Pass me that skull, boy.
Now, do they ever ask you in these movies to smoke cigarettes?
Oh, yeah, and they give me the fake ones, which are worse than the real ones. The fake ones are awful.
Now,
really?
Yeah.
This is a yes or no question. I don't want you to throw anybody under the bus. Mm-hmm. Are there any drivers that still smoke?
Yes.
Okay. No names. No names.
Yeah.
I've smoked with them myself.
Yeah. I was referring to tobacco.
Just because I'm from California doesn't mean I smoke the wacky tobacco.
I actually asked Roger the other day during the Marlboro days, did he smoke? And he said he didn't smoke at all, which is incredible.
That is pretty hard to believe.
He wasn't. I thought, being those, sponsored by Marlboro or whatever, you'd be like, well, what the hell? So,
Rick Mears smoked. I can remember.
Did he really?
Yeah,
I actually didn't ask him about that. Yeah, that's interesting.
I remember seeing him with a cigarette. So yeah, he's an amazing guy.
Yeah,
that's a good guy to have in your corner.
He's an awesome.
How much has changed? I mean, it's so interesting that he can still help you, even though it's got to be vastly different. But at the same time, there's so much stuff that's the same 25 years down the road or whatever.
Well, this track it's so unique to any other we go to, and the experience level here, whether you're Dixon or TK, you've immediately got an advantage on some guys, especially like myself. If you are Dixon or TK, so I really lean on Rick for the track knowledge more so than anything.
Sure.
Like the line and where I put the car and what to expect with this wind or whatever. It's just because he's done millions of laps around here and fast laps too. He's an incredible guy. He's cornered into our garage because every time he walks outside, he's just swarmed like a celebrity. He's a guru and someone I'm lucky to call a friend now.
That's great.
Well, okay. Last question.
Well, last question. What does it feel like to be a TV star? I mean, that 100 Days of Indy, especially that first episode, man. It was so great because you were so authentic. But was that weird? Like, are people noticing? Are you getting phone calls from friends and family and people?
Not so much. But I had a lot more fans coming up to me and talking about the 33s and we're still doing Taco
Tuesday,
and all
Taco
that
Friday,
Taco Friday. Actually, we're going to do that tomorrow night.
I'll be right over.
Yeah. So it's. I think it's been awesome for the sport, man. Like just to have that exposure, and it'll just get bigger and bigger. I think, and people realize how cool this event is. Not only for how cool the racing is, but I think the characters behind the sport as well, whether it's myself, whether it's Josef, whether it's Simon Pagenaud, whether it's anyone that's in that range. Like we have so many cool characters. Pato, for instance, is such an electric personality that we're very lucky to have in the sport, and hopefully we can grow with.
The whole with your wife and her family and all that. I felt that was such a cool moment and to be a fly on the wall and be able to watch that. Like everybody wants the behind the scenes and that's what they're asking for. And the way they packaged all that together was awesome. And I felt like it came off really, really good for for you and the family.
No, I appreciate that. Like we've got a really cool, we've got a really cool group, and my father-in-law drives my bus, and mum-in-law's always there, and it's for me, like I said in the show, like it's awesome to have a family here, but not only here, but in New Zealand as well with my mum and dad. So it's awesome, and the having him drive the bus around has been
cool.
really handy.
That's cool.
It saves my pocket a lot.
Yeah,
too.
All right. Well, thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Wait. Do we say who plays you in a movie?
No.
We're asking everybody that.
We need someone like real good, right?
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. I thought you might go with a New Zealand actor, but I think Taika Waititi could play you.
Jason Momoa might be a little bit too
Momoa.
hard.
I like it. Good choice.
Cheers.
Nice job, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, good stuff.
My name is Chris Spangle here with Drew Powell for the Bob and Tom Show. We're talking to Takuma Sato, who is car number 11, starting in the middle of row 3. He is from Tokyo, Japan. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Tell us about your month so far.
Well, it's been an amazing journey, to be honest. As everybody else too, that so excited, of course, in the month of May. But not only for that, this is for me. It's a limited program this year. It's been a season now for the last 13 season, but this year representing for the Chip Ganassi Racing on number 11 car for the oval, which means this is my only second race, for now. But talking about the environment, Chip Ganassi Racing is obviously been the leading team for entire years, and particularly for the recent years in 500, it's very, very strong. So it's been a really good practice so far every day, and qualifying for me, it was a little bit bitter and sweet. Wanted to be a little bit higher, but Alex, my teammate, showed the number 10 car was on pole. So we have a speed, and we have a very strong package, and the environment is just fantastic.
Now, you're a 2-time winner of the Indianapolis 500. When you go back to Japan, what is the reaction in Japan and your reputation in your home country?
Well, they love it.
But they do.
I mean, specifically for the motor racing, of course. The fans, whoever knows about the car racing, they obviously knows it. And for the housewives and all the things, if you go to the 100% Japan, maybe there is a certain area that nothing know about the motor racing, but still, when we achieved such a winning in 2017 and 20, the news is all over the place for the evening show and the morning show in the entire country. So it was a magnificent.
Are you able to walk down the street? Do they mob you?
No.
You can admit it.
Anywhere, no problem.
Is there a difference in winning your first and your second in terms of your personal reaction to it?
I think it's a yes and no. I think it's both wins. You just can't compare it. Obviously the winning is a superb, the memories and nothing like it. But of course, you could say the first one has got just a significant impact because it's just the first win for the 500. It's just unbelievable. We made history too, that. And particularly for the 350,000 people, which was battling around the magnitude and the impact of the energy that this venue had was just nothing like it. Yeah. Now, of course, 2020 was a difficult year for everyone else.
Yep. There were no fans at that race, right?
Exactly. So we didn't have any spectator. So it was a 0. So if you look at the whole 360, it was just a grey grandstand. Whoa. But knowing that millions of people were cheering through the TV safely at the backyard of your house. Yeah. So I think it was tough to say, when we won, obviously the whole team, it was just such a special feeling, but we didn't get the buzz from the 350,000 people surrounded. But again, we were so grateful we were able to do the race. We have to thank to the Roger Penske's and all the IndyCar things and all sponsors to understand and made it happen. That was so special.
Yeah. True. Well, I've got 2 questions. One, what is it like? As you mentioned this before, what is it? How have you tried to mentally prepare yourself for just the ovals? Is it hard to kind of gear up? Do you have to do anything different? This being your first year.
It's not an easy for sure. But by now I have got enough experience to how to handle it too. That you don't get the rhythm, don't get the momentum for the previous races and stuff like that. Also, especially I moved the new team. Yep. So every member, the staff and the engineers, is just kind of unknown, right? So you have to build a great relationship, which we are today. However, I'm still catching up to my teammates and stuff like that. But it's challenge, great challenge.
But are you more physically fresh because you haven't had the grind of the season, or is that not a problem?
Again, yes and no. If you have got injuries, I think a time off is a great time, because if you continuously every 2 weeks, every week you jump in the car, which is really difficult to heal the injury. Right. But other than that, physical training, it's harder because the best training is actually in the car.
Right.
Because we pulled every single corner of Indianapolis Motor Speedways by 4.5 G, every single corner, 200 laps.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did it at Pagenaud with Mario in the seat, and
right.
we only made it to 180, but I felt like I was going to fly out of the car on every turn. It's intense.
It's isometric, you know. So obviously it's not like the bigger the football player to running, dashing the field, and you can clearly see you the energy.
Yeah.
Where we are sitting in the car, how could you burn the energy?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
We're burning about the 5 pounds of the body weight, you know, for the one single race. So you have to train really hard and mentally, physically prepare for it.
Yeah.
Yes, we do I have a time for it, so I think I'm ready for 100%.
Yeah, good for you.
Takuma Sato, what's your favorite childhood memory?
Well, childhood memory, I think it's still something to do with the racing because I love the cars and mud racing, things like that, since when I was recognized the things and let's say 2.5 years old. But I never had a chance because my parents had no idea for the racing. So I remember back in really 1987, you know, it's a really long time ago. Yeah. But I was a 10 years old boy and we went to the Suzuka in Japan, which was a Japanese Grand Prix in a Formula One race, the first ever in a current configuration. And that was just an unbelievable day. For me, just unforgettable. I still remember the feeling when sounds and the smells and just to be there for all the 5 senses. I still clearly remember that.
Yeah, that's great. As an actor, I always got to ask this. I'm asking this question to everybody. Who plays you in a movie?
Wow, the movies.
Yeah.
Well, I like Denzel Washington.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see the similarities. Yes. Absolutely. I mean, I'd be willing to. I'm just if it's an option. I'm just saying.
All right, Takuma Sato, driver of the Deloitte number 11. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. Go get it. Deutschland über alles.
I don't know any of the words, but I just like the melody.
I assume that was written like 1946.
God Bless America would almost make more sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it's like a little bit more about America than just a war that's ending.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, a little easier to.
That's also hard to sing, but it's a better tune.
Yeah.
You a singer?
I mean, yeah, among other things, but yeah, I love it. And I saw one of my first shows was in Australia. We were in Daylesford, Australia. You ever been there?
Where?
Hepburn Springs, Daylesford, like outside of Melbourne, up in up in the mountains up there.
The boonies.
Yeah, and I fell in love with this Australia. It's an incredible country. A lot of history.
Have you done the national anthem in the USA?
Yeah, for the Indians actually.
Do you start low?
Oh yeah. You got to be able to get to the.
Because Rockets Red Flag.
Hey, somebody's got it. Okay.
Are you
Australians, oh let us rejoice. We are young and free.
Golden soil and wealth to toil. Home is girt by sea.
Kangaroos, koalas, and
tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down, catch a wallaby. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down.
Another terrible interview. You're welcome.
He's a good sport, this guy.
Haven't started yet. Our guest is a very fine driver. He is Will Power. And for some reason, I don't know why Will and Drew were singing various national anthems, but that's okay.
We're cultured.
We were talking about Will earlier. I was somewhat surprised that Will is not familiar with the song Lady Willpower.
I am now.
I introduced him to it.
First one's like for years. That's years ago. I've been aware of that song for about a decade.
Yeah, that's because we played it for you. These guys had never heard it.
I've never heard that song.
Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. Lady
Never heard of Gary Puckett either.
Yeah, I mean,
Puck.
Kirby Puckett's brother.
Yeah, that's right.
After the lawsuit, they stopped playing it. So.
Now, there's names are interesting, and there's a guy named Stingray.
Yeah.
That's driving, and then your name also means something else. Willpower. Was that deliberately done by your folks for a reason?
No. Well, I was named after my great grandfather, William Stephen Power, and I think they called him Willpower. But I wish my name was William now. I really do, because it's very confusing for people, the whole willpower thing. So I would change my name. If I did it over again, I'd just
maybe Billy Power.
William down. William Power.
William Power.
Great to have you back in Indianapolis, and looking forward, of course, to the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500. You got to be super psyched. What's going through your head right now?
sort of electricity and stuff.
I noticed you blowing your nose for 5 minutes. I thought you were going to answer mucus.
Yeah, I was going. Yeah, that would have been a much funnier. That would have been better. No, what's going through my head? I mean, it's an ultra competitive field. A lot of guys capable of winning. You know, I think it'll be a day of who makes the least amount of mistakes. You know, on pit lane, out on the track. You don't get many chances of mistakes on the track. A mistake on the track is generally a pretty nasty crash, but I feel good. I haven't felt like I've had a race car like this for a long time here, so I feel very comfortable.
You also seem to do a pretty good job of coming back from either mistakes or bad luck. Like, you have seems like a knack for that.
I have recently, yeah.
What do you chalk that up to? Just being a damn good driver?
It's, experience, man.
Yeah.
I mean, not to lose your mind when something goes wrong. Like, you still got to try and get the most out of the day. So if you have a mistake, you got to just head down, not get mad about it, and just move on.
Lessons for life, right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. And I mean, anyone in their 40s knows that. Like,
that's the truth.
You just naturally become that because life is never perfect. It just simply is not, and you just learn. Once you learn that, you're so much happier.
It's amazing how that's.
You feel better. You're just like, oh shit, of course it's going to go wrong.
Of course.
Now, where do you live most of the time?
In Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah. Do you get back to Australia much?
Not very often. Maybe once a year. Maybe. Yeah.
Are you well known there?
Probably not that well known. Like, not known like some of. Yeah, I wouldn't say so. I don't know actually, but I don't think so, because they don't. When we used to race there on the Gold Coast, there was a lot of media around it, but not these days. Not really.
Will there be some Australian media here?
I don't know. Well, I think there might be, but I don't know actually. I don't do much Australian stuff. I'm actually an American citizen now.
Oh, really?
Never lived back there.
Hold on.
I really like this country. I do. I believe it is the best country in the world for opportunity in anything, in sport, in business. Like, you can seriously, if something works here, just because of the population,
sure,
and, the way this country is. I mean, you think about Australia, it's 25 million people, and over here, what's it, 300 million? So, if you make something work here, it'll work. You got
really,
a great career, a lot of stuff.
It's interesting that's what when I did a movie and a couple movies. In fact, one time I got stuck with John Cena and 11 other people in the highest building in an elevator in the highest building in Brisbane, that big one right on the river, and they had to hand crank us down for 45 minutes. And you can imagine me and John Cena alone. That would be 11 other. We were done.
Did they ask you to go first?
What did you say to him?
Yeah, well, we were working on a movie called The Marine, so we had just finished our day, and we were like, all right, let's get out of here. And then it was like, uh-oh, that's not going. But we could, anyway, Brizzy. We love Brizzy. Yeah, Brizzy. But,
it's pretty cool.
I agree. And since we're on the American Forces Network, going all out over the world, and they'll appreciate you saying that, I think. Yeah.
Now, another blue-eyed
yes.
guy.
Your dominant species
by
right
far.
now.
We were noticing this is the one stat they don't have here at the Speedway. There are almost, I think, except for like 3 people we've interviewed today, they're all blue-eyed guys like you.
That's strange.
What's that about?
That's a stat.
I'm going to call Bill Nye.
That's a stat we have to know.
Guy.
Now, the one thing, speaking of the way you look, we were asking you if not to imply that it's not
bad.
Great. I mean, you're a very handsome man. You could play John F. Kennedy.
Oh,
look at that. Oh, absolutely.
John F. Kennedy.
Yeah, you look a lot like him.
You got to really?
Yes, look at that.
That's the last guy
maybe
Bob said that.
So the question is, what actor would play you if they were doing the Will Power story?
I'm available.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anymore. A lot of people used to say you look like Tom Cruise.
I can see that. Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
But
that's a good one. He'll do his own stunts.
Yeah.
Think he could do 230?
I'd like to get into acting.
Yeah,
so
I can see it. Let's
up?
go.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
I would do it.
100 Days to Indy episode that was featured, or you were part of that feature. By far the best of the episodes that has come out. But like your kind of raw emotion and you with Liz and all of that was amazing. What was it like to have a camera follow you and
good question.
Be part of that process to put that show out? Because it was, I will say, hands down the best episode they've released to date.
Yeah, you know what? It was pretty natural. I didn't. I'm used to having cameras around, but I didn't was just myself. I kind of forgot about them when they were there and just went about what I normally do. It was. They made it look great.
Yeah.
You never know. Like, I mean, they get so much content.
That's amazing.
It's just crazy that they can edit that in a couple of weeks or a week. And put that all together like that.
And I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm biased, I guess, but I think it's way better than the F1 series on Netflix, which is huge, and it's like brought so many people to that sport.
Oh, man.
But I think that's so staged, and it feels so like, and they're making that a TV show. Whereas I know for a fact, that the stuff that they're showing is just the real stuff that happens every week.
Yeah, here, like, IndyCar has a lot of characters, a lot of accessibility, and it's a much more competitive sport, not because the drivers are better or anything, just because of parity. Everyone has the same stuff. So anyone can win. It'd be like Formula One just having everyone in Red Bull cars.
Yeah.
And it'd be way more interesting.
Totally.
Way more interesting because you know one guy is not going to win every race, just simply not possible. So I think IndyCar can do really well with this show.
Yeah.
The rawness of the show, I think, in the fact that they like pick a couple people and follow them, as opposed to Formula One, which is mass amount of film, and then you get to the end of the year and you're like, what story can we put together? Like, you're targeting a race and and a couple people, and I think it brings out raw emotion and even the family side of it. The Graham Rahal thing, he couldn't have been more relatable when he gets up and talking about his back hurting, he's old, he's never had abs. I'm like, yep. I'll sign up. I know exactly how that feels.
I mean, man, that's the stuff they're getting because they haven't got a year to edit that. I mean, it's just we got to get this together. Like. Yeah,
when they got Scotty apologizing to Romain.
Oh, I know. I was just like,
awesome.
dude, why don't you punch him?
We need ratings. We need ratings.
Why didn't he punch you? One or the other.
Yeah.
Somebody punch someone.
Like, his apology was too strong. It's like, and he even said it. Yeah, it's too, I'm scared of the guy. He said, I'm just scared of him. He's trying to get me back on the track.
Pato's not apologizing.
No, that's
for him.
Now, your brother's a comedian, right?
Yes, he is, yeah.
Is he well known in Australia?
I think he is now, yeah.
That's awesome.
Does he ever talk about you?
He does. There's a good one There's a good one he did years ago on YouTube. It's pretty funny.
Oh, I gotta check.
How do we find this?
I'll give it to you after.
Google. Yeah.
All right.
His stuff he did with IndyCar when he came over. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
He did that a long time
ago. Was that a while
ago? That was like.
And they were doing. You guys were sitting on the tires,
9 years
and
ago.
they had people coming in, and the little skits he did there for. That was awesome. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
I can imagine growing up the Power Boys because you're naturally
just fighting,
dry, funny guy. Matter of fact, I forget who we were asking. Said who's the funniest of the drivers, and you came up. So you got a reputation. So
growing up in my house.
Two of you cutting up.
Three brothers.
Oh, three brothers.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. We were always joking around, fighting and hitting, and all the stuff you do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have a great race, Will Power. Thanks for the time. I know how busy you are. Looking great. We can predict a blue-eyed winner.
Blue-eyed winner.
The way things are going.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We gotta do
Good luck, brother.
Yeah,
Go get him, man. Go get him.
We are joined. I'm saying with a French accent. What am I doing? We are joined by Simon Pagenaud, and then who's actually a pretty good friend of Drew's.
One of my good buddies. Bonjour. He's going to play me in the movie.
I would. I wouldn't have the presence, though.
He said, by the way, if you're listening at home, he said presence, and he made a very large motion around the girth. Yeah, aura. But I got to tell you this, Tom, you'll appreciate this. You're always interested in the audition process. One time, Simon was in L.A., and he came to visit, and I had to put myself on tape for an audition. And so he read the lines, and it was actually for a big video game. And the person was not a normal, like an accent. So I was like, it's perfect. So Simon read the lines off camera. And
please tell me he got the gig.
And he got that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He didn't get the gig. I got it.
He was too good.
Simon Pagenaud is here in Indianapolis. You're familiar with this place. You've done very well here.
Yeah.
It's great to have you back. Do you still live in France, or are you?
No, I used to live here. I lived here 9 years in Indianapolis. Loved it. Really did. Then I signed with Tim Penske, and I had to move to Charlotte. And I stayed in Charlotte since. So I'm in Charlotte, but I come back here a lot. We have a lot of we have the Honda Simulator is here in Brownsburg, and I still have a lot of business going on here. So I come back a lot.
Oh, it's good to see you. Welcome, semi back home.
Yeah.
You guys were talking off the air about. You mentioned that Simon has a bunch of friends from his home in France that are expert chefs.
Yeah.
And tell me the story.
Yeah. Well, you tell me, because you met them in North Carolina, the Frenchies.
Frenchies, my buddies. Well, one is French, the other one's German. The other one's American, but they're a bunch of friends from Asheville, North Carolina. And Michel he owns a restaurant called Le Bouchon in Asheville, which is very famous there. And he does comfort French food. Anyways, we met in 2012 at Mid-Ohio. They were there with Borg Warner because they're friends with Turbo. It's his nickname, John Norton. And we met right after practice, and Michel said to me, "Why don't you come eat with us?" And I'm like, "Nah, not really." But then I did. So I went to the campsite, had dinner with them. We had frog's legs. We had snails. All the French stuff that you guys would never want to have, we had it, and it was fantastic.
But you told me you were there.
You started following. They followed him around. So they came out to Indy in 2016, or
they do Daytona, they do Indy,
they cooked like outside with a stove. I don't even know how they did it. Like one of the best meals I've ever had in my life, and it wasn't frog legs. It was like steak and chicken and potatoes and all of this stuff, and wine. Of course, it's French wine. Yeah.
They also do a broil. How do you say that? A broil. It's like a mix. A mix of like corn with shrimps. And lobsters.
Boil. Yeah.
What is this?
Boil.
Boil. Yeah, whatever it's called.
Yeah, boil. Yeah, that thing.
But you're very slender and fit.
Yeah, try.
You don't get to eat a lot of French food then.
I wish I could eat more of it for sure. I wouldn't fit in the car as well, but yes. I try to keep fit.
I brought him home. He has a favorite mustard, and we were overseas in France, and so I brought him home. What's the mustard?
Amora. Fine et forte.
Yeah. Yes.
It's very strong.
That sounded dirty. I'm not sure what that.
The spicy mustard.
What just happened? Yeah. Welcome back to Indianapolis. Of course, I know you want to win it. What's your plan?
My plan is to attack. My plan is. My car is very strong over the entire. A stint is basically the length of fuel, right? So it's 30 laps, basically, you do a stint. And my tires are really good all the way to lap 30. A lot of cars are struggling by lap 20. So I've noticed if I can start attacking really hard people at lap 20, then I can pass people. I don't have pure speed. Our car is just not, for some reason, it's just not super, super fast. But it's consistent. It doesn't degrade the tires. So I'm hoping for a really hot day where the chassis really starts showing compared to the others. And I'm just going to do my thing, be aggressive for 500 miles and try to go to the front.
You called your shot, and when you won it last time, you that
That's
confident?
True.
You that confident this year?
I am confident. Yeah, I wouldn't say. Obviously I'm not starting in the same spot. I'm in a very different situation. New team. It's only our second year together. It was Marishank Racing. We've made major improvement compared to last year, but everybody's improved. And every year everybody's improving as well. So despite that, we have big strength, and we're going to use it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Well, and I'll tell you what, if you go back and look, you see how consistent this guy is. I'm obviously biased, but the guy is very good. Yeah, well, I get a cut when you win. So really need you to win. One of my favorite memories, though, is sitting right over there where the Borg Warner was, and we took a picture. I'd driven from Chicago. I wasn't here for the race. I drove as fast as you did in the 500 to get here. Come in. I drive my mom's minivan, and we're driving the minivan into the paddock, and I run up here, and you're still at the end of like an hour and a half of like all of this stuff, and there you are, like sitting on a chair. I'll show you the picture in front of the Borg Warner, and we like hug, and then we take the picture, and it's still one of like the most pure like joy. You were like, I've never seen like happiness like that in my life. It was amazing.
It was definitely a special moment. As a kid, I was 4 years old, and I wanted to be a race car driver, but it's such a far-fetched dream, right? Every kid wants to be a race car driver at some point. And then you dream about being the fastest guy on earth because you're a kid, and the simple fact that you actually can get in the race is already a blessing, an honor, because not many people get to do that. But then winning it is another level. And then after you've won, being able to race it again, it's you get to appreciate things a lot more, and it's becoming for me my favorite race of the year, favorite event, but also my favorite game. I love to talk about the race as a game. It's a tactical. You have to be very strategic. It's a bit like a chess game.
Well, now we've been asking of everybody what actor would play them.
Yes.
Have you come to any conclusion when they do the Simon Pagenaud story?
Yeah.
You gotta, what do you think?
Okay, let's go. I love the idea of Sacha Baron Cohen
of course.
playing you
Of course.
with that French
I do too,
accent.
actually. I think that would be.
You know what we're
That would
talking
be
about
perfect.
from
Sure.
Talladega Nights?
Yeah,
that would be perfect.
That would be
Yeah.
perfect.
Who else would be good at it?
I'm trying to think of. I would like to think of a good French actor. We've already thrown out Gerard Depardieu. I don't think that's right. But
good Jean Dujardin. Do you know Jean Dujardin?
yes, from
He played in a black and white movie recently. What was the name of
yeah,
that
I know
movie?
what you're talking about.
Yeah. The meme, what's it called? I don't remember.
Jean Dujardin?
Jean Dujardin. He's actually, to start, he's a comedian, really funny. But he's becoming one of the top actors in France. And he plays a lot of roles in the US.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's sarcastic?
Yeah, we're going with that one.
All right. Okay, very good.
Why
Very
not?
good. Okay, very good. Well, it's always a great pleasure. I hope you do great. We'll be watching for you.
Yeah, how's Norman?
Norman's great. Actually, he's here.
This is
hesitated
his
to take
dog,
him
Norman
to media day
Pagenaud.
with me, but then I thought, I don't know if the new policies here at the Speedway will allow dog hair on the floor. So I wasn't too sure.
Spoken as someone who might know
You
what
know?
that's like to.
It'd be great to have a picture of a dog sticking his head out of an Indy car.
Absolutely.
With that look on their face, like, I'm driving.
Exactly.
But he's here. He's on site. The problem I have is every time I take him out, it's like being Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
People jump on you on the streets, and
He's
then
too famous.
He's too famous, man.
He's too
I
damn
can't go
famous.
anywhere. So,
This is the only interview where someone's going to present you with a environmentally correct dog poop bag.
You wouldn't believe.
Yes,
Oh, nice. Come on.
I give you right
Hold
back.
on, hold on.
We'll try
Somebody
They're
take a picture of
exchanging.
that.
They're
That
exchanging.
is great. That is too good. You both had doggy bags in
Doggy
your
bag in the
pockets.
bucket.
What is
Yeah,
going
I told you
on?
The policies at the Speedways are very strict.
Dog people. These are dogs. Okay. Simon Pagenaud. Thank you, Simon.
Go get him, brother. Love you, man.
You're gonna need to go, man.
Ryan Hunter-Reay joins us here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Great seeing you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Now, are you who's the tallest of all the drivers?
I would say Stefan Wilson is the tallest, and then next up would probably be Graham Rahal.
Yeah.
And then I'll fall in line somewhere right there, right behind that.
And we've been talking weight classes and
Weight,
and,
yeah.
and adding the ballast, et cetera, et cetera. Where
Right.
do you fall in that?
I'm like, I don't know, like fourth from. Same on the height chart, basically, right? I'm like fourth from heaviest, something like that. So
is that any kind of an advantage?
No, that's disadvantage. They've done a really good job mitigating that situation because it used to be where it was just the driver, whatever he weighs, whatever size he is, you go in there and there's no weight ballast. Now everybody has to ballast up to the heaviest driver. The problem is you have your body's bigger. It's a higher center of gravity in the car, right?
Yeah.
So,
right.
That your weight.
So they
weight
get to
mass is
experiment.
higher.
Do they get to experiment where they put the weight, like on a sailboat and ballast?
They have to put it in one designated area. Yep.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Is there any way to cheat? Does anybody like take off these four?
No, they're
bolts?
pretty tight on it.
Yeah,
I mean, you've heard stories of drivers like when they go to weigh in, like having lead underwear and stuff like that, and it's funny. Like I've heard some stories of guys getting caught, like all of a sudden a piece of a lead weight would fall out of their pocket and all this other stuff. So not something I want to get caught.
That's
When do they weigh you? Is it the beginning of the month, beginning of the season? Like what's the cutoff?
Every race they weigh you after practice on Friday. So for the Indy 500, it would be it was after the first practice day, which was Tuesday. It was Tuesday. Yeah, after the GP.
This is going to be a series of dumb questions.
Sure.
You don't have to give me the number, but who's the most famous person you have in your cell phone?
I don't know.
You?
I mean, it depends on who you're asking, right? Like and in the hockey world, Keith Yandel's a good buddy of mine, so everybody would know him.
Sure.
A lot. He'll be here for the race, actually.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't.
How about you? Who's the most? You got a bunch of famous friends.
Well, again, it depends who you ask.
Right.
You ask kids like my son's age, Millie Bobby Brown would be the biggest.
I have no idea who that is.
But yeah, no. Ask your kids. Ask your kids.
All they want is Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Ryan Tannehill's a good friend of mine.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There we go.
So
Yeah.
it just depends what kind of world you're.
Well, on that
in.
same note, I've been asked this to all the drivers: who plays you in the movie?
I think I would like that. What's his name from American Sniper?
Yeah.
He's
Cooper,
way
Bradley
cooler
Cooper.
than me, so that'd be cool. Maybe a
I could
step
totally
up.
see that.
Yeah, that's
that'd
actually
be cool.
a pretty good
It's a
call.
good call. Yeah, I could see the result.
He did a great job in that film.
He did.
Yeah.
Another possible Paul Newman, again, Mr. Newman.
Yeah, I could see the Newman too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Your strategy to win this baby, what's the plan?
Strategy to win is basically, aside from leading, there's so many variables that you have to get right in this race to win it, to even have a shot at winning it. The field is as tight as it's ever been. Tight meaning there's so many good cars.
Right.
Yeah.
Car-driver combinations that it's going to be hard to separate yourself from them. And you just have to methodically go about it and execute. I think if you do better on those things, on the pit laps, on the pit in, on the pit out, in the pit lane, the pit crew, the team has to execute, the driver has to execute, no errors. And then you're there at the fight. All you can ask for is to be at the fight at the end, the last 6 laps in a shootout. That's all you can ask for. Yeah. Just like when I did it with Helio. We had no idea who was going to win that race, even 200 yards from the start-finish line. I didn't even know. So it's, you just have to put yourself in that position and get to the front.
And this
just
is number, how many 500s? 15. Wow.
How many of those
15?
15 do you think you had? Like, it could have gone either way. Like you got the one against Helio, right? But there's got to be 2 or 3 others that you.
I knew in 2016 that I had the car to win as well. I had the same feeling I had in 14, and in 2016 Townsend Bell hit me in pit lane and took the front wing off.
That's why he's in the freaking booth.
And then see what you get. And then 2017 had the same feeling as well, and the engine expired prematurely.
Oh, last question. Any unusual foods you don't eat or eat the night before, the day of? Do you have coffee? Do you have to be careful?
No, I'm good with that. I just keep things simple and predictable, right? You're not like going to go out to have fiery Mexican food like the night before or something like that. You're just going to keep it. You're going to keep kind of in the straight and narrow on that.
How about keep your game face, your head clear? Anything special that you do?
No, I just need to have, on race day, there's so many people here.
Yeah.
Aside from the fans, friends, family.
Yep.
And they all kind of sound like Charlie Brown, the Charlie Brown voice,
Yeah.
And I just try and keep the blinders on. And I need some time to myself just to get things together, and it's really tough on the grid. Like there's no other sport where somebody's going to go into battle, is going to go into the biggest sporting event in their world, in their profession, and you're literally surrounded by people talking to you, like as you're getting
random
in the car.
people.
Hey, can I get a picture right before you get in the car?
It's so true.
It is a very unique situation that way. So you really just have to keep your focus.
Yeah, you should talk to my girl, because not listening is my specialty.
Very good at that.
He's really good at that.
I am like an expert.
Well,
I listen to the show every morning.
Exactly. He has no idea. No idea. He doesn't even know I'm here right now. But here's one thing I have to say. One of the coolest things that I've become friends with some drivers, so I got a little access. Right before the driver introductions, when you guys are in that room and it's you and just the family, so kids, wife, whatever, girlfriends. That is such an interesting moment to me because you can feel the energy, right?
You can definitely feel it
before you come out, but also that moment of like you're all in this together, even though you're competing against each other. It's such a unique spot. I can't think of another sport where they do that.
No, it is a very unique spot. You're right, and you could feel the energy in there. You could feel tension as well.
Yeah.
Like everybody's just balled up, ready to go. Just And then prior to driver intros, you're just kind of waiting, and that's the kind of the last moment that you have with your family. Prior to heading to the car and getting belted in. So you're right.
Special.
That is a unique moment for sure. Yeah.
Well,
love it.
Well, I guess one last of all the drivers, who's your closest friend of your fellow drivers? Do you have one that's a really good friend of yours?
I'm tight with quite a few, but Hinchcliffe.
Sure.
Obviously, he's in the booth now. See what you get.
See what you get.
And, You know,
stick them all up. Hunter's putting them all up there.
Yeah, Marco Andretti Graham, Ray Hall, and Alex.
And who's the funniest?
Hinch.
He is funny.
By far.
Put him in the booth.
Yeah, put him in the booth.
And then from there, I mean, Will Power's a friend of mine, you know, but he's funny. I mean, you wouldn't think he, you know.
He's very dry.
Very dry.
Yeah. Connor Daly's pretty funny.
Yeah?
Yeah, Connor's,
he thinks he's
Connor's
funny.
He's funny.
Connor's funny.
Dude, the Willpower had never heard the song Willpower. Didn't that classic Lady Willpower?
I'm looking at you like you looked at me on Millie Bobby Brown. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Is that a real song?
Gary, might be a dated reference.
I think
It's not
so.
dated. It's from Gary Puckett and the Union Gap.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
No
the-
idea. Yeah.
No idea.
Hey, the hell with you guys. That's enough. Ryan Hunter-Reay, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Go get him, kid.
Thank you.
Buddy.
Appreciate it.
We are here with Callum Ilott, who is in the number 77 for Junko's Hollinger Racing. Little bit of a struggle this month, but you're in the field solidly. That has to feel good.
Yeah, a little bit is an understatement, but no, it's been tough. It's been tough. You know, that's how it is sometimes. And unfortunately, we were the ones this year that had quite a big struggle and made a few changes to make it work, and we got in. But yeah, excited to be racing. Obviously, we've got a little bit more time with Carb Day coming up to fix, you know, any little issues we have, and yeah, should be a good race.
2 hours to me doesn't seem like a lot of time to practice.
Not enough.
So
Not
is
after the 2 weeks I've had.
Yeah.
So I need way more. But for the
I don't mean to
others-
offend you, but on the open test days, I was like, all right, I don't think he's gone out yet.
No, that was kind of the way it was all the way up until qualifying. Yeah, that's the way it was for us. Limited testing, we're very far behind some others, but again, that's life sometimes.
Yeah. Now, you were coming up the ranks. You finished second in Formula 2 in 2020 and did really well there with 3 wins and 5 pole positions. And then you switched over to IndyCar. What was your first experience in an oval, and was it anything like you expected?
First experience was in Texas, and
why do they? Lundgaard said that too. Why do they keep putting you guys in Texas as the first oval?
I think that's the way it works because of the schedule. To be honest, I don't know. It's a tough one, but also as a super speedway, it's I think quite a good one to get started in. Look, I don't know. Someone else makes the rules on that side. But yeah, I think my honest reaction coming in was, I don't know who came up with this idea, but they got some issues. And I think when everything was under 100 miles an hour or whatever, it was all good. But now it's super fast. I mean, I've learned to appreciate how finely tuned everything is and how difficult the racing can be. And especially here at IMS, it's very, very tough. It's a very tough track, very tough racing, and even tough to get the car in the window.
So when people say it's a tough track to race, what exactly does that mean for those of us who have never been in the car?
Anything from setting up the car, how you balance the car as a driver, and the driving style you need to play around with it. And then the next thing is even the racing. The racing can be very close and very competitive. Or it can be very, very distant, and to be able to make a move, you have to be on the edge and very daring. It can be anything, but here it's more about how finely tuned the cars need to be for the window for them to work in, and then, you know, watching qualifying, how on edge everyone is at 240 miles an hour. How close
you were
people
described as particularly brave in qualifications. What did other drivers mean by that?
I almost crashed 6 out of the 8 laps I did.
Oh, wow.
And I've got photographic evidence of how close I got to the wall on every lap of the first run, and then 2 of the 4 laps on the second run. And, you know, like the story for me was we changed chassis the previous day, and I got 2 runs in the morning on Saturday and then went straight into qualifying. And, you know, all the cars are so different. It doesn't matter how even if the baseline setup should work, you need to fine tune it with aeros and stuff. And the faster you go, the ride heights and all of that changes, and that changes how the car behaves. So, yeah, I think some people were very impressed by what we managed to do, what I managed to do in the qualifying. And yeah, I put on some of the craziest laps I've ever done on an oval.
Now, were you familiar with the Indy 500 when you were overseas? Did you come to the race before you were in it? This is what, your second year?
Yeah, second year. My first experience watching it was 2016 when Rossi won. And I'd heard of it, but I'd never watched it before that. And then, I kind of started to get an understanding of it. Obviously, when I was a little bit older, 2019 I was racing in Monaco. So at the same time we were racing, I was probably partying at the time the Indy 500 was going on. But yeah, you got a feeling for how big this race was, but you don't understand it until you come here.
Yeah, and what was that first experience like? Did you kind of underestimate it and kind of go, well, it's just another race, and then you experienced it and it was something different?
No, I never underestimated it. I was just like, I want to see what it's like, and then when you get that Kanaan at 6 a.m. waking you up, going, oh, what was that? And then obviously the noise and everything that follows it, it just creates a special day.
Yeah. Now, final question, if someone were going to play you in a movie about your life, who do you think would play you?
I mean, there's a good guy, Taron Egerton, I think that's his name. He played in Kingsman. You know the one.
Yeah. Alsman knows all this stuff. Yeah. Nicholas Hoult.
I would know the face, but I don't know. Okay, yeah.
No, you're talking to the wrong guy. Yeah.
Yes, I was thinking of the English style.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Callum Ilott. We really appreciate your time here on the Bob and Tom Show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We are here with Agustin Canapino, who drives the number 78 Juncos Hollinger racing car. I would have totally missed your story had it not been for the Drive to Indy CW series. And I was really impressed with, you're this accomplished race car driver, but you've never sat in an Indy car, and then you've come out this season and had a great season and a pretty good run here at Indy. I mean, what was the adjustment from the car that you'd driven previously to the Indy car? Like, how big of a jump was that for you?
Oh, it's a huge difference because I always drove a touring car in my country.
Right. Which, can you explain what a touring car is to the listeners?
It's like a stock car, like NASCAR, but in Argentina. So it's, of course, a little bit different. I never drive in an oval first time in Texas. This is my second race in an oval. And, of course, my first time in an open-wheel car. And IndyCar is the most demanding car in the world for the driver, for the physical condition. So imagine the change for me. So it's a lot. And I have to learn English too. I am learning English too. I never speak English in my life before. So
well, you're doing great. Better than if I spoke Spanish. And I've had 4 years of it.
Everything is totally different for me. I am enjoying a lot, of course, the process, but it's not easy, honestly. I have to work every day very hard to improve my physical condition, to learn about the car, the team, the series, and the language too.
So let's talk about the physical aspect. You are having to work out harder. Like, what is the physical demand in the car that is forcing you into that process?
It's the most demanding car in the world. So, and I don't say that. So they say the Formula One drivers come to the most important and most faster category in the world. And when they come to here to drive an IndyCar car, they say, wow, this is tough. I imagine you, for me, coming for a touring car, it's totally different, totally different. And I'm still improving. I still suffering a lot that condition, but I am much better now than the beginning. And anyway, I am in the process.
Now, you're from Argentina, and you were apparently, you won the Olimpia de Oro. Forgive me if I said that like an ugly American. In 2018 is the Argentine Sportsman of the Year, and only one other driver has won that. You're very accomplished in Argentina. Your sponsor is it the country of Argentina on your car?
Yes, now we have the livery of the national soccer team, the World Cup champions. We are doing that for them, and we are really proud because they are the world champions on the soccer World Cup. It's the first Argentinian driver. I am the first Argentinian driver since I think 83 years to do the Indy 500. And only one Argentina in the history could finish the race. So imagine what is the situation in my country, because Indy 500 is the most important race in the world.
Yeah, tell us about the Juncos Hollinger Racing Team. Your owner is Argentinian, correct?
Yes.
And left Argentina and started the racing team, started in Indy Lights, now Indy Next.
Yes.
Tell us about the Juncos Hollinger Racing Team.
It's a really big history from Ricardo. Ricardo comes on 2001 here to America and did a really incredible job to have now a really good team. Of course, it's the newest team. It's a small team too, but we are here doing battle to the best team, the top teams. It's incredible history. It's a long history, but it's amazing. He's a big example to how you can do everything in your life. And the legacy of the team is the power of possibility. And I think this is a perfect example from Ricardo.
All right, if you were to have a movie made about your life, who would star you? Who would play you in the movie?
Sorry?
What celebrity would be you in a movie?
And a movie?
Yeah,
like
movie
what?
star. Who would you want to play you?
No. It's a difficult question. I never think about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, Agustin Canapino, thank you so much for joining us here on the Bob and Tom Show.
Thank you very much.
All right. We are here with Christian Lundgaard. You are Rahal Letterman Lanigan racing driver. Unfortunately, starting back in the pack this year, can you talk about the experience of having to attend the last row party?
Once again.
Hold on. Why are we not?
Once again. Am I on now?
Now you're on.
There you go.
Once again attending the last row party?
Once again. I actually qualified 31st last year and qualified 31st this year.
Okay, that's not a good streak.
Well, at least I'm in it.
Yeah, that's
so,
true.
That's at least the positive of it. But no, obviously with Graham driving in the 24 car, we've been moved up to 30th. Still have to attend the last row party.
Yeah.
Which sucks. But now we got all four of us, so Graham will join us for that one. So that'll be fun, I think, tonight.
You really dominated in the GP here earlier in the month and then struggled at the Oval. What is the difference in the cars that would maybe cause something like that?
I mean, in terms of my performance, I don't really think that I struggled the whole month. We just haven't been fast.
Yeah.
As a team, we just haven't had the performance and the pace that we need and we should have with the resources that we have available. And I would kind of say, extremely disappointed in that.
Yeah.
Of course, but right now it's a learning curve, and having Stefano come in, understanding the aerodynamics of the car and the vehicle dynamics, we just struggled with pace, and it's been a tough learning curve for him as well, to be honest, because we've done a lot of aero testing on and off track, and just to understand which window the car needs to be in. And looking at the GP and even Barber, if you look at the performance we had last year at Barber compared to this year, or at least on my car, we were way more competitive this year. So I think the car is more pleasant to drive. It's nicer to drive. We just need to extract more pace out of it, quite honestly. And I think that has showed at the Oval. Last year I was not comfortable in the car at any part on any ovals we did. Texas this year was a little interesting, but here at the Speedway, I've blasted through all my qualifying runs, and I think I did 11 in total with high boost, and the car was nice to drive. We just weren't able to go faster. We were trimming, we were going back on downfalls, and we're just doing the same pace. So
you obviously grew up in Europe. Your goal was probably F1, and you were a road racer, correct? Had you ever done an oval before coming to IndyCar?
Never. I remember my first ever oval test was at Texas right after St. Pete last year.
Which, if listeners aren't familiar, Texas is a very difficult, wild ride.
So actually, I have a very good way of explaining this.
Okay.
So you will start with the European drivers that have raced at Monza.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, end of straight at Monza, just turn hard left.
Right.
That is turn one at the Speedway.
Okay.
But you'll still be going around 30, 35 kilometers an hour faster.
Right.
And then Texas has half the distance of the Speedway, but it's as fast.
Does it just feel like you're on
So
a
it's pretty crazy.
Loop-de-loop the whole time, like one of those carnival rides where you're just spinning in the spaceship?
No, I mean it is different compared to that. And it's the Speedway especially is a place that you just can't explain to people that haven't done it. And I mean I want people to try the two-seaters.
Yeah.
I mean I even want to experience it.
Really?
Yeah, like I know I've asked a few people if I can try it, not to drive it, but sit in the back.
What did they said?
No. So I'm a little disappointed.
How does that work? How did you get turned down for the two-seater?
I don't know. They probably think I've had enough track time. But no, it's, for me, because I've had the first ever time I ever drove an actual car when I was still doing go-karts.
Right.
I had my dad in the passenger seat, and I scared the shit out of him.
Right.
And he used to be a rally driver, driving on side of cliffs and all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, you're crazy. But it not being in control sucks. Like, it is scary, and it's very difficult to kind of control yourself. And when you're in control, I mean, you're holding onto the steering wheel. You're not moving as much. Like, you're just in control. But as soon as you're the passenger, it's a different thing. So I want to experience it, especially around the oval. I know they do this the two-seaters around here. So I don't really want to do it on a race day. I just want to try to experience it.
Yeah.
Like, what does it feel like? And I've been turned down, apparently.
That is bizarre to me. Yeah, you'd think that you'd be able to get a ride, but maybe they're saving fuel
Maybe my question just haven't reached far enough. Like, I don't know. I'll probably have to ask some different people.
So you have a mustache this year. Is that in honor of Bobby Ray Hall? What is the backstory of your mustache?
Yeah, it's actually a deal I have with my best friend, and he's here this week. He got in on Tuesday, and we played golf this morning, and he's having a good time. And he was actually asking me if he could follow me around for the whole media tour today. And I was like, no, that's not a good idea. It's like, I can just stand in the back room. I'm like, no, you can go down
Would
there.
he be making faces at you behind the camera or what?
Yeah, it just wouldn't end very great. It was just going to be a long day with that. So no, he's enjoying himself. He's actually never in his entire life seen me drive.
Really?
Never. So why not start out with the Speedway for the Indy 500?
Well, so, what was your first experience at the Indy 500? Was it as a driver, or did you come here
First
before?
time, first time as a driver, which was last year. I'd experienced it on TV before, but never been here.
How did you describe it to him?
Well, I'm still trying to. So I guess that explains the answer. It's you just can't explain it. You have to experience it, and race day is just so different. Yeah. Like, race day is race day, and it's just an incredible atmosphere around the whole facility.
Yeah.
And being on the Brickyard golf course this morning with Graham's golf tournament was amazing. There was a lot of people over there. We saw the suites out of turn 2, which I'd actually never seen before. So it's great for me also to. I mean, I've seen them on track, but I've never seen the actual place before.
Right.
I got to see some pictures from inside from people that we were playing with that had a suite there, and it just shows the passion for this place.
Yeah.
And I never grew up with that. I grew up believing in Monaco, Formula One, all these kind of things, and having watched the Indy 500 before, doing the Monaco Grand Prix, to now having experienced it, I'm like, people should just forget Monaco, because Monaco, like, nowadays, it's just boring because
it's a very tight race.
It is, and also the F1 cars are only becoming bigger and heavier and clumsier to drive, and you just can't overtake.
Yeah.
So when you finally experience this, you see the atmosphere, you see the amount of people that are here cheering on, and it's just one huge party, really. Like, everyone's just having a good time, and I've had a good time. I mean, last year the car wasn't enjoyable to drive, but seeing all the fans walking onto the grid, doing the driver intros, seeing the amount of people, re-watching my onboard, you can hear people on the stand.
You can.
On the grandstand, you can hear people.
Interesting. Some other drivers said that you couldn't hear that.
Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It depends if you're on throttle, off throttle, and these kind of things. But it's incredible.
Final question: if you were there were a movie to be made about your life, what actor would play you?
Who would even want to play me? Yeah.
Maybe Jude Law?
No, I would probably have to choose a Danish actor for this.
Okay.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Okay.
He's in. He plays in one of the James Bond movies, Casino Royale.
Yes.
You know who? Do you know who I'm thinking?
Not a
So he's the bad guy. The bad guy that's on the boat. I think he has a fake eye. He's a very good actor. Nice guy as well. I met him a few times. Probably him. I'll have to. I mean, I'm a Dane, so I have to say Dane, really.
Yeah, it's
I guess so.
like required, right?
Yeah, it is.
All right, Christian Lundgaard, driver of the number 45. Thanks so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks, and then we'll grab a quick photo, and then you'll be on your way.
Driving for AJ Foyt Racing. No pressure.
You notice the eyes?
We have been doing an informal survey, and I don't even know if any of these drivers know it. Almost all of you guys have blue eyes.
It's unbelievable.
It really is amazing how many of these guys have blue eyes.
It's 80+%.
Really?
Yeah. So far today, we've probably talked to 2/3 of the field,
Yeah.
and only a couple of them have had brown eyes. Mm-hmm. So if that's good luck, then you're one of 20 something. Now you're a Dane,
Yes.
technically.
Yep. 100%.
You have no discernible accent.
No, I'm fluent in Danish though. I lived there until I was 4. I'm still a citizen there. I'm a dual citizen now, so Danish American. All my family still lives there, except my parents. But yeah, was born in Denmark. Then we moved to Seattle for my parents' job, and then now I'm a resident here in Indianapolis for this is slightly over a year and a half now. So this is home.
Yeah, you don't have a Hoosier accent.
No.
But you speak English well.
Thank you. But yeah, fully fluent in Danish and English.
Wow. Do you have occasion to speak Danish much?
Oh yeah, whenever I'm with my parents, they're here in the paddock too, in the bus. We always speak Danish. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do you dream in Danish or in English?
Dream in Danish?
Yeah.
Or that's a great question. I think English, because that's how I interact with people most of my life. I think that's my answer. I can't think of any other.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer, yeah.
So when you're going more than 200 miles an hour, I've asked this before. I mean, I don't even know how you can think. It's got to be so instinctive.
It's very feeling based. I mean, I'm thinking a lot of what the car is doing, like pretty literal, like thinking, oh, we have a lot of oversteer mid corner. Or in the car, I'm thinking about what I'm going to be telling my engineers when I come in.
And you got to, and it's everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's kind of like you're driving based on instinct, and you don't think on that regard, but you're mentally collecting notes on what the car is doing, so that when you come in, you can give a very clear image. But like the raw driving, there's no thinking; it's just feeling, and obviously you rely on what you know you're good at, and you know where you can be better, or the car can be better. You're relying on that like subconsciously. But then mentally, you're taking so many notes of what the car is doing,
and
so
everything's in English.
Feedback.
All the racing terms are English.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no Dane up there with a pair of binoculars.
No, that's straight English.
What's it like working with AJ? You get to interact with him a lot. Is he?
Yeah, it's amazing. He's here just as early as we are every day. He's 88 years old, and you know it's funny. He may not remember exactly certain episodes from yesterday. To give you an example, but. He remembers everything from his career as if it were yesterday. So you could ask him, you know, his first ever Indy 500 start. What happened on the opening lap, and he could give you a super descriptive answer. So very, very bright in that regard.
You still have input on how to drive at the track. I know we were talking to Scott McLaughlin, and he was talking about the Rick Mears influence and the question of. You know, the cars were different. It was several years ago when he drove, but you know,
Sure.
Can AJ still give that input on
He
getting around?
He still has definitely very valid points. You know, questions. You know, what's the gearing like? What's the downforce? So it brings up very valid points, and obviously we are in a different era now with what the cars are capable of, and you know what's available to us as drivers. But all his points are super valid.
Well, what do you suppose the fastest AJ ever went here?
I don't. I mean, he was.
He was
it would have been
still here in the 80s.
He raced through 92. Was it 220? Probably. Yeah, I would assume it was the mid 220 or early 220s.
So very hairy.
Yeah,
especially with the cars.
Those cars. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Now we've asked everybody else. There seemed to be a minimal number of tattoos. on the drivers. Are you the no tattoo school?
No tattoos on me.
This is really interesting.
Yeah.
TK
doesn't fit the demographic, really. I feel like everyone under 30 is covered.
Yeah. So we've got a bunch of blue-eyed guys with no tattoos. I'm not sure what to make of that. You did great. What's your strategy? Do you have any particular things you're thinking about? Is it too early to really...
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, we're starting in a really good spot. P11, row 4. We're the highest rookie. We set a couple records on qualifying today, which was very, very special.
Fastest rookie ever, right?
Fastest rookie ever for 1 lap average, and second fastest after ever for 4 lap average. I mean, when you look at the guys I'm starting around, I got Marcus Ericsson on one side, Will Power on the other, so it's just very comforting to know I have a lot of experience around me, and that I have a really good car. It's far better than starting in the back with a car that's not great. So, really excited.
What going into the month, I think from a fan perspective, outside perspective, it may have been maybe not as anticipated that both Foyt cars were going to be in the Fast 12, but did you guys have intel or a distinct knowledge that it was tracking that direction prior to getting here?
We knew at the beginning of the year that we were very good on super speedways based on our Texas performance, and at Texas we weren't in our speedway cars. We didn't have all our bits that we do now, just simply because we didn't have access to it as a team. So we really did everything we could to have the best equipment for this race. So as soon as we showed up with our 500 cars, which were prepped like extremely well, and the experience that some of the key players on the team have brought, it's just we knew we were fast right when we had our first practice after the GMR Grand Prix.
Are those preps at the Indy shop or in the Texas shop?
Right down here, yeah.
Did you get to choose your helmet design?
Oh yeah, that's completely me.
What have you got?
So I just announced it, I think it's 2 days ago. So it's my same fundamental design. The design is always the same. I just play with the colors. It's got the 500 official logo of this year everywhere on it, kind of small in all different directions, and it's printed on this holographic vinyl. So it shines a lot and changes color in the sun. And the basic color of the helmet's white with exposed carbon, and then the visor's like this bright orange. So it's just very cool.
Are you do you trade helmets, or are you?
I haven't done any trades.
Yeah.
I have every helmet I've ever used. I've never given any away. So we'll see. Maybe in the future.
Okay. Well, if you win the Indy 500, will you get a tattoo?
I don't think so. No.
No, not.
He was going to hold it to you.
The Borg Warner.
Bring in the show on Monday and get one.
Okay. Well, it's been a great pleasure. Are you the only Dane in the field?
Christian Lundgaard's Danish as well.
There we go.
Yep.
Do you speak Danish to him?
Yeah, of course.
Can you grow a better mustache?
I think I could. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard.
I grow facial hair pretty quickly.
His mustache is maybe not.
Yeah, surely he's trimmed it.
Now, what Northern Europeans have won this? Obviously, you've got Ari Leyendijk, Northern Europe.
I mean, I would consider Kenny Brock's probably Northern.
Yeah, Sweden.
Europe. Who? I mean, Marcus Ericsson. I mean,
there
a year ago. Yes,
yeah,
thank you. I mean,
yeah. So
thank
hey,
you.
Is it? So it's time for the Danes to get in the winter circle.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Is it live in Denmark? Can you watch it live? The race live?
I'm sure you can. Yeah. I don't see why not. I'm sure they're able to find a way.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you go back there, do people know that you're a race car driver? And then...
Yes. I mean, I haven't been back for 3 years now, but obviously the coverage is very strong. Being a part of Team Denmark as well, and I actually just had a Danish interview this morning, and he also represents Autosport, which is a huge news source in Europe. So, they definitely follow very closely.
Okay. Last question: we ask everybody if they make the movie about you, who's going to play you in the movie?
Oh wow! I feel like my gut answer is Tom Cruise, just Top Gun, and like it's relatable in a way with race car driving. So I'd say Tom Cruise.
So you could have just said some Danish soap opera star that
and
none
you
of us
would
know.
know.
That's the
no idea.
That's the guy you want to go with.
Yeah,
Yeah, Bent Larson. No, wait a minute. No, he's a chess player. Sorry. Well, thanks.
Yeah,
it's been cool meeting
Thank you.
Have a great race. Say hi to Mr. Foyt for us, won't
absolutely.
you? Benjamin Peterson, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hey, hi. Welcome back. We've got Drew Powell here from Hollywood. This is Tom speaking. Sting, Ray, Robb is here with us. Do I even have to ask? I'm almost embarrassed. Everybody.
He knows what's coming.
Everybody. Let's do it.
Do you want me to start?
He's just as handsome but taller than the other Sting.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, how many are there? I know it's your real name, and I don't want to make you tell the story, but it's so cool.
It is. Is Sting, is Ray your middle name?
No, so Sting Ray is actually my first name.
First name.
And then I have a middle name, and then Robb is my last name.
Amazing. I love it.
And they let you drive a Honda.
Yeah. When I'm telling the story of my name, I usually have to cover the Honda logo up. But it worked out well.
His middle name is Accord, so it's okay.
Yeah. Or Civic or something like that. Yeah.
Stingray Civic Robb. There we go.
Let's go. Welcome to Indianapolis.
Thank you. Yeah, good to be here.
107th running of the Indianapolis 500 coming up.
Your first one?
A few days away.
My first one.
Oh, my gosh. How does that feel?
It's exciting. We had the most stressful weekend of my life last weekend trying to qualify for this event.
Oh my
Not
gosh.
really a position you want to be in as a driver, but we made it, and we're going racing this Sunday, so I'm excited about it.
Let's go.
So how does a guy get from the wilds of Idaho to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Well, we'll start with my name.
Yeah.
My parents were big Corvette fans, and so if that... Here, hang on. Let me say that again. My parents are big Corvette fans. I cover up my Honda logo.
We still love you, Honda. It's okay.
Yep. And anyway, so that tells you part of the story. They passed their passion for cars along to me through my name.
Yep.
And so I grew up around drag races, autocross events, and my dad actually helped start the local Corvette club. And so I actually took my first steps at a Corvette club meeting. And so growing up in Idaho, there wasn't a lot of racing around there. And so when I was around 4 years old, I was watching a Nitro Circus video, if you guys know what that is.
Yeah.
And Travis Pastrana, who's a multi-motorsport talented driver.
Good buddy of Conor Daly, actually.
Yep, yeah. And he jumped a go-kart into a foam pit. And 4-year-old Stingray saw that and was like, oh, that's what I want to do. And so I went to my mom. I said, Mom, I want a go-kart and I want a foam pit. For my 5th birthday, I got the go-kart, but no foam pit. So here we are now, several years later. And by the time I was 14 years old, I'd been to Spain, Portugal, England, France, Belgium, Italy, all for the sake of driving go-karts. Won several championships there, got to race for a team internationally. And then I started to make the transition to cars when I was about 15 years old, and that was in the year 2016.
Wow.
So in 2016, I tried as much stuff as I could. I did dirt cars, did dirt modified, I did NASCAR, I did open wheel, I did sports cars. And I wanted to make sure that whatever I chose was the direction I wanted to take for the rest of my career. Because racing is unique in the sense that it's not a straight path to the top.
Right.
It's more like shattered glass. You can jump off on one vein and then come back over here onto this vein and move around a little bit. And so I wanted to make sure that I could be efficient. I wanted to head straight to the top. And so open wheel is what we settled on because it was the most similar to the go-kart racing I'd been doing at the time. And so heading to the road to Indy, that was the most easy option to choose, being an American and an American series that led straight to IndyCar, one of the best racing series in the world.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's great.
That's
now,
really cool.
You're a tall guy in a go-kart. I mean, do you even fit?
I managed my weight very well. Let me tell you.
Did you have to work on that?
Well, no. I mean, physically, I was fine. But, being tall in a go-kart is actually kind of helpful at times because you can manipulate the grip with the way that you lean the seat. And so I had the ability to affect the weight of the car on which corner, whatever. And that's stuff that we're doing in the race car today with weight jackers. Weight jackers are a great tool that we can have at the Indy 500. But I was doing that with my body when I was 12 years old. Leaning over the outside rear tire, inside rear tire, depending on if it was raining or if it was dry or if there was a high-speed turn, whatever else. I could change the handling of the cart depending on how I move my body.
That's amazing, man.
Among the other drivers, who do you get along with the best?
Oh, man, they're all a bunch of bad guys. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you're a rookie, though. So how do they treat rookies? I'm curious about that.
They're all pretty good. They really are.
No hazing?
No hazing yet. It's still early in the season. It's only May.
Yep.
But I actually grew up with a lot of these guys. My teammate, David Malukas, was someone I grew up go-karting with. Kyle Kirkwood, Pato Award, Colton Herta, just to name a few. Renus VK. All those guys, we all went through very similar programs to get to this spot. It's not like everyone's coming from every single dark corner of the world to be here. They are from different countries. A lot of them aren't, but it narrows down. The closer you get to the top of the pyramid, the more people you seem to run into year after year. So I've known these guys for a while. Alexander Rossi, his dad is my manager, and so I've
right?
known him since I started car racing in 2017. But yeah, they're all pretty good dudes. I get to work out with like Scott Dixon. Scott McLaughlin's made fun of me a couple times and seems all right. Will Power, much the same. So it's a small world in motorsports, so they're all pretty good.
All right.
That's
Sting,
great.
Ray, Rob, last question. We're asking everybody the same thing. Why don't you ask it?
Okay, so I'm an actor, so I'm curious about this. Who plays you in the movie, if you get to choose?
Oh, my goodness. I would like to say I look like Chris Evans, but I think that's optimistic.
That's fine.
Captain America, you know.
Do it. Absolutely. Captain America. Let's go. You're the next Captain America of the IndyCar circuit.
I like it.
Who's the guy in, I'm forgetting it.
Which?
Remember the movie with the DeLorean and the
Michael J. Fox?
Are you talking about the scientist? Do you think I look like a scientist? Okay.
Michael J. Fox?
Who's the other guy?
In Back to the Future?
Yeah. Who is it? No, I forget that.
Wait, which are you talking about?
He
character?
plays the dad.
Oh yeah. Help me out. He's now Biff. Crispin Glover. Biff, you get your damn hands off her.
I mean, I
can totally see that.
A little bit.
Absolutely. No, I'm with you 100%.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, check that out.
Don't Google that.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I got to know. Last question. That first time you hit up, you were fully up to speed on this course, what did it feel like?
Have you played Mario Kart before?
Yes.
It's like being the superstar in Mario Kart. That's what it feels like around this place.
Great answer. That's absolutely what I can imagine it would feel like.
Okay.
Yeah. You can hear the music in your head.
Yep.
Good stuff, man. Good luck.
Stingray Robb.
Go get him. Nice.
This is Chris Spangle here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with Drew Powell, and we are talking to R.C. Enerson, who is the driver for a brand new team. Your team is like what? Less than 2 weeks old, really?
Yeah, like a week old.
A week old?
Our first day on track was Wednesday.
That's great.
Yeah, and you're one of the cool stories of the month because everybody thought, oh, well, they're certainly going to be on the bubble. They'll kind of be in the back row.
We were the first pick for sure.
Right, but you are in 28th position in the second to last row. How did you and the team get up to speed? Because you're a rookie too, so it's not like they have a veteran driver. How did you guys achieve that result?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not quite certain how I still hold my rookie status. I did my first 3 races in 2016, and then it's just kind of been in and out. I did some stuff with Carlin, and then finally got that opportunity in 2021 with Top Gun. But, I mean, there was just no prep behind the car. We got the thing in boxes 38 days before our first practice from Dallara. And Roy Wilkerson, that man built that car that fast.
Wow.
And showed up, and we could only get to 227. That was all I had. I was flat every single lap of every single session I was here.
That's all you can do.
And it just didn't have any more speed.
Yep.
But this one, I mean, we finally got this in the works. I think it was in January. It was shortly after PRI when we kind of brought it up to John Bruner, the team manager. And we've had a long-standing relationship with him, and he was like, "Oh, let me see." We thought he was going to say no right away.
You were asking him what?
If he was interested in trying to run a 500 program with Able Motorsports.
Gotcha.
Nice.
And he was like, "Well, you got to talk to Bill, see if that's something that's in the cards."
And is this your engineer or
this is the team manager for Able Motorsports?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
John Bruner. He's
because you're talking about your Indy Next team, and then you wanted to run an Indy 500 program.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've only known Bill and Jacob Abel through John Bruner, through Able Motorsports.
Gotcha.
So that was just kind of, we have our cars, and we were like, hey, well, can we make this an opportunity to run under Able Motorsports banner? And he was, because John Bruner, he's done the third Foyt car many, many times. I mean, he's been a team manager and since, I believe, the 80s or 90s. Wow. I mean, he was with the Players team.
Yeah, that's kart days.
Yeah, kart days. So he's been around. I mean, everybody in the paddock knows him. But it was an effort to get the deal put together, and then they started prepping the car right in January, February.
Amazing.
And I remember going in the shop. I think it was in April, and I spun the front wheel, but it was before the wheel was on it. It was just the rotor, and that thing just didn't stop.
Oh no!
I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good." This is going to be real good. I mean, they pulled the gearbox off the thing, too, and the gears were just burnt because you had to lower the... We were just trying to get any speed we could the 2 years prior, so...
Yeah.
So-
everything had been that car had been prepped for.
So
4 months
anywhere
now.
you did, it's like that's pretty much a victory already. Like the
Yeah.
fact that you could run and make the Graham Rahal didn't make it.
I think we kind of had an idea who would be in bump day. I think a lot of people did coming into the month.
Yep.
And we, after watching Texas and just kind of how they've been, we kind of already knew the RLL cars might struggle.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting that from our car until I did ROP and I crossed the line on like my first lap. And I hadn't even hit full throttle yet, and it was 211. So I had to slow down more for phase one.
Wow.
I'm like, I did the entire first phase like 50% throttle because this
Wow.
thing is just so quick. And then we
That's
get to phase three, and I'm able to go flat all the way around. And we're running like 217s, 218s with race downforce on. I was like, we got a strong car.
Right. That's got to feel good.
So that
right?
made qualifying kind of go poof out of my head. I think we got that pretty solid.
Yeah.
The real pain in the butt's going to be racing or driving in traffic.
Yeah, and that's one of my questions. When you really don't have your single car team, there's not, you're not Alex Palou with Scott Dixon sitting next to you going, this is what you should think about. Are there other drivers or maybe past drivers that you've reached out to try and get an advice on what you ought to do on race day?
Yeah, I mean, Spencer Piggott, he's my spotter in turn one.
Okay.
So he's done this race many times.
Nice.
So, I mean, even going into tomorrow morning, I'm going to be getting with him and going through all the video from Monday, which was my first day running in traffic, which I think we got a good car. It's just I need to figure out the whole, there's just a certain skill and a certain mentality you got to go about it. And they even told me, he's like, just get it out of your head that the car's ever going to feel good. Because it's just not.
Yeah.
And he's like, and when we start this race, you're going to get like 3 laps where you might be able to do something, and then you're just going to sit in a train and hope you don't burn your tires off and save fuel. So he's like, you're just going to have to hope lady luck and strategy kind of help fall your way. And I was like, well, that's not that bad of a mentality to go into the race. It makes it, I guess, less stressful on the driver when you know that everybody else is struggling just as hard as you are.
Yeah. Nobody has a quote-unquote good car. Everybody's just got their own problems.
Everybody's just slightly better than the other. Like, it's just, unless you're in the top 2 cars, those top 2, 3, if you only have 1 or 2 cars in front of you, the dirty air doesn't feel bad at all. It's the second you get 4 plus. And the second, starting to where I'm at, I have 27 cars in front of you. It's going to be a nightmare for the first set of tires or 2. But I mean, we're excited. This group that he put together, they're all veterans of the 500. Every crew member, engineer,
That's helpful.
Engineering staff is stout.
Yeah.
I mean, they put together. We went into qualifying so confident and just kind of put it together.
That's great. Well, I'm the actor of the group, so we've been asking everybody, who plays you in the movie if you had to choose.
That's a hard one. I'm really not sure.
All right. Well,
It's just too much to pick from.
I know
right?
there's a lot. I mean, let's see.
He's a handsome man.
Yeah.
He could be like, don't take offense, but he looks a little bit like a younger you. If you high school age.
So I'm going to play you when you win Indy at 40.
Yes.
That's going to be me, but we'll pick the younger version of you.
You're racing for Jay Penske.
Taylor Lautner.
Taylor Lautner,
All right.
yeah.
I've heard that one
That's
before.
good.
I've
Good
heard
choice.
there's an Xfinity driver, Curry. And somebody came and ran up to me from the Chevy team, and they came like, has anybody told you look exactly like him? I was like, I don't even know what he looks like. And they showed me a picture. I was like, oh, man.
That is
I was
long
like,
lost brother.
That's not bad. I've gotten
That's
a few
great.
different ones, like at the racing schools and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
sure,
They'll be
sure.
like, you look just like this person. I've gotten a few of them.
Yeah,
So
man. All right, well, good. Well, I'm putting my hand in.
I don't know, I'll let you guys take that
40-year-old.
Yeah, please.
Winner.
So tell us about your career path here, like coming up to IndyCar. What are some highlights that you had, and how did you know you wanted to be a race car driver?
I mean, I guess it all started with kind of my dad at first. He grew up. He graduated out in high school out of the South Side here.
Oh, nice.
And he's been coming to the 500 with his parents, my grandparents, since I believe the 70s or maybe even late 60s. So it's always kind of been in the blood, like being a race fan. And I mean, my first 500 was when I was 3.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I believe
that was like what,
Scott Dixon and
2012?
Tony Kanaan and Helio's first 500s type thing.
I knew it would be insultingly recent.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
So it was. I mean, we still have pictures from it that we keep putting up and stuff like that. It's
Think about
crazy.
That is wild.
And
you're racing with all those.
And my
dudes.
parents moved to Florida before I was ever born. And when I was, I think 2 or 3 years old, 4 years old, I was really into those Hot Wheels cars, boxes and cases, all those cases and cases, and it was like my mom had drove past like a dirt oval go-kart track, and they're like, "He likes racing so much. Why don't you get him a go-kart and see if he likes it?" And there's a little dirt track over here. My dad was like, "Nope, I grew up in Indianapolis. If he's racing on asphalt." Yeah. And got me a go-kart from Comet Kart Sales, which is out of Newcastle, I believe, here.
Yeah.
Is their deal. And he put it together in the garage, started out 4 years old. You can't race until you're 5. So at 4 years old, I'm just going up and down the street where they'd stand on each side.
Just a little menace on the street.
And, yeah, to be quite honest, karting all the way up until I was about 10 or 11 was more or less a hobby. Even though we were karting at the national level, it was more or less a hobby that me and my dad would go do on every weekend.
Nice.
And got better and better at it, but it was never really the greatest karter. And then I got into a racing school and got into a car when I was 12. And that's kind of where the light bulb switched in my head. I think just things in a car made more sense to me rather than a kart, because there are fundamentally just so different on driving style. And it just things clicked in my head and went into USF 2000 at 15 years old, 2012. Did 3 years of it. Almost won the championship the last year. Finished second. And that was when we were running our own team for it. So we were trying to compete with Cape Motorsports, who was like the gods of the Van Diemen F2000 era. They won I think 8 out of the last 10 championships with that car.
Amazing.
And we gave them a run for their money, and that was when the new Lights car was coming out. And that was when there was still the old Star Mazda car, which it was only like 6/10 quicker than the USF 2000 car. Jeez. So it was like, why would we go jump up to 6/10 quicker when there's a new Lights car coming out? It kind of resets it for everybody. Yeah. And everybody's got to learn a new car, so why not make it there? And we skipped that and went into Lights. Did really well. Ran the Freedom here. Our team finished 1, 2, 3, 4, and won Mid-Ohio. Did a number of podiums. We really podiumed mostly on the ovals. Yeah. But had a really strong year, and then came back again for the next year, and just engine issues, all kinds of mechanicals, found ourselves out of the championship, and got approached by Dale Coyne to do 3 races.
Let's go.
And was like, okay, let's go do that.
Yeah. Good choice.
And so my first races were in 2016. I was 19. So I was at the time I was the youngest since Marco.
Right.
And then now it's just all 19, 20 olds. So it's like,
you started a trend, bro.
Yeah, it kicked down the door for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were really strong in those races and tried to get a full-time 2017 ride, and just didn't happen. And it's just been in and out.
Yeah.
I've been kind of driving everything. I've done some NASCAR stuff.
Sure.
I've done some IMSA stuff, and then IndyCar. So it's kind of been through everything.
Yeah.
All right, look for car number 50, R.C. Enerson, on race day. Best of luck to you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Buddy.
Devlin DeFrancesco is our guest from our friends in Canada, Toronto. Good to see you, sir. How you feeling?
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Well, you're looking great. We are doing an informal survey. It seems more drivers have blue eyes.
Yes.
I mean, the track, they keep track of everything here. That's the one thing I've never seen before.
I can't wait to see your research project on this.
I mean, am I correct in saying everybody but 2 of these guys has had blue eyes today?
I think mine are bluish green. They do change.
Yeah.
They change.
I can see. They're
like
not
a hybrid.
A hybrid, yeah. That's
For
true.
the sake of my argument, let's
half in, half out.
Just go with how correct I am. That's the way I like to do this.
That's right. Yes, always right.
Good seeing you. Great to have you here. Tell us about your mindset for the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500.
We're excited. We're pumped. Obviously, qualifying didn't maybe go as we hoped, but we got strong race cars. We seem to be quite good in traffic. We seem to be able to hit good fuel mileage. So, it's all to play for next week. A lot of things can happen. It's 500 miles, 200 laps. So, as long as you're there at the end fighting, anything can happen.
And it looks like great weather. Right now, the forecast, there's like a 0% chance of rain, which that takes a lot of anxiety away.
Sure.
At least you know that it's coming around the corner. They keep you busy these few days before the race? Do they have a lot to do?
For sure. We had we visited the porch party yesterday, the Indianapolis porch party winners, which is amazing, seeing some of the decor that they were doing out front of their houses and various media commitments that we've had to do. But all enjoyable, all part of the month of May, and just love to soak in every bit of it.
How many have you done now? How many 500s?
This is my second one.
Second one. Is it a little easier now than not kind of understanding going through it one time, or is it still kind of nerve-wracking?
Yes and no. For sure, the goalposts move, right? There are different things each year. You come looking for different things and different problems to attack on the car. But
but also, like, just the besides the race, the actual pomp and circumstance of it all. Like, is that overwhelming at times? I mean, do you like that part, or is that like, oh my gosh, we have to do another thing? Because there's a lot. You guys, all month long, you guys are going, right?
I enjoy it all.
Yeah.
I enjoy all of it.
That's great.
I feel blessed to be here. I feel very grateful to be here and take part, not only to be one of these competing, being able to fight and to fight forward and maybe fight for a win.
Heck yeah.
But to have such a great team behind me, I just feel very grateful.
Growing up, who was your favorite Canadian racer?
There've been a few, right?
Yeah, there've been a few.
One of them got robbed of a win here.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that. Old Townsend.
Paul Tracy's always been, someone I.
Yeah, I
met him when I was very young.
He got screwed.
Yeah, when
I saw the film.
Yeah.
I met him when I was quite young. Jacques Villeneuve. To go win in his rookie year and to see what he went on and did in Formula One. There were various guys to look up to as I was growing up.
See, I feel like I could play Paul Tracy now. Like for sure. We're talking about one of the things we've been asking is, as an actor, I'm always interested in, like, okay, who do you think would play you in the movie about your life? Have you thought about that before?
No, never. I've been asked before.
Yeah.
I'd like to say Tom Cruise.
Yeah, sure.
Seems to be a popular answer.
I mean, absolutely.
I'd like to say Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that's it. You get to say it.
I hope I look like that at 60.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was thinking Canadian John Candy's out. Well, a little too big.
Ryan Reynolds, maybe?
Deceased.
Ryan Reynolds? Yeah.
There you go.
Canadian?
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Absolutely.
Could be. Lastly, do you have any particular rituals you go through the morning of or the night before? Do you not eat? Do you eat a little tiny bit? Do you drink coffee? What do you?
Tim Hortons? Do you just binge Timbits? Come on. What's your favorite Tim Hortons? This is important.
The Timbits?
No, what's your favorite flavor, like, of the donuts at Tim Hortons?
Boston cream.
Boston cream. Good answer. Let's go.
All right.
That's the correct answer, ladies and gentlemen.
There is only one right answer.
There is only one right answer.
They would have judged me if I didn't answer correctly.
We ask the tough questions here in the Bomb and Tom Show.
Yep.
What do you think?
I think that if you can get yourself a Boston cream before you race on Sunday, you're going to win.
That might be a little heavy.
I can't do that.
That's how I would do it.
We're actually driving to Muskoka after the race, so we might do a pit stop on the way.
Nice. There you go. All right.
Depending on how we do on Sunday.
That'd be the victory Boston cream. Okay.
All right.
Excellent. Good stuff.
Okay, Devlin, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Good
you.
stuff, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Good stuff, man. Yeah.
Michael Rosenbaum and his Small Bill co-stars take you behind the scenes of one of the greatest shows of all time.
We're going to watch every episode.
Join us. It's Big Talk.
You remember when I had to shave my head?
Oh, I think I was angry with this one.
On Smallville.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. The scene you did, and this is the one that got me fired. Okay. What? Here we go. I love the excursions with me and Welling. It's everything that Superman stands for.
It's Talkville.
Talkville, we always talk about it. It's a great thing.
The Smallville Rewatch Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.